Caged Dragon City is no longer just watching Zhuo Fan, it is beginning to fear what he represents. The Luo clan's weak position, the Empire's hidden factions, and the old powers of the capital all press in at once, but Zhuo Fan has never needed a safe road to keep moving forward. Subscribe now if you want ruthless strategy and power fantasy revenge, because the capital is about to learn that a servant can still make kings uneasy. In The Demonic Emperor Part 8, Zhuo Fan enters a deadlier political game. Powerful families test his limits, old enemies measure his weakness, and the choices he makes for the Luo clan will decide who gets protected, who gets used, and who gets crushed first. A silence had swallowed the imperial gardens, one it had never seen since its making. Even the birds felt the situation was dire, not making a peep. Yuan Kong looked cautiously at the serious emperor sunk in deep thought. Mr. Sima frowned. "Your Majesty, with how thoroughly blown out of proportion this matter is, I leave the decision to you. Perhaps giving up on Luo clan is." The emperor started pacing, his brows locked tight. After ages he stopped. His eyes were incredibly calm, while also hiding a deep hint of freezing killing intent. "No, I must protect the Luo clan and the boy." Waving, the emperor shouted, "I have always exercised tolerance in my ruling. But this has gone far enough. They will push me down a cliff if I let this happen. Here's my decree. Inform Marshal Dugu to move swiftly. There's not a moment to lose." What, the second of the four pillars, war god Dugu Jianshan is coming back? Yuan Kong hesitated to speak, but Mr. Sima showed his unrest. "Your Majesty, you can't. Marshal Dugu defends the borders. The Quanrong wouldn't dare to step a foot beyond the Thunder Pond with him there. The border will descend into chaos if he leaves." "You're exaggerating. For 30 years the border had been peaceful." The emperor cut Mr. Sima's advice short. His eyes flashed coldly. "I will show my cousin who this land belongs to. He has crossed my final line." Shuddering inside, Mr. Sima knew the emperor had made up his mind and sighed. Yuan Kong bowed and then withdrew with the edict. The emperor looked up, his eyes flashing as he laughed coldly. Prime Minister's residence in the imperial capital. Prime Minister Zhu Chengfeng was swinging in his rocking chair with his eyes closed in rest. Suddenly, a black figure came and whispered before vanishing again. Opening his eyes, Zhu Chengfeng revealed a calculative look as a smile grew on his face. The monkey had stirred enough ruckus in the heavenly temple and made him nervous. To even have that old man return. "Ha ha ha, the time for the war between the 7 houses and him is soon upon us. Since this is the case, let me spice things up." Star Reader, Journey to the West reference. Monkey King always caused havoc in every task Jade Emperor gave him. Zhu Chengfeng looked in his yard, elders Yin and Yang. "Prime Minister Zhu, what is it that you ask of us?" One black and one white figure flashed before him. Zhu Chengfeng smiled. "Do you know where Thunder Swarm Mountain is? It is a place for one of the Empire's tree guardian sects, the Demon Scheming Sect. There is a large barrier there. It detains the 4 greatest criminals, now suffering the strikes of 10,000 lightning bolts every day for the past 60 years. The black-haired elder spoke. Nodding, Zhu Chengfeng smiled. "Very good, can you go there and get them out?" "What?" The two exchanged a glance, thinking they had heard him wrong. "Prime Minister Zhu, why would you want to? This is the matter of Demon Scheming Sect that we shouldn't meddle in." Not only were the 4 savage disciples on the path of demonic cultivation, but held key positions within the sect. "They can't be used." The white-haired elder cupped his hands. Shaking his head, Zhu Chengfeng said, "Those 4 old fellows have been stuck there for 60 years. Demon Scheming Sect couldn't care less anymore. As long as we keep our mouths shut about this, no one will know. Also, I never planned on recruiting the 4. Now, can you 2 do it or not?" "Of course," the 2 elders nodded. They may have not come from a great sect, but their skills have very much sharpened over the centuries. A mere barrier couldn't stop them. Nodding, Zhu Chengfeng laughed. "Good, now go. The already restless Tianyu will soon reach a boiling point, ha ha ha." Meanwhile, Veiled Dragon Pavilion's Pavilion Lord Long Yifi was listening along with the elders to Long Ju's report, the shock palpable. Once Long Ju finished, all were bug-eyed. "You mean to say that Hell Valley's 5th elder lost an arm?" 3rd elder cried out. Understanding his feelings, Long Ju smiled wryly as he advised, 3rd brother should relax. "The kid had taken the bursting pill first, if you had taken it. But you also said that the 5th elder ate it too." 3rd elder's face sank in disappointment. Long Ju rushed to say, "Yeah, you're right, but that kid ate 5. If you took 5, I'd be a goner." 3rd elder cut him off with a sigh. He shook his mind clear and continued, "Moreover, he is only in the bone-tempering stage. Sigh, the young always surpasses the old. I must be getting too much in years." Long Ju watched him sink into depression but didn't know what to say to make him feel better. "If you know what's best for you, don't go comparing yourself with that little monster." An elder with white hair shouted, "3rd elder, why are you still hanging on to some meager honor? Did you not hear what is at stake here? Regent Estate's Huangpu Qingyan was killed." True, Regent Estate's imperial tyrant body art is mystical body art. Yet that kid blew away Huangpu Qingyun's lower body to smithereens. Just how strong of a body must he have to pull it off? I know that even I fall short. Third elder looked even more downcast. The elders who spoke held his forehead. Brother is hopeless. He then turned to Long Yifi, Pavilion Lord. This matter concerns Regent Estate, and it's best we do not get ourselves involved. If Regent Estate drags us into this because of the kid, but did you not hear Longju? Regent Estate is targeting every other house. Even if the matter with Zhuo Fan never happened, sooner or later they would come knocking on our door. If we cut ties with Zhuo Fan, we'll only be avoiding the truth. We may soon find ourselves following in Drifting Flowers Edifice's footsteps. Another elder interrupted. From what you say, you want us to work together with Zhuo Fan to fend off Regent Estate. This is giving them an excuse to wipe us off the earth. That will happen even without an excuse. Can we not see how much ambition the Regent Estate has? This will end us grounded down the same way it happened to Drifting Flowers Edifice. I'd rather fight now than see that happen. Enough, Long Yifi shouted over the clamor, breaking the argument. It is I who agreed to become allies with Zhuo Fan, and this shall not change even now. The kid's display had opened my eyes, realizing he will be a great help to us. I will say this again, as long as Zhuo Fan lives, our alliance with the Luo clan is still in effect. But Pavilion Lord, Regent Estate, enough, this is my decision. Long Yifi's eyes flashed. Our alliance with Zhuo Fan has always been followed through in the dark. The Regent Estate has no clue this is happening. They have nothing to use against us. So that's why, the other elders exclaimed, Pavilion Lord is brilliant. Humph, what brilliant, it's called tactics. Long Yifi let out a bitter laughter. He may hate this kind of person the most, but for the sake of his house, this was the best choice. Pavilion Lord, Regent Estate sent a letter. A disciple shouted from beyond the doors. Long Yifi looked at the elders, then let the man in. Regent Estate came swiftly. The disciple bowed before Long Yifi and presented the letter with the Regent Estate words written in gold on it. Long Yifi was startled the moment he opened it. Third elder snatched the letter and his eyes widened. Regent Estate will hold an assembly half a month from now. The 7 houses are to convene and plan to remove the demon's scourge. You mean? Long Yifi nodded. Regent Estate is playing a ferocious move this time. The last time they did this was just 300 years ago. Yeah, but that little monster 300 years ago had the 7 houses going crazy. While this time, Regent Estate is playing this move just for its own benefit without even asking the opinion of the 6 houses. It is basically acting as though it is the head of the 7 houses. Third elder spat. The Veiled Dragon Pavilion cannot lose again in the next esoteric debate. The others all nodded. The other 5 houses received the Regent Estate's invitation at the same time. Suddenly, the 6 houses were now en route to convene, with the Regent Estate on the plan to rid the world of demon Archon Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan was speeding towards the Luo clan when he suddenly felt a chill and shuddered. He rubbed his nose. Blast it, who's cursing me this time? Why is it that I feel a chill on my back? Ha ha ha, Steward Zhuo kicked a storm in Drifting Flowers City, with casualties in the thousands. Their grief must be focused on you. Vicious Pill King was laughing at his side, having a blast. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and mocked. Elder Yan, Drifting Flowers Edifice's grief is far stronger on you. Don't you feel the chill from the tens of thousand female disciples putting all their sorrow and pain on you? Vicious Pill King chuckled sheepishly. I'm used to it, Zhuo Fan grinned. None of them were good people, so this teasing had no effect on either of them. Wait, Zhuo Fan suddenly halted and Vicious Pill King asked, What's wrong? Snickering, Zhuo Fan said, They move fast. An ambush is laid for us not half a mile from here. What? Vicious Pill King watched Zhuo Fan baffled. Then he recalled how in Drifting Flowers City Zhuo Fan's soul reached the radiant stage and new discerning field. And after so much time had passed, it would have been odd if he couldn't get more used to it and detect movements in half a mile. Closing his eyes, Zhuo Fan said, In a forest half a mile out, 2 people are hiding to the west. From their energy, they must be from Hell Valley. To the east, there are also 2 quick on their feet, probably Merry Woods. And finally, the 2 in the north with heavy air about them. Cultivators of imperial tyrant body art are experts from Regent Estate, and all 6 of them are in the 5th layer of Profound Heaven stage. Steward Zhu is amazing to use Radiant Stage's ability, Vicious Pill King praised. Now we can just avoid them and let them wait forever, ha ha ha. Quirking an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan snickered, and why should we? Since they are here, we might as well duke it out. Steward Zhu, you can't. Vicious Pill King was flustered as he tried to explain. They are clearly prepared this time. In the Drifting Flowers City, you fought the 4 of us, and as much as it pains to admit, we underestimated you. Not to mention, we were all from different houses, with gaps in our cooperation. Now that the houses sent pairs, even if you take that pill again, it will only make them drag it out, then end you at your weakest. Raising an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan eyed him deeply. I didn't think the old man would be so caring so quickly. He said, I was alone then, but don't I have you now? Me, Vicious Pill King shook his head. The common folk fears me for my rainbow cloud palm. But with how many there are here, only one has to bear the brunt of my poison and I will be a goner. Later, he just has to go get the antidote from Pill King Hall. I'm sure you are clear on this from the moment you fought my disciple. Indeed, he was posing as Song Yu at the time, but being relentless was the bane of Pill King Hall's poison. At worst, it was one life at the price of another. Moreover, the enemy was now working together. Even if they did get poisoned, Pill King Hall would offer the antidote and Vicious Pill King's threat would plummet. What if you can poison them all? Won't their power drop? Eyes flashing, a grin was plastered on Zhuo Fan. Vicious Pill King didn't seem to get it. How can I? They're not stupid to sit still and take on my palm, and they're all profound heaven experts. They may not be able to use Radiant Stage's abilities, but they can at least discern any movements in a 1,000-meter radius. The moment we approach, they'll spot us and we'll have no chance of retaliation. Star Reader, author mistake perhaps, first half a mile now a kilometer. Sullivan might not be. He got used to it, but he is still new. It might be that the ability is stronger. And if they can't spot us, Zhuo Fan watched Vicious Pill King with a playful smile. Vicious Pill King was baffled, then saw a red pill thrown his way. Vicious Pill King watched it even more perplexed. Zhuo Fan said, this is an energy-concealing pill, a first-grade pill. For a full day, your energy won't be released. Unless someone sees you or a Radiant Stage expert actively searches for you, no one will notice. Zhuo Fan took one. In a blink, his aura vanished. Vicious Pill King watched dumbstruck. Since when did such a marvelous pill exist in this world? How come I never heard of it, and a first grade as well? Vicious Pill King's shock and disbelief were understandable. Zhuo Fan mocked, it is an ancient pill recipe. How could you know of it? But that's not important. I will tell you about it later since I recruited you to help me to make pills. The energy-concealing pill will be of great importance later. For now, stick close. We will talk again after we deal with these pesky flies. Zhuo Fan resumed flight. Vicious Pill King swallowed it after a moment of shock, then followed him excitedly. Putting aside how amazing the Luo clan was, just getting to study these ancient pills from Zhuo Fan was a reward in and of itself. Following this kid was the best choice I ever made. Vicious Pill King's heart was dancing in joy, the same as when he made his first living pill. In a hidden part of the forest, 2 elders in white sat on 2 rocks with their eyes closed. Even so, they were always on guard, listening to every rustle, every gust of wind. Only when they were certain the gust wasn't made by some expert did they relax. Third brother, will that kid really pass through here? We've been at this for days and there's still no sign of him. Did he pass us already or took another route? One elder muttered. The other elder still held his eyes closed and his position on the rock. Mr. Leng is famed for his insight. He doesn't make mistakes. He said that we will meet the killer of 6th brother here today. It will soon be over, just be patient. But all this waiting is so boring, the other elder sighed. Then a black shadow moved closer, unperceived by the pair. When it got behind them with a thunderous roar, 2 wings ran the 2 through. Zhuo Fan then came out of the shadow. Spatting blood, the 2 elders opened their eyes and strained their heads behind them, just to see Zhuo Fan looking down on them. I was afraid you too would spot me, so I used elusive shadow art, but you guys always had your eyes closed. You can't be serious even when laying an ambush. Sigh, Mary Woods is doomed to perish. Under the shock of the 2, Zhuo Fan twisted their necks. Then black energy swallowed the bodies, leaving naught but ash in its wake. The 2 were so dumbstruck before, still disbelieving to be caught off guard so thoroughly. Clapping, Zhuo Fan shrugged. He learned from his encounter with Lin Zishan that Mary Woods' cultivation method boasted great speed. So he figured he'd rather deal with these 2 first and remove the trouble later. What he didn't expect was for this pair to wait in ambush with eyes closed. They were clearly begging for it. You mean to say killing 4 elders of the 7 houses doesn't warrant any contingencies? Well, they make it easier for me to do what I want at least. After devouring the 2 experts, he could feel the yuan qi inside him surging. Zhuo Fan turned to the west, at where Hell Valley's elders lay in wait. Humph, old enemies do meet often it seems. Zhuo Fan snickered, turned into a shadow, and began haunting his way forward. The elders in the west weren't like Mary Woods, waiting idly. Their aura was somber and watching over any sign of movement around them. They knew Zhuo Fan for who he was and never dropped their guard for a second. Third elder, the kid is late and it's making me nervous. An elder watched around, ready to pounce. His hawk eyes scrutinized every inch. The other elder was just as vigilant, but through some strange coincidence, he always kept 100 meters from his partner, 4th elder. The kid not only killed 7th elder, but even crippled 5th elder. He is vicious to the core and hard to handle. We must not underestimate him for being in the bone-tempering stage. He will be here soon and we must work together and avoid ending like 7th Elder and 5th Elder. Relax, I consider this kid a veteran profound heaven expert. The 4th Elder nodded with a grave expression. A shadow was creeping in on him, listening to his words. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow and mocked them in his mind. You don't say. Your welcoming of your enemy is truly worthy of this demonic emperor. Although how am I to ambush you when you're so on edge? Zhuo Fan started recalling the 2 wastes from Merry Woods. Those guys saved him a lot of trouble, but what about this pair? He would be hard-pressed to get rid of these 2 quickly, not to mention they were higher than 5th Elder in rank. Sighing, Zhuo Fan began to hesitate. Then he heard a boom and a rainbow mist rose in the north. Everything this mist touched, be it plants, animals, and even rocks, decayed. The 2 elders looked in shock. Rainbow Cloud Palm. Why is Pill King Hall here? I thought they weren't included in this plan, 3rd Elder asked. 4th Elder paused, then waved indifferently. He, didn't the kid kill their best alchemist? I heard that he stole his corpse later on. This is one shame they can't take lying down. I suspect they came here willingly. Anyway, the more we are, the better the odds. But why are they using Rainbow Cloud Palm? 3rd Elder paused, then came to a shocking conclusion. The other elders' eyes shined and shouted, they found the kid. We better hurry and help. But before they could even take to the skies, they saw 2 people rushing towards them. The elders panicked. Aren't they Regent Estates elders? Why are they poisoned? Was it an accident? In their moment of doubt, a shadow flitted behind them. Whoosh, as 3rd Elder and 4th Elder were still trying to make sense of the Regent Estates elders' poisoning, Zhuo Fan stabbed his wings towards 4th Elder's chest. He was run through in a blink. He began to feel a sting in his chest, then how his body grew ever weaker as the life ebbed out of him. He then slumped on the ground. 4th Elder, 3rd Elder roared, but Zhuo Fan's 2nd wing was already coming at him. However, these 2 elders matched well with each other even in their daily lives, more so in battle. They attacked and retreated in such a way that they always maintained a fixed distance. This was happening now as well, making Zhuo Fan's attack only take down 4th Elder, while 3rd Elder was just too far away for him to reach in time. 3rd Elder jumped backward and dodged the lightning wing. He saw 4th Elder's corpse, then turned his bloodshot eyes to Zhuo Fan, thirsting for revenge. Zhuo Fan glanced at the corpse below him, then at the profound heaven expert opposite of him and grinned. Are you that demon Archon Zhuo Fan? 3rd Elder clenched his fists, his aura exploding with immense power. He was in the 8th layer of profound heaven stage. Not even a pill could guarantee Zhuo Fan a win in this fight. But Zhuo Fan kept his cool at all times, nodding slightly, then looking at the dead 4th Elder. Is he your brother? You fit quite well together. What's it to you? You killed 7th Elder, 4th Elder, and crippled 5th Elder. I will make sure you never leave this place alive. 3rd Elder spat through clenched teeth, yet his ever-raging eyes couldn't help but pause over his brother's body. Taking it all in, Zhuo Fan snickered. He then had the corpse suspended with his lightning wings. What are you doing? 3rd Elder roared. To my enemy, I will not only kill him, but ruin his corpse as well, making him die in regret, Zhuo Fan snorted. 3rd Elder was about to charge, but Zhuo Fan suddenly sighed. However, 3rd Elder stared wide-eyed. Seeing you brothers so close, I will let him go. After all, I also have a brother earned from life and death struggles, only to die at the hands of Ugeki. If not for this, I wouldn't have had any quarrel with Hell Valley. Zhuo Fan sighed and shook his head. 3rd Elder was stunned, relating to this third-rate clan kid and why he became Hell Valley's enemy. Thinking of his earlier action, he also would have charged and exact revenge for his brother regardless of peril. Even so, you think I'll let you go? 3rd Elder snorted, angry still. Zhuo Fan snickered and raised his head to show his blazing eyes. For my brother's revenge, I have incurred upon me today's disaster, but I do not regret it. How could I ask my enemy for forgiveness? But seeing you meet the same fate as I did, I won't ruin his body and return it to you. Zhuo Fan flicked lightning wings and threw the corpse to 3rd Elder. 3rd Elder moved with haste, now looking at Zhuo Fan with a faint trace of respect as he bellowed, Good, we will have a man-to-man fight and see who's the real 3rd Elder stopped for some reason, feeling a chill in his heart. Looking down, he saw a fist-sized hole in his chest that wasn't there before. Blood flowed in rivers from it. 3rd Elder looked at Zhuo Fan in complete and utter perplexity. What's going on? We didn't even start fighting and I'm already dying. With a snicker, Zhuo Fan waved. A golden light came from 3rd Elder's back, flying over next to Zhuo Fan. 3rd Elder watched the golden infant closer. This is my demonic creature. I hid it in the body and threw it over all so I could catch you off guard. That is why I also cooked up that little story about my dead brother. I only killed Ugeki for being an eyesore. Waving at third elder, Zhuo Fan sent him off with his most demonic smile he could muster. Fare thee well, loyal and cherishing Hell Valley's third elder. I hope you won't be so gullible to a stranger's words in your next life, especially your enemies, ha ha ha. Falling backward, third elder felt himself going colder, his eyes still reflecting Zhuo Fan's last smile. Demon Archon Zhuo Fan's nefarious ploys are foolproof. No wonder even seventh elder fell victim. Bam, third elder fell next to his brother, yet as his mind stopped working, those eyes were forever opened and evoked unspeakable regret. They were sent here to end Zhuo Fan, only to fumble about and die so miserably. I took too long here, better go and help Elder Yan. Sighing, Zhuo Fan took back Blood Infant and flew up high. In 4 breaths, he arrived above the northern part of the forest. The Regent Estate's elders were now green with poison. Despite being in the 9th stage of Profound Heaven stage, the poison was nonetheless effective in dropping them all the way to the 4th layer. Yet even in such a case, a body cultivator was still as strong as a normal 6th layer Profound Heaven expert. Recalling Huangpu Qingyun's might in his 2nd layer, he realized Regent Estate's body cultivators were not pushovers. It was an accident, I made a mistake. I thought Demon Zhuo Fan was hiding here. Bullshit. Who in this world doesn't know we are from Regent Estate, especially with these clothes? Don't try to play the fool. You did this on purpose. Stay right there, we'll break your bones and we will go together to your Pill King Hall to settle this. Up in the sky, vicious Pill King fled like a frightened mouse, with the 2 Regent Estate's elders on his tail. With how vicious Pill King was proclaimed dead and rejuvenated a couple decades after removing the poison, these 2 elders had no clue as to who he really was. But he wasn't about to shout it out either. Would a traitor like him have any resting moment from Pill King Hall and the entire Empire's pursuit? He may be vicious Pill King, but he was not as skilled as Zhuo Fan, and clearly not as bold to be hunted down by everyone. Zhuo Fan sighed. Where had the great and might vicious Pill King from Drifting Flowers edifice gone to? Why was he such a scaredy cat before 2 of Regent Estate's elders? Is it Regent Estate too strong, or vicious Pill King just too damn weak? Zhuo Fan already knew the answer but didn't want to accept it, because his troubles would grow exponentially if it was so. Regent Estate, I will surpass you in 10 years, Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. Spotting Zhuo Fan, vicious Pill King laughed as if he found his savior. Steward Zhuo, you finally came. Save me, vicious Pill King dashed behind Zhuo Fan without an ounce of propriety. At this point, the 2 elders also caught up. Seeing Zhuo Fan's lightning wings, they shouted, bone-tempering stage cultivation, lightning wings. You're that demon Archon Zhuo Fan who made a mess of Drifting Flowers City, the one and only, and you 2 must be from Regent Estate, I take it, Zhuo Fan said with a chill in his voice. They nodded, then eyeing vicious Pill King behind him with curiosity. Now I see. Pill King Hall had turned to rely on Demon Archon Zhuo Fan. No wonder he attacked us on the sly. You still dare say it was an accident? Vicious Pill King snickered. The 2 elders snorted. Why do you think Regent Estate's imperial tyrant body art makes us the best among the 7 houses? It's that not even your rainbow cloud palm can kill us. We will crush you both and fulfill our mission. Humph, you're a broken record, you know that. You're clearly weaker now and still prance around saying you can take us on. Zhuo Fan snorted in disdain. The 2 elders cracked up. Even weakened, we are more than enough to wring the life out of you. I don't believe you. Why not try killing him first? Zhuo Fan chuckled and threw Vicious Pill King forward. Vicious Pill King cried in panic. Did Zhuo Fan just sell me out? The 2 were puzzled but still grabbed tight to Vicious Pill King. Feeling him trembling in their grasp, they were stumped. Grinning evilly, Zhuo Fan said, you shouldn't take him for the coward he is. He has real skill, you know. To prove his point, a golden glow came out of Vicious Pill King and entered one of the elders. The elder froze in place and one could even see how he started drying up like a raisin. His life was swiftly leaving him. Shell-shocked, the other elder darted 100 meters back. Even Vicious Pill King was just as horrified. He never saw Zhuo Fan make use of Blood Infant, nor kill with demon transformation art. Now he was watching this all play out in utter fear. How can such an abominable and cruel method exist? Floating before Vicious Pill King, Zhuo Fan recalled Blood Infant sneakily and laughed at the frightened remaining Regent Estate elder. Did you see that? Now can you still boast about taking us on? The elder had his voice shocked out of him and watched Vicious Pill King in horror. Forget it, that old guy is inconsequential. What matters is I get Zhuo Fan's head and complete my mission. I don't need to worry myself with that old man's eerie skill. The elder took a deep breath and laughed. Kid, you're good to have found such a patron. Then I will spare your life today, but... What is that? Suddenly the elder pointed behind the 2 with panic. Zhuo Fan and Vicious Pill King turned to look. In that blink, the elder snickered and appeared before Zhuo Fan in a single step, aiming for Zhuo Fan's head. Bam. The elder didn't get to touch one hair on his head, however, as a golden light flew from Zhuo Fan and blew a hole in the elder's chest. Zhuo Fan turned back to see the shocked elder. That's the oldest trick in the book. Don't you know anything else? Now I finally know what that old saying means, all brawn and no brain. Chuckling, Zhuo Fan lightly pushed and the man fell like trash in the abyss. Vicious Pill King had long been stupefied by how easily Zhuo Fan dealt with two experts from Regent Estate. He now understood what it meant to kill people as easy as chatting. Whoosh, the golden light moved about, then returned to Zhuo Fan's side. Vicious Pill King watched the golden infant with shock. What just happened? Simple really, since you fled around like a mouse, they held you in contempt. So I put my demonic creature in you before throwing you over to deal with one of them. Grinning, Zhuo Fan added, when a powerful, profound heaven expert died without rhyme or reason, it got his partner scared out of his mind. I used this chance to recall the demonic creature. This time, he held you in too high regard, thinking you hid yourself to pull a fast one on them, and by comparison, he thought I was the easy target this time and charged for me. And to make matter run smoothly, he had his attention split between me and you, leaving room for my demonic creature to catch him off guard. Vicious Pill King blinked, still out of sorts. Zhuo Fan laughed. In the end, they all died. First was arrogance, second overconfident, third conceitedness. Steward Zhuo, aren't they all the same? Vicious Pill King muttered. Raising an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan laughed harder. Indeed, this is the disease that plagues every expert. Facing them head first will make me lose without a doubt. Too bad they were too full of themselves. To others, this will hardly matter, but when it comes to me, a fraction of a second of carelessness is enough for me to give them a death full of regrets. A bolt of fear went through his core as Vicious Pill King watched Zhuo with even more admiration. Now that he thought about it, everything panned out just as Zhuo Fan explained. It was all done with the sole purpose of baiting the Regent Estate elders, and it worked like a charm. Without even realizing it, the two bit the dust in but a blink. Rather than say this was a well-thought-out and ingenious trap preset by Zhuo Fan, it was in fact more along the lines of him reading them like a book and pushing the right buttons to make them fall into a trap themselves. Such cunningness is unheard of. No wonder even Yugiki fell. Vicious Pill King held a deep respect for Zhuo Fan now. Steward Zhuo is of endless wisdom and courage with foolproof plans. But being just a steward is a waste for you. Humph, you don't need to go ass-kissing. I am clear where my talent lies. Nothing is beneath me, be it a higher rank or the entire world. Only, Zhuo Fan sighed as he looked in Wingay City's direction. This wasn't the time for such thoughts, but to settle the safety of Luo clan and avoid any trouble they might suffer. This wasn't just forced on him by his heart demon, but a wish that slowly crept into his mind without his notice. Since Vicious Pill King didn't know the whole story, he thought it was for a much higher purpose. His eyes roamed in thought, then snapped into focus when he reached a shocking conclusion. A youth of remarkable talent like Zhuo Fan was willing to be a steward. And what was a steward? The clan head's right-hand man. Able to do everything and loyal to a fault. What monster was this clan head to be able to raise such a young and outstanding Zhuo Fan, yet as cunning and vile like a demon archon? Seeing Zhuo Fan's look, that staunch resolve to do everything in his power for the Luo clan, his admiration only grew for this clan head. This was his first time hearing Tianyu had such a titanic clan, such a person of overbearing might. Vicious Pill King was eager to meet this person and was jumping in joy inside. Vicious Pill King was having a flight of fancy of epic proportions, hailing the Luo clan into the ranks of 7 houses while holding the clan head in even more admiration and regard than the emperor himself. How could he ever have known the Luo clan was not even a first-rate clan? That the clan head was long rotting in the dirt and leaving a pair of wretched brother and sister behind. They should be thankful Zhuo Fan was there to keep their sorry lives. Delusions were bliss while reality, a dump. But that was something dear Vicious Pill King would have to experience for himself when he gazed upon the glorious Luo clan. Let's go, Zhuo Fan was ready to resume their journey when Vicious Pill King laughed. Steward Zhuo, are those other 2 places handled? Zhuo Fan knew what he was hinting at and rolled his eyes. Cut the crap. Think I had time to waste saving your sorry ass if I hadn't finished those other 4 blokes. Ha ha ha, Steward Zhuo is of genuine talent. 4 profound heaven experts from Merry Woods and Hell Valley dealt with in a blink. All while I couldn't even handle 2 Regent Estate elders. I am ashamed. Vicious Pill King's admiration only grew, and the more he admired Zhuo Fan, the more he believed in Luo clan's power. And of course, sinking deeper into his delusion. Suddenly, Zhuo Fan stopped and Vicious Pill King looked over. Zhuo Fan squinted. Elder Yan, I overheard Merry Woods' elders mentioning that Mr. Leng planned this ambush. Do you know him, Leng Wucheng? Zhuo Fan's words stirred Vicious Pill King. No wonder. I thought with so many roads leading to Wingay City, how is it they managed to pick the exact same one we were taking? So it was all Lang Wucheng's doing. You know him? Nodding, Vicious Pill King sighed. To be frank, Steward Zhuo and Lang Wucheng are much alike. I know nothing about him, just how are we so damn alike? Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed. Knowing Zhuo Fan didn't understand, Vicious Pill King elaborated. Ha ha ha, what I mean to say is that he is a steward like you, but that of the Regent estate. What? Zhuo Fan was shocked for a second, then he started making guesses. With how Regent estate was the strongest of the 7 houses, the steward, the aide of the clan head, had to be a man of renown. There are 3 people widely known for their wisdom in Tianyu Empire. Prime Minister Zhuge, one which you already know. Regardless of what decisions he makes, they are all so irrefutably correct that no one could find any fault in them. In recent centuries, the empire had been in turmoil because of invaders beyond the borders. That was until he took office. As the head of the 4 pillars, the emperor hates him to the bone, but he can't do without him either. The 7 houses as well fear him. Vicious Pill King flicked his sleeve and continued. The second sage is Regent Estate's steward, unwanted contriver Lang Wucheng. As a distant relative of the imperial family, the Regent Estate is taught in the same way an emperor is. Their steward was also appointed by the prime minister. Lang Wucheng may be a steward in name, but his position carries a whole lot more weight. He is equivalent to Zhuge Changfeng's position in the empire. Regarding talent, rumor has it he is not one bit inferior to Zhuge Changfeng either, although no one had seen them wage a battle of the minds. Lang Wucheng is admired by all for his foolproof plans and insight. And the third, Zhuo Fan, was impatient seeing Vicious Pill King stop just now. Laughing, Vicious Pill King's eyes shined oddly. Steward Zhuo, isn't it obvious? It is you who killed the third. Insidious demon Yugiki, Zhuo Fan caught his meaning. Vicious Pill King nodded, ha ha ha, yes him. The third sage was Insidious Demon, famed for his dastardly and cunning ploys. But ever since he stumbled upon Steward Zhuo, a man of wildly greater intellect, his head fell like a rock. From that point on, Steward Zhuo became the 3rd sage of Tianyu. Hey, easy on the bootlicking. I killed him using power alone. I didn't waste my brain power on him. That would have been tiresome, Zhuo Fan mocked as he brushed off his flattery. Vicious Pill King stroked his beard and nodded. I guessed as much. Yugiki may not be up to the level of the other 2, but it is nonetheless hard to catch him off guard. So he must have died from the power gap. Does that mean Lang Wucheng is more cunning than Yugiki? Zhuo Fan tightened his brows as the topic was brought out. Nodding, Vicious Pill King laughed in dismay. Ha ha ha, more than that. Zhuge Changfeng is a marvelous strategist. Lang Wucheng's every scheme plays as it should. Yugiki's devious traps are unsolvable. Compared to the first 2, Yugiki was passable in schemes, but fell dreadfully short in power. The first 2 had intricate plans put in place, hard to defend from the dark yet openly for everyone to see. You could see through Yugiki's elaborate tricks, but when it comes to Zhuge Changfeng and Lang Wucheng, you'll have no choice but to jump even if they tell you a trap is before you. Who is better, who is inferior, who is stronger, who is weaker? Steward Zhuo, now do you know the difference between them? Vicious Pill King sighed, his tone ever solemn. Since Lang Wucheng is involved, we must tread carefully and lightly. Zhuo Fan nodded. Since he was far more shrewd than Yugiki, then he would not contest him in cunning, but in strength. No matter how ingenious and convoluted plans he threw at Zhuo Fan, power reigned supreme. This was the true plot in which power was the true way. This brought him back to finding experts to back the Luo clan, who a sudden breeze blew and Zhuo Fan squinted. He grew anxious as he pulled Vicious Pill King's hand to fly faster. Let's go, what's wrong, Steward Zhuo? Having never seen him so alarmed, Vicious Pill King was startled. Eyes twitching, Zhuo Fan gnashed his teeth. Curses, they sent a radiant stage expert as well. What? This time Vicious Pill King was panicking. How can this be? Translator, star reader, editor, Sylvan A. Half a mile out, a tall and buffed elderly with silver hair was flying idly behind them. Then his brows furrowed and a hint of shock swept his face. Was I discovered? The elderly's eyes flashed in suspicion, then shook his head. Not possible. They are only a bone-tempering stage and a profound heaven stage. Only the likes of radiant stage experts can discover me. They picked up the pace since they were hurrying. Yes, that has to be it. Laughing dryly, the elderly had no clue how close to home his random guess brought him. If these 2 with their low cultivation could spot a radiant stage, then the latter would find themselves obsolete. The old man used his soul to scour the place of battle and shouted, "Damn brat, they're so weak yet. They killed 6 profound heaven experts of 3 houses, and perfectly 2. His reputation precedes him. The kid must have an even more valuable body cultivation method than imperial tyrant body art." He licked his lips and excitement danced in his eyes as he increased his speed. But his act was easily picked up by Zhuo Fan as he pulled Vicious Pill King even faster. There was no denying it this time, the old man was spotted. Why else would Zhuo Fan react so quickly? Then he recalled his earlier thought about being obsolete. His face went red in a flash and felt like slapping himself for those needless remarks. But the way he looked at Zhuo Fan was with even more zeal. This kid is a freak through and through. How amusing. The old man ramped up his speed 10 times, and in mere breaths, he already caught the two in his sights only 1,000 meters out. Startled, Zhuo Fan found his pursuer close behind and shouted, "Shit, the old guy is almost on top of us." What, that fast? Vicious Pill King peeked behind and paled in fright. Why did it have to be this freak? My poor life is over. You know him? Zhuo Fan asked. Vicious Pill King nodded on the verge of tears. Who doesn't? Everyone of my generation knows and fears this freak. Who is he? The Mad Dipper Li Jingshan. Vicious Pill King swallowed dryly as he broke out in cold sweat. Zhuo Fan was also becoming anxious, having never seen Vicious Pill King so scared before. With how arrogant he usually was, he would stand up even to a radiant stage if the chance arose. Just then a booming laughter entered their ears. "Ha ha ha, don't run, I recognize you. Aren't you that Yan Song kid? And is that little imp next to you is Zhuo Fan? You better halt, there's something I want to discuss with you." Vicious Pill King's face sank. Why is it that my face changed so much that those two Regent Estate elders couldn't tell who I am even when they held me, yet you saw through me from a mile away? Then he realized. The old freak just scanned with his soul and instantly knew the truth. Zhuo Fan could feel the shivering Vicious Pill King and was panicking as well. This guy was no pushover. Their fate would be grim once the old guy gets his paws on them. Only a moron would stop now. His lightning wings flapped and doubled his speed. Humph, learn when to quit. Squinting, Li Jingshan released a ripple that shot straight for the two with deadly precision. Killing with intent, Zhuo Fan looked back flustered as the azure flame flashed in his eyes. Another visible ripple was shot, incomparable with the first but enough to pull up a defense against the first one. Bam. The two intents clashed, vibrating the space itself. A bolt of pain shocked Zhuo Fan's head and the azure flame appeared on his forehead. Next, Zhuo Fan pulled Vicious Pill King speeding up as he tried to ease the shock he felt. His soul may have entered the radiant stage, but he was a long way from being Li Jingshan's level. When their intents collided, it forced his azure flame out. He was clear the azure flame safeguarded his soul. Its appearance proved what a serious threat the old man's intent had to his soul, despite not meaning to kill him outright. Even so, his soul wasn't free from injury. If that intent had hit, he'd be out cold and waiting for the old guy to pick him up. While he was shocked, 1,000 meters behind him, Li Jingshan was downright struck dumb. He really didn't see it coming. Only a radiant stage could grasp this ability yet. He just witnessed a bone-tempering cultivator using it. He looked as if he saw a tiger sprout wings and take off. Not only was it impossible, but seeing it become reality, he realized what a true freak that kid was. A tiger was the king of beasts. If it took flight, then who could stand up to him? He felt a real threat coming off from Zhuo Fan. He could use Radiant Stage's abilities in the bone-tempering stage. Then when he reached the Radiant Stage, he'd be unstoppable. At that point, even fellow Radiant Stage cultivators would fall beneath the kid's intent. This last thought sent a shiver down Li Jingshan's spine. No wonder the 7 houses gathered to end this brat once and for all. The best freak out there was a dead one. Leave him alone and he might grow even beyond the demon 3 centuries ago. Bloodthirst seeped into Li Jingshan's eyes. If he found Zhuo Fan amusing at first, now he wanted nothing more than to squeeze the last drop of life out of him and rid the world of a future menace. But that didn't say anything about not wringing out the things he wanted first. Li Jingshan went faster, shooting for the two like a meteor. Zhuo Fan could barely react as their necks were grabbed in steel like vices. "Ha ha ha, let's see you run now, so fast," Zhuo Fan scowled, wondering if he should use this chance to let Blood Infant on him, but he cast that thought aside as soon as it came. This man was in the Radiant Stage and had discerning field around him. Blood Infant would be discovered the instant it left his body, unless Blood Infant entered the Profound Heaven stage and reached a speed that surpassed a Radiant Stage's soul detection. A pity he was only in the 5th layer of Bone Tempering stage. Since he shared his life with Blood Infant, the two had the same cultivation. Goddammit, why did I bump into a Radiant Stage? Zhuo Fan cursed inside his bad luck as cold sweat ran down his back. He was utterly powerless in the face of a Radiant Stage expert. This feeling of having his life in the hands of someone else was the worst he'd ever felt, not to mention dangerous. "Ha ha ha, you little prick, I don't know how you become so young and handsome, but no matter how fast you run, you can never escape me." Ignoring Zhuo Fan, Li Jingshan turned to the shivering Vicious Pill King. Vicious Pill King looked as if he just lost his mum. Senior Lei, how can I compare to you? When you became widely known throughout Tianyu, I was but a lowly second-grade alchemist. Don't you care how people will see you if you kill me? Oh, I always heard how haughty Vicious Pill King, but you looked more like a mouse to me. Where's your zeal, your backbone? Elder Li, don't joke. I would never dare act pompous before you. Vicious Pill King said downcast. Senior Lei, in the end, you are Regent Estate's guest venerable. This is obviously a misunderstanding between the houses. Why not houses? Raising an eyebrow, Li Jingshan cracked up. You mean Regent Estate and Pill King Hall or Regent Estate and Zhuo Fan's clan? Vicious Pill King's mind shivered at this. He was planning on keeping his dumb act to get out of this alive, but it didn't look like this was going to happen anytime sooner. Li Jingshan's smile was frosty. Don't think I don't know. I saw your fight earlier. You turned your back on Pill King Hall and threw your lot with Zhuo Fan. Vicious Pill King was stumped, turning to Zhuo Fan for a way out. Since going back to Pill King Hall was out, betraying Zhuo Fan was impossible. That would make him immoral. He was Vicious Pill King, not an opportunist like Lin Zishan who swung both ways. He still cared about his face, albeit younger. Sighing, Vicious Pill King admitted, yes, I left Pill King Hall. I will follow Steward Zhu to the Luo clan. Now if you want to kill me, go ahead. Zhuo Fan nodded inside. He saw Vicious Pill King as a devout alchemist foremost and a loyalist second, a man you could count on. Li Jingshan didn't expect such a blunt reply and laughed. Good, Yan Song, you live up to your rumors. I will let you go, but this kid. You want to kill me? Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow, staring at Li Jingshan. Sure. I mean, you are Regent Estate's venerable, and I killed your second young master and you want vindication. But I couldn't help but hear that you are their guest venerable and have no relation with Regent Estate. Where are you going with this? Li Jingshan's eyes flashed. Grinning, Zhuo Fan spoke boldly. Then let's discuss terms for you to join me. What Regent Estate offers you, I, Zhuo Fan, can not only meet their offer but double it. What? Li Jingshan and Vicious Pill King were shocked silly. Regent Estate was the head of the 7 houses and fulfilled Li Jingshan's however pricey terms. But was there anyone else in the whole empire who could simply double it? Even the imperial family would find it hard to meet twice what Regent Estate offered. But thinking over Zhuo Fan's skill and the titanic and secret clan behind him, Vicious Pill King started grinning. Since Zhuo Fan boasted the Luo clan as the best in Tianyu, then it had to be above the 7 houses, even equal to the imperial family. Vicious Pill King stuck out his head and laughed. Elder Li, our steward Zhuo's words are gold. Li Jingshan's eyes flashed. Thinking how deceitful Zhuo Fan was, of course he didn't believe a word. But the moment Yan Song laid eyes on him, he bolted like a mouse, yet was now puffing up his chest. This led him to believe Zhuo Fan had stronger and very much real backing for him to speak such words. How was he supposed to know Yan Song's courage was born out of delusions? A more apt description would be Zhuo Fan painted him a pretty picture, and Yan Song's mind embellished. Since the strong, Vicious Pill King believed it, it conveyed enough confidence for Li Jingshan to maybe trust it as well. Muttering something, Li Jingshan snorted. Humph, you little pup, you think too highly of yourself. If you think you can buy me over, you have another thing coming. Do you have any idea how I met Regent Estate, how I became their venerable, and what they gave me? Vicious Pill King's heart was wound tight. Is Mad Dipper unbuyable? Zhuo Fan grinned, hiding the sneer in his heart. Oh, you big SH muck. I didn't know who you were before, but now I'm perfectly clear. You wouldn't be flouncing around if you were such a Regent Estate diehard. You'd be ending us with impunity and taking our corpses back. Ain't it obvious you're bitching to ask for a bigger pay? I've played this game myself 1,000,000 times. Squinting, Zhuo Fan smiled. My knowledge is shallow. Having not heard of Elder Li's glorious pursuits, I ask that you enlighten me. Ha ha ha, I knew you were wet behind your ears. That's why you spouted those egotistical words about buying me. Although I can't blame you since I haven't gone out much for you to hear of me. Nodding with pride, thinking things were going his way, Li Jingshan turned to Vicious Pill King. However, if I were to retell old stories of myself, all you'd be hearing is bragging. Yan Song, you tell him. Shivering, Vicious Pill King bobbed his head right away. Despite the apprehension he felt, Vicious Pill King glanced at Li Jingshan, then spoke with the utmost gravity. Steward Zhu, Elder Li is a man that shook the empire. You'd be hard-pressed to find another grand figure such as him in the whole of Tianyu Empire. Elder Li started as a rogue cultivator, no match to any of the 7 houses' experts. However, his mind was staunch, his heart set on giving his all and training his arts. Since he had no cultivation method, he stole it from other clans. He began with a mortal ranked cultivation method, slowly working his way to a spirit ranked cultivation method, then a profound ranked cultivation method. The exploits of Elder Li are found in every history book. Oh, so Elder Yan means Elder Li is a thief? Zhuo Fan interrupted as he scratched his nose. Panicked, vicious pill king gesticulated wildly in his stammering. I never said such a thing. Mind your words, Li Jingshan bellowed and slapped him, looking somewhat awkwardly at Zhuo Fan. He was hoping vicious pill king would make a proper account of his heroic deeds, racking up his value. But this old coot went and spilled the whole beans about his inglorious past. All robbing would do was drop his price instead. Li Jingshan glared at Yan Song, then coughed. Ha ha ha, that is an old story, a part unworthy of attention. How can it be? Without a cultivation method, your only choice was to steal if you didn't want to stay weak all your life. I truly admire your courage. Zhuo Fan smiled. Li Jingshan's eyes shined and his heart jumped in joy since Zhuo Fan didn't despise him. He laughed even harder. Your reputation doesn't do you justice, Demon Archon Zhuo Fan. You aren't like those so-called experts, but a man of true talent. Correct. In my younger days, I had to go steal renowned skills and cultivation methods from clans to become what I am now. And the more I stole, the more enemies I gained, but I showed no fear. After cultivating, I became stronger than any of them and killed any who chased me down. I always fought them with the same skills I stole, promising to hand my head over if I ever lost. Zhuo Fan looked at him deeply. Isn't that the same as what I've been through in the 100-pill meeting? Zhuo Fan's opinion of him grew somewhat. He was a renowned man to steal others' belongings and achieve greatness, just like Zhuo Fan. None of them were saints, just looking at things from a different angle. Then, people started calling Elder Lei as the Mad Dipper. It means to say how arrogant I am, yet so powerful none of them could do anything to me. Vicious Pill King put his 2 cents in. Li Jingshan nodded, so I robbed and cultivated my way to the profound heaven stage, unmatched by all. But at that point, I have reached a choke point. Yeah, spirit rank cultivation methods are too slow in the profound heaven stage and had to be exchanged. And the only ones with such cultivation methods are the imperial family and 7 houses or the 4 pillars. Is this how you leaned on Regent Estate? Zhuo Fan said. Li Jingshan shook his head, holding his head up high. Vicious Pill King buted in. Steward Zhuo, you may not know, but Elder Li didn't lean on Regent Estate, but fought his way in. Elder Li heard of Regent Estate's imperial tyrant body art being the best of all the houses and wanted to take it. 5 elders had to work together, but even they, with their imperial tyrant body art, couldn't defeat Elder Li's spirit-ranked body cultivation method. Even Regent Estate's Grand Elder Huangpu Finglei had to intervene. Thus, he invited him into his house as a guest elder, now venerable. This was one of the rare events in the history of Regent Estate. Vicious Pill King turned his admiration-filled eyes to Li Jingshan. Li Jingshan's head rose even higher, as if that was possible, as he stroked his ego in just the right spots. As if to say, look, I didn't go there begging, it was Regent Estate who invited me. But Zhuo Fan saw through everything and snorted inside. This so-called invitation was after he became a sensation. Regent Estate is fraught with danger. No matter how tough you are, a profound heaven expert would soon be lying dead somewhere before he could make any kind of scene. It's obvious he used his own strength to recommend how fitting he was for Regent Estate. If I went in, my conceived version of imperial tyrant body art would have grown far stronger than theirs, thus boosting the power of Regent Estate. Nonetheless, a body cultivator who has always been engrossed in his training yet still had the time to develop such cunningness is a rarity. It had to be all that chasing's fault. Li Jingshan looked more pleasing in Zhuo Fan's eyes. This radiant stage guy has brawn and brain. He is a good specimen. Scratching his nose, Zhuo Fan smiled. In other words, Elder Li is a martial fanatic. Doing anything and everything in your pursuit of power. You only have one life. If you don't fight your way to rise above the masses, it's not worth living for. Li Jingshan looked at the skies and sighed. Zhuo Fan spoke. Now, I know what Elder Li wants. Hold on, I don't want you to see me as... I have my own cultivation method. Zhuo Fan cut him off. What I am unclear, however, is why Elder Li, a Regent Estate's guest venerable and knowing the imperial tyrant body art, would come after my cultivation method. A kid, I am not actually. Do be frank with me. Shooting him a glance, Zhuo Fan was completely defiant. If Elder Li isn't honest, you will never get what you want from me. Since I don't know what you really want. Stammering, Li Jingshan looked squarely at Zhuo Fan with admiration. He is no common kid. Few are those who can meet the gaze of a radiant stage expert. No wonder Leng wanted me to personally deal with him. Li Jingshan sighed and nodded, indeed. I came today for a cultivation method. Humph, I am Regent Estate's guest venerable, yet they only imparted the imperial tyrant body art up to the 7th stage, omitting the last 2. Yet those weaker than me get to practice it without worry. Ridiculous. If I had trained to the 9th stage, I'd be invincible. Not even the imperial family's divine dragons can compare. Just why have they not given me the last stages? Li Jingshan let go of all his rancor, to which the two looked at each other and shook their heads in mockery. This guy really was a martial fanatic, godlike even. Could Regent Estate rein him in if he became invincible? Humph, he had always been an outsider. I wouldn't impart it either if I couldn't control you. Zhuo Fan said so, yet the outline of a plan was forming in his mind. This man could be taken into the fold, though he needed to fine-tune his rash behavior and get him to fall in line. Kid, I have been completely open with you. Now it's your turn to tell me that body cultivation method of yours. He wanted to still pose as a senior, but Zhuo Fan's bluntness was hard to cope with. He thus reverted to his mad dipper, robber self. Scratching his nose, Zhuo Fan was just as calm as he smiled. Elder Li, how do you know my cultivation method is better than imperial tarrant body art? Humph, anyone can tell after the stunt you pulled in Drifting Flowers City. Li Jingshan huffed. Huanpu Qingyun just entered the 7th stage of imperial tyrant body art, yet could only take 1 bursting pill. And then there's you taking 5 of them and killing him outright. Even a blind could see whose is better. Zhuo Fan and Vicious Pill King shared a look and nodded. Not everyone was stupid, able to tell which was which. Yet Zhuo Fan still chose to shake his head. Elder Lei, you are a renowned senior, most clear on the power the imperial tyrant body art holds. Think it through, just how many cultivation methods are there that can surpass it? Li Jingshan was at a loss. Ha ha ha, Elder Li, as you know the full recount of what happened in Drifting Flowers Edifice, then you must also know what my other title is. Eminent Alchemist Zhuo Fan? Li Jingshan was stunned. You mean? Zhuo Fan nodded with a crafty smile. I managed to display such power with my body because of my cultivation method, yes, but also thanks to the pills personally refined. Just one was enough to boost my power 5 times. What is that possible? Body cultivators were stronger than average because of their tough bodies, and the only way to obtain it was through arduous training, no exceptions. But if there was a pill that could do the same thing, where'd the body cultivator's advantage go? Does the world have such a miraculous pill? Li Jingshan was skeptical, but Zhuo Fan's logic held some truth. How else could Zhuo Fan, with his bone-tempering stage cultivation, stand up to Huanpu Qingyun? Li Jingshan was clearly hesitating, but then he said coldly, Kid, give me the pills or I'll waste you. Can't, I ate them all. How else could I have finished off Huanpu Qingyun? Then you better make some. Aren't you an alchemist? Out of ingredients. Then I will stay with you until you get them. Li Jingshan was shouting now. Raising an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan caught Vicious Pill King showing off a peculiar smile, one that Li Jingshan clearly spotted. In that case, I need the blood of a red-tail ice fox, a 3rd-level beast. Let's go to All Beast Mountain Range, Zhuo Fan proposed. Li Jingshan waved him off with a smile. Hold on, why should we go that far? There's plenty of 3rd-level spiritual beasts in a nearby forest. They aren't as many in All Beast Mountain Range, but should be enough for refining. Frowning, Zhuo Fan had no choice but to sigh and nod. Very well, let's go. Turning around, he gave Vicious Pill King a look. Vicious Pill King didn't seem to have caught it, but Li Jingshan was on guard to pick up this particular strange behavior. He pulled Zhu around by the shoulder and squinted. Kid, a 3rd-level spiritual beast doesn't need all 3 of us. Let Yan Song get it while we wait. Ha ha ha, I am an alchemist and pay close attention to the details when picking any ingredient. How could I let Elder Yan go? Zhuo Fan wiped his brow of sweat. Li Jingshan snorted inside. He didn't know what Zhuo Fan's game was, but rumors about his cunning and treachery floated everywhere. It's best to be on the safe side. How many's blood ended up in this kid's hands just because they looked down on him? Li Jingshan was a veteran and saw through everything. He laughed. Ha ha ha, kid, cut the act. I said he will go alone and that's final. He's also an alchemist and knows what spiritual beast to pick. Gnashing his teeth, Zhuo Fan furrowed his brows but sighed in the end and took out a gourd from his ring. Elder Yan, here are the favorite worms of the red-tail ice fox. Bait it with this and catch it quickly. Yan Song's eyes lit up, catching his meaning, and nodded. Wait, Li Jingshan felt something was off. What is this? Let me see. Yan Song hesitated, but Zhuo Fan nodded. Li Jingshan took the ice gold gourd and opened it. A blood-colored worm wiggled its way out. Li Jingshan looked at it with a critical eye but found nothing unusual. He gave it back to Vicious Pill King. This fox eats worms. Ha ha ha, who else but us alchemists know the habits of every spiritual beast? Zhuo Fan laughed. When Li Jingshan found Vicious Pill King had gone 10 meters away, he shouted, Yan Song, you have 1 day to bring a 3rd-level spiritual beast. Be late and we won't wait for you. Yan Song staggered in his flight, looking back at Zhuo Fan and nodded. Zhuo Fan sneered inside. Li Jingshan was quite cautious, leaving no stone unturned. Even though he let Yan Song go, he gave him a deadline. Now it wouldn't matter even if he got help, since these 2 would be long gone. Humph, getting hounded in his younger days, worked wonders for his prudence, it seems. But despite all this caution, it only sends him deeper into my trap. Zhuo Fan grinned. Around 12 hours later, Vicious Pill King carried a snow-white fox's body. Its tail was a vibrant red. Vicious Pill King placed the body down and returned the gourd to Zhuo Fan with a slight nod. Zhuo Fan smiled, now we can refine. Wait, Li Jingshan again buted in, his eyes flashing eerily. A flick of his finger cut the fox in two. Li Jingshan stooped and squeezed the parts until a red worm came out. Now you can begin, Li Jingshan squashed the worm to a paste. Vicious Pill King was startled, yet found Zhuo Fan calm as a well. So now I will refine a body pill for Elder Yan to prove my words. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath and used his Yuan Qi flame. But Li Jingshan barked, wait, I want 10, the more you have, the better. But you can only take it once in your life, taking any more would be useless. Zhuo Fan furrowed his brows. Laughing, Li Jingshan's eyes were sharp. If I say you make 10, then that's what you'll do. Unless you two don't want your heads on your shoulders. For lack of a better option, Zhuo Fan started refining. When the pills were just about done, he added the ice fox's blood. With a hum, 10 pills radiating cool air and colored red flew into Zhuo Fan's palm. Li Jingshan cried in shock. Why are they so cold yet came out of a Yuan Qi fire? Elder Li may not know that this third-grade pill, freezing body pill, is a clan's secret. Refined with a yin-yang flame, it is hot inside and cold on the surface. Once ingested, hot and cold will travel through the body hundreds of times, tempering it, Zhuo Fan explained. Li Jingshan reached over. Give me one. Zhuo Fan nodded, acquiescing his demand. Wait, Li Jingshan had a sly smile. Give me the other 9. Zhuo Fan frowned but complied. Li Jingshan then pointed at the one Zhuo Fan was holding and said with a cold smile, Kid, eat it. I told you, this pill only works once. Zhuo Fan frowned, laughing. Li Jingshan's eyes bore into him. I know, of course. But it won't matter if you take one more. If you don't eat it, that this pill must have a defect and I will kill you. Zhuo Fan ate it in the end. Seeing him fine, Li Jingshan's eyes roamed around and thought, Kid, pick one from these 9. Zhuo Fan sighed and took one. Give it to me, Li Jingshan said. Zhuo Fan complied, yet Li Jingshan shouted again just before he ate it. Hold on, you eat it, Yan Song. Me, Yan Song stammered but was forced to eat it either way. In this way, Li Jingshan made Zhuo Fan pick again and again, until only 3 were left. He picked one himself, then checked the 2's faces before eating it. Li Jingshan felt a chill seep into him, then a warmth. It was so gentle and cozy. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow then snickered. This guy is paranoid, but he took the bait anyway, he. Li Jingshan entered meditation and focused on refining the pill. Zhuo Fan and Vicious Pill King were actually just standing there looking at him. 6 hours later, Li Jingshan stood up. Zhuo Fan smiled. How is it, Elder Li? Happy? Yes, my body feels so free. Li Jingshan let a carefree laugh, but then was cut short as he frowned. However, why is it that my body hasn't grown in power? Grinning, Zhuo Fan said. That's normal since it was not a body pill by any means. It'd be odd if you did get stronger. What, you lied? Li Jingshan's rage exploded. Vicious Pill King hunkered for cover behind Zhuo, but the latter was still carefree. Oh my Elder Li, you are a veteran and a man with widened horizons. How come you bought into this fairy tale about body pills? Don't you know cultivators walk in defiance to heavens? The greater the price, the bigger the reward. Relying on pills will only ruin you in the long run. You played me for a fool? Li Jingshan's eyes were red now. Vicious Pill King shivered as he shook Zhuo Fan's arm. He tried to make him stop aggravating this old monster. Zhuo Fan, however, flicked his hand free and laughed, and what are you gonna do about it? You think I'm as dumb as those morons you robbed, thinking you can just take my cultivation method? Fat chance. Why, you little. Li Jingshan was panting in rage, pointing at Zhuo Fan all the while. The great Mad Dipper Li Jingshan was somebody, even in his early days, that the 7 houses would show some respect. But then he met this young pup who started cursing him. The shame was unbearable. No matter if he got the cultivation method or not, Zhuo Fan had to die. Li Jingshan bellowed and slapped the 2. The wave of power coming from him almost blew the 2 away. Kid, your life ends here. Vicious Pill King shivered behind Zhuo Fan in fear. Steward Zhuo, you tricked him, but your bloodworm's plan fell through, so why are you making it worse? You look so wise with your poise and calmness, but how come why are you hot-headed today? Vicious Pill King cried as he wailed inside. Who could have seen this coming? He just got a new lease on life only to die again a month later. Is this the end of my poor life? In the middle of his lamentation and prayers, Zhuo Fan snorted and made a sign. Ah! A shriek of pain shuddered the heavens itself. A bloody mark appeared on Li Jingshan's forehead that forced his palm to a stop, but a hair's breadth away from Zhuo Fan, he then proceeded to hold his head as he collapsed in agony. Blood flowed from his eyes, ears, nose, and mouth, dyeing the ground red. His eyes bulged out and were ready to pop. The whale had Vicious Pill King looking stumped. Looking back at Zhuo Fan, he noticed the trademark wicked grin on his face. Steward Zhuo, did it work? Vicious Pill King blinked. Zhuo Fan nodded, but of course, this coot is under my complete control. Elder Yan, you did well today. I will remember this. Great, ha ha ha. Vicious Pill King's spirits were uplifted. He looked to Li Jingshan with a proud gaze. You finally got yours. Who told you to play around? Don't you know any ploy before Zhuo Fan is paid back many folds? Vicious Pill King felt it on his own skin. But seeing the mad dipper of Tianyu's act crushed and shamed made him chipper. His admiration for Zhuo Fan grew as well. Of course, he even managed to bring a radiant stage cultivator to his knees. This boy is too much. What's happening to me? Li Jingshan held his head as he rolled on the ground. What the hell did you do to me? Zhuo Fan and Vicious Pill King snickered in sync. Taking the remaining 2 pills, Zhuo Fan said, Elder Lei, I'm sure you know by now. I mean, didn't a veteran cultivator like you ever heard the saying, don't take candy from a stranger? The pill. Li Jingshan's eyes widened. Impossible. Even if a 3rd-grade pill had poison, my yuan qi is more than enough to remove it. And didn't you take it too? Zhuo Fan snickered. We did indeed. Terribly sorry, however, this pill is completely safe. It has no poison, though it does refresh one's body. What is wreaking havoc in your body is this little buddy. Zhuo Fan presented the gourd and a bloodworm came out. Li Jingshan had known something was off about it, but never thought it could be so deadly and make him stand on the edge of a precipice. This is my demonic creature, bloodworm. It takes control of your blood. I am linked with it, and a thought from me is enough to plunge you into a world of pain. It works just the same even on a radiant stage expert like you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Li Jingshan was shocked and roamed his eyes around, all while he expressed his doubt. That can't be. I scanned every ingredient you used, even the dead fox, and there was nothing wrong with any of them. The bloodworm was killed by me at the start. You're saying the worm didn't die when being refined? Vicious Pill King was also curious about this. This was the reason for his disappointment earlier. He just didn't know how Zhuo Fan pulled off getting this old guy to swallow a bloodworm. Ha ha ha, I know this as well. Why else would I propose the red-tailed ice fox? Chuckling, Zhuo Fan's eyes shined with wisdom. My bloodworm lives in frigid pools, and the ice fox's main property is its icy blood. So I had Elder Yan feed it a bloodworm, but not to include it in the pill later. It was all so it would lay its eggs. You might have killed the bloodworm, but the icy blood was filled with eggs. Now I get it. Under a radiant stage expert scrutiny, they'll notice any hint of life in seconds. But an egg isn't alive until it hatches. This made Li Jingshan's search useless. Vicious Pill King exclaimed while also giving Zhuo Fan a good round of ass-kissing. Steward Zhuo is a sage to cover all aspects. Not even the veteran Li Jingshan could match your perfect schemes. I am in awe. That's not right. How did you make the bloodworm grow so fast from a mere egg? Li Jingshan was still in denial. With a light smile, Zhuo Fan supplied the explanation on a casual note. You have the potency of the pill to thank for that. As I've said, I used both yin and yang fires in the refining. If I did not do so, the yang fire would have ruined the egg in the blood. The rest is as you already understand, or more aptly put, felt on your own skin. The pill freely switches from yin to yang. Sometimes the warmth of spring and sometimes the chill of a winter blizzard. It imitates the 4 seasons. Though it may have been 6 hours, but to the bloodworm, it was equivalent to decades. Not to mention this pill speeds up your pulse, all to help the little bloodworm grow. The pill was no body pill, but one that facilitates the flow of blood, the spring pill. The explanation floored Li Jingshan completely. Never had he thought this day would come. He moved unchecked across the empire only to fall in the hands of a twerp. He could only laugh at himself for being greedy. It was this that brought him to his knees. But Zhuo Fan saw through him once again. Ha ha ha, you must be thinking greed got you into this mess. No, wrong. Humans are inherently greedy. Take away your desire and would you still be human? Desire is fine, but you must never ever try to take any shortcuts. There's no such thing as a miracle pill to make you strong. And even if there is, the price you'd have to pay for it would be so much greater. Zhuo Fan then placed a jade slip at his feet, stopping the bloodworm's torment as he continued preaching. Like I said, I have my own cultivation method. It is called Wraith Art, a mid-profound ranked demonic method of astonishing power. Train it to completion and it won't lack one bit to top one. It is without a doubt stronger than even the imperial tyrant body art. At the same time, I will also give you 3 matching profound ranked martial arts. If you are willing to bend a knee and join me in the Luo clan, pick it up and become its elder. Or you can just leave, return to Regent Estate as a guest venerable. I won't stop you. Looking Zhuo Fan straight in the eye, Li Jingshan could pick up on his sincerity. He slowly reached for the jade slip as he muttered, I first want to see if it is real and not, and if it is incomplete like what Regent Estate had passed to me. Zhuo Fan smiled and nodded. When Li Jingshan caught a glimpse of it, his eyes widened. Bloody hell. There's a sound profound ranked martial art in here. This doesn't exist anywhere in the empire. What kind of a behemoth is this Luo clan to have such a treasure? Your decision, Zhuo Fan smiled. I'm in. Who the hell wouldn't at this point? Li Jingshan put the jade slip in his ring and laughed. Kid, I'd come over to your side much earlier if you had just shown me this cultivation method. What need was there for all that cloak and dagger spiel? He, you don't say. Knowing what he was thinking once again, Zhuo Fan smiled coldly. Wouldn't you have killed me instead, to silence me and take my head for a reward? Li Jingshan scratched his head awkwardly from having his heart laid bare. Zhuo Fan is just as the rumors say, nothing escapes him. No wonder he can act so calmly after killing 6 experts. With such a talent, the clan must be of even more epic proportions. I didn't lose out following him. Li Jingshan laughed inside. He may have been forced to switch camps, but you could say he traded up. As such, another poor and disillusioned expert climbed aboard. Zhuo Fan didn't mind at all. Isn't it a good thing if they trust the Luo clan? Although they may perhaps experience a somewhat mild letdown when they see it. Zhuo Fan felt somewhat bashful at that last thought. The caged dragon city leaned onto the endless miles-long bulwark range. 4 towering peaks, jutting cliff edges, and cloud-wreathed hunks of rocks had the city surrounded. Seen from above, the 4 looked like spikes nailing down a proud dragon, dooming it for all eternity. And the city here was where the head of the 7 houses, the Regent estate, laid its roots. An old man in his 50s, with sunken cheeks and pale as paper, was now standing before the looming city gate. His hair was in a bun, just like a scholar's, evoking a refined and courteous air. But the bloodthirst in his eyes ruined this image. 2 profound heaven experts flanked him, yet their attitude was quite deferred toward the old man, with a hint of fear mixed within. Whoosh, suddenly 3 lights flashed before them. They were none other than Veiled Dragon Pavilion's Pavilion Lord, Long Yifi, 3rd Elder, and Long Jiu. You honor me, Pavilion Lord Long, with your arrival. Do forgive me for coming so late to welcome you. The scholar half bowed to Long Yifi, yet there was no trace of courteousness on his face. Long Yifi returned the greeting with haste and respect. It is of no importance. How could I possibly demand Sir Leng come in person? You have given me a world of respect just by waiting for me. Ha ha ha, Pavilion Lord Long is courteous. It is only proper I do so as the steward of Regent Estate. Sir Leng cupped his hands and his lips curled into a wide smile. Long Yifi nodded but felt his heart in a vice. Around a man they called unwanted contriver Leng Wucheng, one had to be mindful of his every little gesture at all times, lest they reveal something they wouldn't want to about themselves. Lest they would unwittingly allow him to pry into Veiled Dragon Pavilion's secrets. Even the other 6 house lords treated meeting Sir Leng with more gravity than seeing the emperor. Whoosh, 3 more figures arrived just then. Looking over, they were Hell Valley's Valley Lord, Yuanshan, along with his Grand Elder and one-armed 5th Elder. Perhaps the rage and humiliation still held him in their grip, for his features were tightened and morose. After exchanging greetings with Leng Wucheng and some short pleasantries, Leng Wucheng flicked his cold eyes on Long Yifi. Humph, Pavilion Lord Long, enemies always seem to bump into each other. This is the 2nd time we meet since our audience with the Emperor. Ha ha ha, quite so, life is fickle like that. It seems, however, after we parted from the imperial capital, Veiled Dragon Pavilion stayed the same, yet I find it that not to be the case for Hell Valley. Long Yifi chuckled, the sarcasm clear in his eyes as well. This open jab at Hell Valley was an obvious mockery to them, losing 2 great generals. First, the demise of Ugiki, and second, the crippling of 5th Elder Diamondback Ape. Hell Valley's losses were tremendous, falling dreadfully short in power compared to Veiled Dragon Pavilion. Yuanshan's face contorted in rage and stomped forward, his power threatening to break out as he spat. Long Yifi, come and see for yourself if Hell Valley is still the same or not. Humph, you think the likes of you scare me? Snorting, Long Yifi's eyes were sharp, letting his power ooze out. The 2 peak profound heaven experts' auras clashed, putting pressure on the 2 profound heaven experts belonging to Regent Estate into retreating. Even though Regent Estate was crowned as the strongest house, Long Yifi and Yuanshan were not to be taken lightly either. Few present could push back these 2 elders, even in the Regent Estate. The 2 sides bared their fangs, needing one last push to blow everything up in smoke. Leng Wucheng coughed, gentlemen please, this is Regent Estate. Those simple words were as if spoken by a god as it shook the hearts of the 2 and their aura vanishing. They proceeded to instantly bow an apology. Please show leniency, Sir Leng. It's fine, just remember that we are in Regent Estate and you are our guests. You will make it difficult for me if you start fighting here. Please take it elsewhere if you want to sort your differences, that's all I'm asking. Leng Wucheng's face was as blank as ever, but the words were chilling to the bone. His eyes even contained a hint of reprimand when looking at them. Despite the anger welling in the 2, they could only let it simmer. He had the monster that was Regent Estate behind him, someone none of the 6 houses wanted to make an enemy of. Ha ha ha, this place sure is lively. Valley Lord Yu, Pavilion Lord Long, it's been ages. A laughter broke out, followed by 3 towering figures in green. Their leader was a wizened old man with silver-haired, while the other two were his elders. One was red-haired and the other violet, yet each one of them had an eerie hint of green in their eyes. Hall Lord Yan Bogong, squinting, Yuanshan mocked them. You seem to be quite springy for someone who had his best alchemists slaughtered in cold blood. Ha ha ha, Valley Lord you, there's no need to provoke me. Yan Bogong smiled. Pill King Hall is different from you. You always go on a murder spree every day, with every one of your elders a mighty general. My condolences for the loss, by the way. While we at the Pill King Hall pursue alchemy above all else. Only the best alchemist is worthy of the vicious Pill King title. Even if we were robbed of our precious alchemist, we still have many more that can fit the role as well, just as we have many 7th grade alchemists like Yan Song. Since they have always been in his shadow for so long, they must be letting it all out in laughter now. In short, we do not lack alchemists. Our next vicious Pill King will achieve just as his predecessor had, taking the title of the best alchemist in Tianyu. Yan Bogong stood proud before the two, while Yuanshan cursed silently. A cold and cruel hell is a more fitting place for you. Long Yifi snorted. Hall Lord Yan seems to be quite confident. I heard that in the 100-pill meeting held by Drifting Flowers Edifice, before vicious Pill King's untimely demise, he fell utterly short to the more skilled Zhuo Fan. Do tell, how is the best alchemist in Tianyu one of yours now? I certainly don't see it. For the first time since he came, Yan Bogong's face took a darker tone, his eyes flashing with bloodthirst. Humph, and if Zhuo Fan dies. The dead can't compete with Pill King Hall in taking the best alchemist title. What, Zhuo Fan, where's that devil? A sudden bark rang everyone's ears. It followed with the arrival of 3 figures in blue. A middle-aged man with delicate features walked to Lang Wucheng. Sir Lang, hasn't Zhuo Fan been dealt with yet? Lang Wucheng frowned. Mary Woods was the dumbest ally no one would ever want. Could you speak any louder? I don't think everyone heard you clearly. Too little too late. Long Yifi could already guess as his eyes glanced at the two. Lang Wucheng coughed. House Lord Lin, please mind yourself. We are all here to strategize on how to rid the world of that devil. Oh, Lin Rufeng, why do I get the feeling you already began to act? Lin Rufeng's eyes searched for a clue, a tick, anything. Lin Rufeng nodded without a care. Damn right, that punk killed our 6th elder. How can we not retaliate? This time we sent 2 profound heaven experts. House Lord Lin, Zhuo Fan is most cunning. It is not appropriate for Mary Woods to act alone. Let us all work together on this after the 7 houses gathering. Lang Wucheng intervened before Lin Rufeng's loose tongue could do even more damage. Lin Rufeng was startled. What do you mean alone? Weren't you in it as well? But Lang Wucheng's deadly glare shut him up before he could open his beak. However, Long Yifi could already guess what happened. Regent Estate has been on the move even before the 7 houses gathering, and they excluded Veiled Dragon Pavilion, it seems. It was a clear indication that Regent Estate crossed Veiled Dragon Pavilion from their ally list. This spells trouble. If the Regent Estate goal is to rule all 7 houses, they are sure to make an example out of Veiled Dragon Pavilion by eliminating us. Long Yifi secretly sighed. I can only pray for Zhuo Fan's safety, that he will assist us once he rises to power. You must stay alive at all costs. Ha ha ha, it's been a long time since it's been so bustling here. It must have been, what, a century since our last gathering. A sudden chuckle followed a scholarly middle-aged man with a long beard joining them with 2 elders behind, and one of them was Sword Marquis Abode's 8th elder, Jian Suifeng. Jian Suifeng and Long Jiu's eyes met and they nodded at each other. In Drifting Flower City, Zhuo Fan pulled the strings in getting Sword Marquis Abode and Veiled Dragon Pavilion secretly more acquainted. Long Yifi's eyes shined at the newcomer, finally meeting an ally, and laughed. Ha ha ha, Abode Lord Skybreaking Zai Zai Feng, we meet at last. Pavilion Lord Soaring Dragon Long Yifi, I've been looking forward to seeing you as well. Zai Zai Feng cupped his hands, laughing together for a reason only they knew. These 2 were house lords, yet they have never once met before, but since they were allies now, they saw each other in a better light. Lang Wucheng's brows trembled. The 7 houses are almost all here. But in light of Drifting Flowers Edifice's unfortunate disaster that demon caused, I believe they have their hands tied and can't join us. Let us. Who said Drifting Flowers Edifice's hands are tied? A clear and powerful voice cut Lang Wucheng's speech short. Then a bang echoed as a golden staff with a dragon head smashed the ground. The sight of her caused the others to widen their eyes, even Lang Wucheng. The old hag still lives. A curvaceous woman in her 40s, free from the scars of time, walked with dignity and lofty air. At every step, the dragon-head golden staff smashed the pavement. Oddly enough, it was at that instant the other people's hearts jumped as well. She was the legend that had kept Drifting Flowers Edifice afloat a century ago with her own 2 hands, the one they called Grandmother, Chu Bijen. Long Yifi and Zai Zio Feng had heard of her recovery from Long Jiu and Jian Suifeng, but seeing her in person was a whole other matter entirely. Each of them watched dumbstruck as if they saw a ghost. One could hardly blame them. Behind grandmother were Iris Overseer and Peony Overseer. They stood proud and head held high, finally able to blow off their long-pented steam. "I am possible you should be dead," Hall Lord Yan stammered. Snorting, Chu Bijan flicked him a look and spat, "Yan Bogong, you'd wish it so, but to your disappointment I am still alive and well. I may soon even enter the radiant stage. Humph, your deep consideration for Drifting Flower's edifice over the years have been noted. I will make sure to repay each and every transgression." Shivering inside, Yan Bogong sank into a depression. Chu Bijan's title of Lady of Steel was for her staunch determination in following through on her promise. The future of Pill King Hall looked quite bleak. "Congratulations on your recovery, Edifice Lord Chu, and resuming your lead." Lang Wucheng gradually cooled and cupped his hands to Chu Bijan. She returned the gestures with a light bow. "Please, Sir Lang, you're too kind. The Edifice Lord has always been King Cheng, but she had to enter seclusion while this gathering is taking place. So I took it upon myself to assist her by coming here in her stead. Edifice Lord Chu is modest. Everyone knows you are the first overseer. However, you are no different than an Edifice Lord, thus your title. With you leading, Drifting Flower's edifice will bound to rise." Smiling, Lang Wucheng continued, "You have my utmost admiration for advising 3 generations of Edifice Lords and for your open-minded nature." Chu Bijan nodded in her show of respect. Lang Wucheng smiled. "Would it be too much to ask that in this 7 houses gathering, Edifice Lord Chu put aside our differences?" "Ha ha ha, of course, Sir Lang. Only I'm not so sure everyone else would be as quick to agree as me." Chu Bijan sneaked a glance at Yan Bogong. Yan Bogong gnashed his teeth. "Since Sir Lang asked, I shall accommodate your request while in Regent Estate." "Ha ha ha, wonderful." Laughing, Lang Wucheng's eyes roamed over the crowd and gestured with a flourish, "Guests, please follow me. Estate Lord is waiting." He took the lead. The rest followed after him, while Yan Bogong snorted at Chu Bijan. Chu Bijan only smiled coldly, leaving with her overseers. When passing by Veiled Dragon Pavilion and Sword Marquis's abode, they exchanged glances and the 3 broke out in smiles. This was done in such a casual manner that no one noticed. These 3 houses were in fact allies. The 6 houses' delegates entered in a lofty and grand hall. The arrangements were full of taste and refinement, yet there were only 7 seats. It was obviously reserved for the House Lords, while their detail made to stand. This earned no little dissent among the elder. They were revered in their own houses, and even their House Lords showed them proper respect, while here they seemed to be treated like heir. Turning a blind eye, Lang Wucheng gestured, "Please take your seats while I ask Estate Lord to join you." And he left. Yan Bogong, Yu Wanshan and Lin Rufeng looked at each other before taking their seats. Chu Bijan squinted and took a seat as well. The elders were, however, made to stand at their side. Long Yifi and Zai Ziaofeng exchanged a glance, then looked at their elders, undecided to the best course of action. A house leader should fight for the respect of his elders. The best way was to ask Regent Estate for more seats. The elders were the pillars of the house, not mere servants to watch their house lord eat while standing aside. But the seating was so strange that left the 2 at a loss. While they were debating inside, a stout man in golden ceremonial robes dazzled in with Lang Wucheng behind him. He was the Estate Lord, Huangpu Tianyuan. The people stood and offered their respects. Huangpu Tianyuan returned their gesture and sat in the seat of honor. Only then did the others sit as well. Lang Wucheng chose to stand behind Huangpu Tianyuan without a hint of complaint. Huangpu Tianyuan took everyone's presence into account, and even though Lang Wucheng warned him, he was shocked to see Chu Bijan here just the same. "Edifice Lord Chu, I am relieved to see you in good health." Chu Bijan nodded. "I am most grateful for Estate Lord's kind thoughts. Drifting Flower's edifice and Regent Estate have always been close. Chu Bijan recovery is a happy event for us, Regent Estate." Huangpu Tianyuan smiled and patted her snow-white hand. Chu Bijan withdrew in flustered and with reddened cheeks. "Goddamn hypocrite," Iris Overseer and Peony Overseer cursed him secretly. If not for grandmother's early warning, they'd be blowing a gasket right about now. Huangpu Tianyuan turned to Long Yifi and Zai Ziaofeng, asking in faux interest, "Pavilion Lord Long, abode Lord Zai, why are you standing? Do you find your seats lacking? I will change them for you." No, Long Yifi denied, his eyes darting around while replying oddly, "Sir Lang is one of the 3 sages in Tianyu. How could I let him stand? I freely offer my own seat to him." Zai Ziaofeng understood his hidden meaning. At an important and rare occasion as the 7 houses gathering, how could Regent Estate make such a casual blunder to forget some seats? It was obviously done on purpose. Mentioning it would instantly trigger the trap. As for what that was, no one knew. Yet Lang Wucheng took a roundabout approach, hanging the issue over Lang Wucheng's head. Although unable to talk back for Regent Estate's accommodations, the least he could do was counter it ingeniously. Pavilion Lord Long still knows how to use the old noodle. Zai Xiaofeng joined in as well. AI, how could I let Pavilion Lord Long give his seat? It's best I give my own. Oh, no, take mine. Please, I insist. The two kept going back and forth, hoping to make a mountain out of a molehill. Yet Huangpu Tianyuan was sitting there without the slightest disturbance. Leng Wucheng snorted secretly. He cupped his hands at the two. Thank you, House Lords, for your generous offers, but we have rules here. I cannot agree. These 7 seats are for House Lords only. A subject like me is unworthy of seating next to Lords. So that's why, is this regent's skill in dividing his subjects from the Lords. The two saw the same guess in each other's eye. Leng Wucheng was quite vague, but it hinted at Regent Estate's ambition. He tossed out the subjects and Lord excuse to test who was worthy of making ties with Huangpu Tianyuan and who was not. As for who was the Lord and the subjects among the 7 houses, it was painfully clear. For the sake of dealing with Zhuo Fan, they convened the 7 houses gathering, but it was in fact a cover to threaten the 6 houses into submission. There was no way Regent Estate would breach this subject out of their own initiative. So how could they deal with this? Long Yifei and Zai Xiaofeng gnashed their teeth, taking seats with anxious hearts. The elders stood behind them with heavy expressions. Regent Estate was planning on using Zhuo Fan as a scapegoat to unite the houses. Huangpu Tianyuan smiled once everyone was seated. The reason why I've asked you all here today is abundantly clear. As of late, Devil Zhuo Fan had repeatedly breached the 7 noble houses' honor. Beginning with Hell Valley's 7th elder, it slowly snowballed into the chaos that engulfed Drifting Flower's edifice and robbing us of 4 elders with his devious ploys. The whole of Tianyu sees us as nothing but buffoons. If we let him continue on this path, the day may very well come when he will purge one house from its roots. Wasn't Drifting Flower's city the root of Drifting Flower's edifice? Hall Lord couldn't help but point out his mockery. Chu Bijun smiled coldly. Indeed, Drifting Flower's city has been reduced to shambles. However, that was at the price of taking out the best alchemist in Tianyu. Shouldn't this old bones destroy a few more? Chu Bijun, mind your goddamn tone. Yan Bogong slapped the table. Chu Bijun was quite calm as she stood. Humph, anyone here is more than clear who should mind his. Enough. Huangpu Tianyuan shouted, fighting among us before our enemy is vanquished will only benefit him. Huangpu Tianyuan ended their quarrel and resumed. For that purpose, I propose in the name of the 7 houses, the demon purging decree and put an end to his vile tendencies. What? The others gasped, even Chu Bijun and Yan Bogong. They all had their guesses, but hearing it was still a shock. The last time the demon purging decree was issued was 3 centuries ago. Demon purging decree was the 7 houses act which held as much power as the emperor's edicts. Yet it was far more cruel. Even if the emperor was subjected to some offense, his edict would involve the 7 houses at the most in dealing with the offender. But the demon purging decree rendered a constant kill order on the target, in which the 7 houses would deploy all their assets, including their venerables, in hunting him down. The target would be exterminated with extreme prejudice. It wasn't limited to the target either, as it included the place he visited, be it a village or a city. They were all burned to the ground. Driven by fear, everyone else would start hounding the target as well, until he had nowhere to hide in the whole of Tianyu Empire. In this manner, the target would slowly grow weary, unable to cope, and ultimately perish. As this was a drastic measure, the demon purging decree was issued only if voted unanimously by the 7 house lords. If one house failed to participate, it would be tantamount to betraying the imperial family and being labeled as traitors. Yet Zhuo Fan only killed people from 4 houses, becoming bitter enemies with them. Even if he had all 7 of them breathing down his neck, it would still not warrant such a cruel and vicious act as the demon purging decree. Since this act implied the slaughter of innocents in cold blood, 3 centuries ago, the 7 houses would have refrained from using it as well, but that little monster was too hard to deal with. While this time it was used on a mere bone-tempering cultivator, everyone was frowning, sinking into their thoughts. What does everyone think? Huangpu Tianyuan smiled. Yan Bogong, Yu Wanshan, and one other nodded. We agree to a state lord's decision. The brat has to be put down at once, Long Yifei muttered. However, using demon purging decree at this time is overkill. This implies an empire-wide call to arms, and an explanation has to be given to the imperial family. Furthermore, Zhuo Fan is hardly at the level of that little monster 3 centuries ago. It doesn't make sense to use the demon purging decree for just this. Zai Xiaofeng nodded. Humph, of course you'd say that, Pavilion Lord Long. At that time, Veiled Dragon Pavilion was willing to take the blame for the kid. You must be practically joined at the hip with that devil by now. Yu Wanshan snorted. Long Yifi roared, "You Wanshan, cease your baseless accusations. When your two elders died in Wingay's city, we were in the dark too. Would you have believed us if we just told you it wasn't us? We might as well settle this now so that rumors won't spread saying that Qianlong Pavilion is afraid of you. How is it that now your story has changed into us taking the fall for Zhuo Fan? He, you know full well who's taking the blame. Are you to tell me you are that oblivious to what happens in your own backyard? Wingay's city is your domain. Ha ha ha, you knew full well that was our domain, yet you sent elders in. They were seeking death. Say that again." Yuanshan slapped the table and jumped to his feet. Long Yifi did the same in answer to his challenge. Huangpu Tianyuan snorted in anger, one that shook the entire place. Yuanshan and Long Yifi felt their ears ringing and a heavy force pushing down on them. Shock set in as well. Huangpu Tianyuan's power was incredible. Despite all being peak profound heaven stage experts here, they were a cut below him. The two were reduced to only glaring at each other as they took their seats. Eyeing them coldly, Huangpu Tianyuan said, "Remember, this is the Regent estate." The two apologized but were wary nonetheless. "Edifice Lord Chu, what is your decision?" Huangpu Tianyuan smiled. After a brief reflection, Chu Bijan responded with a smile, "I wholly approve of Estate Lord's decision. This devil-ruined drifting flowers edifice and has to be put down." Long Yifi and Zai Xiaofeng watched each other baffled. "Hey Grandma, we are allies here. Don't go kicking us to the curb." Huangpu Tianyuan was shocked at her casual response. But then Chu Bijan showed an expression plagued by worry. "Estate Lord, we may issue the demon purging decree, but you have to move like lightning and destroy him. You must know that he has the Bodhai root in his possession, drifting flowers edifice's greatest treasure. If he is pushed into a corner and eats it, it will boost his power and will ruin us." Chu Bijan's words struck a chord. Huangpu Tianyuan sighed, "On second thought, it is best we don't unleash such a calamity as the demon purging decree on the people." Wait, what? Yuanshan's side nodded out of instinct but soon came to and was flabbergasted. He thought to himself, "I say, Estate Lord, didn't you tell us to follow your lead? We even agreed to enact the demon purging decree. Why are you then so whimsical? Are you going back on your words to trick us too?" Huangpu Tianyuan treated their looks of doubt as air, sighing once again in abject sorrow. "I only proposed the demon purging decree to see if there's any compassion left in your hearts. Us seven are the peak of Tianyu's power. We have to lead by example, to stand united in upholding peace in Tianyu. If we adhere to the demon purging decree and bring disaster to our people over one kid, for our selfishness no less, wouldn't that be too despicable of us?" Long Yifi and Zai Xiaofeng bobbed their heads. They were clueless as to why Huangpu Tianyuan shifted gear like a teenager, but they agreed in a heartbeat. Yuanshan's side had their faces twitching, and Huangpu Tianyuan's amiable smile almost had them spurt blood. Curses. "Are you playing with us? Did you just use us knowing our motives earlier to paint us the villains while making you the benevolent hero? This damn Regent estate is a den of bastards." Yuanshan's side glanced at each other, looking as if they swallowed a fly. They all then started to discuss how to deal with Zhuo Fan, but came up empty. Huangpu Tianyuan then adjourned the meeting for the House Lords to get some rest. When Chu Bijan left, Huangpu Tianyuan never let her out of his sight. "This damn hag is back to her old tricks." When all left, Huangpu Tianyuan spoke faintly. Nodding, Ling Wucheng smiled. "Yes, hitting us right where it hurts. The hag saw your motive with a glance and threw a wrench in your demon purging decree. From what I've seen, the Drifting Flowers edifice may be the weakest house, but Chu Bijan isn't easy to deal with. At least far more troublesome than Long Yifi and Zai Xiaofeng working together. Indeed, with this hag back, the Drifting Flowers edifice is going to be a hard pill to swallow." Huangpu Tianyuan sighed. Yuanshan's group suddenly appeared in the hall. Already knowing they'd come, Ling Wucheng waved them off with a smile. "I know what's on your minds, but please relax. We have no ill will towards any of you." Estate Lord only changed his decision on the spur of the moment. Startled, Yuanshan's group held Ling Wucheng in even greater admiration. "Sir is an outstanding strategist. It is indeed why we came here, yet you could tell with a single look. Please, you're too kind. I only have people's best intentions in mind." Ling Wucheng smiled. "But Sir Lang, Estate Lord, how are we to get rid of Zhuo Fan?" Yuanshan frowned. Hell Valley and Zhuo Fan's grudges were bone deep. They only cared about seeing Zhuo Fan dead. Huangpu Tianyuan and Ling Wucheng laughed. "Valley Lord, you, a pup has you running scared. Look at you shaking in worry over there. You are bringing disgrace to the 7 houses." Huangpu Tianyuan mocked him. Ling Wucheng's eyes flashed. "Valley Lord, you, haven't we already sent a team to intercept him? And if it fails? Isn't this the reason for the demon purging decree?" This was Yuanshan and the others' biggest worry. Huangpu Tianyuan rejected. "You think a mere bone-tempering kid is worthy of the demon purging decree? The decree is only a means to an end, a convenient excuse." Yuanshan blinked baffled. Ling Wucheng looked unperturbed. I may not know much about him, but 3 houses send 2 profound heaven experts after him. The chance of success is over 90%, but just now it became 100%. Oh, what makes you so sure of success, Sir Leng? Huangpu Tianyuan raised an eyebrow. Even he was curious. Leng Wucheng grinned because our guest venerable Leng Wucheng volunteered as well. He's going too, whatever for. Huangpu Tianyuan was startled. Why else? He must have heard of the kid's exploits in Drifting Flower City and plans on taking Zhuo Fan's cultivation method for himself. That martial fanatic knows when to be serious only when these things are involved. Humph, what a fool. He is Regent Estate's guest venerable, with imperial tyrant body art at his disposal, and yet here he is coveting an outsider's cultivation method. Huangpu Tianyuan snorted. Leng Wucheng shook his hand indifferently. It doesn't matter. With Elderly's character, he'll definitely kill the kid afterward. The brat's fate is sealed. Yu Wanshan's group was overjoyed at the news. Now that a radiant stage expert set his eyes on Zhuo Fan, he would die for sure no matter how skilled he was. Yet to their complete lack of knowledge of the situation, that giddy radiant stage expert who went to rob and kill got turned instead. Even Leng Wucheng would be so shocked his eyes would pop out of their sockets. Also, Yu Wanshan's group was slowly getting into a mood of celebrating Zhuo Fan's death. Meanwhile, the one-armed fifth elder was shedding tears of vindication. However, this stopped when Leng Wucheng shot them a look. You all need to proceed to Wingay City. The smile froze on the 4 and Yu Wanshan turned his head mechanically, with a bright smile to offer the 2. Estate Lord Sir Leng, haven't we been keeping watch of Wingay City just so we could get rid of Zhuo Fan? Why do we need to attack that place now that Zhuo Fan is out of the picture? Fool, Huangpu Tianyuan barked, his eyes cold. That's the place that gave birth to Zhuo Fan, and there's a good chance for a second, a third, maybe even a 10th Zhuo Fan to rise. Rather than deal with that mess, we need to level that clan. Furthermore, Huangpu Tianyuan's tone shifted to a darker one. Have I ever gone back on my words? You did exactly that just now. Shivering, Yu Wanshan's group complained in their minds, but they were on their best behavior on the outside. Bowing to Huangpu Tianyuan again, they then left. Send them a message. It's time for them to begin. Huangpu Tianyuan nodded, pleased. Once the 4 were out of sight of the hall, Yu Wanshan stomped in rage. Who does Regent Estate think they are to use us as messengers? Yeah, the Emperor banned us from Wingay City 2 years ago. Regent Estate wants to test the imperial family's limits and doesn't dare go himself, so he is making us face the danger. What an abominable man, Yan Bogong gnashed his teeth. Lin Rufeng furrowed his brow in worry, but we will be offending Regent Estate if we don't go, and if we do, we will incur the imperial family's wrath. What is the better choice? They stared at each other for a long time but came out empty as they sighed. The imperial family may be a frail tiger now, but that didn't mean one should start groping its tail. If by some chance they touched a sore spot, the weak tiger would snap back at them. The 3 houses would feel the fangs and claws of the imperial family and would have no place to hide in the empire. Go to hell, Regent Estate. Each of them was thinking along the same lines, but none dared to turn Huangpu Tianyuan down. Elder continued, Valley Lord, we should choose the lesser of 2 evils. We don't know if the imperial family will act if we move in on Wingay City, but going against Regent Estate will have Huangpu Tianyuan on our backs. And you know his short temper. The 3 house lords shuddered and sighed. In this situation, our only option is to go on a limb. Yu Wanshan spat, that the imperial family is useless and won't act against us. Yu Wanshan picked a green jade slip and made a gesture. The jade slip turned into a light and shot in Wingay City's direction. The other 2 house lords followed his gestures. Leng Wucheng was outside the hall, smiling at the 3 lights tracing the sky above Caged Dragon City. The 3 realized my plan, but they chose to follow it anyway. Huangpu Tianyuan chuckled as he walked next to Leng Wucheng. Leng Wucheng nodded with a smile of his own. The 3 are house lords, after all, not mere idiots. How could they not see through estate lords' intentions? But even so, after balancing the gains and losses, they ultimately sided with estate lord. The 7 houses seemed to take the imperial family as just an empty shell, indeed. Over the last 1,000 years, the 7 houses thrived while the imperial clan declined. It reached a point where the current emperor is the weakest this empire has ever seen. A great opportunity presents itself to us. Huangpu Tianyuan grinned and showed his ambition. If the imperial family remains passive even after the Battle of Wingay City, then I can enact the demon purging decree and purge all outsiders while unifying the 7 houses. I will ultimately control the whole land. Ha ha ha, with the 7 houses under you, not even the 4 pillars can stand in your way. I would like to be the first to congratulate the estate lord for taking the throne. Leng Wucheng gave a deep bow. Huangpu Tianyuan laughed, having his ego stroked, then helped Leng Wucheng up. Leng Wucheng, you are the genius of this generation yet, chose to become my steward. helping regent estates rise to glory. I hereby vow that once I ascend the throne, I will make you the head of the 4 pillars. I am most grateful for estate lord's kindness. Lang Wucheng bowed again as hope flickered in his gaze. Once Elder Li kills Zhuo Fan and brings back the Bodhi root. I will assist estate lord in obtaining the 9 dragons' diamond body. Not even the imperial family's 5 divine dragons will be able to harm you then. You will truly wield ultimate power and rule above everyone. But won't that martial fanatic catch an interest into that worldly treasure? Or would he just throw it away? Ha ha ha, you must be jesting, estate lord. Elder Li is only a martial fanatic and not a complete idiot. How could he throw away such a treasure? Of course he'll return it to us. And with Elder Li's ability, Zhuo Fan will have no opportunity in damaging the treasure at all. Rest assured, estate lord. Lang Wucheng and Huangpu Tianyuan started laughing together, as if the world was their oyster. In a different part of the city, Long Yifi, Zai Xiaofeng, and Chu Bijun convened in a secluded place once they left the hall. Long Yifi showed Chu Bijun proper respect. Grandmother, what has gotten into Regent Estate? Could you please enlighten me? This also concerned Zai Xiaofeng deeply. They knew Regent Estate was up to something, and it was not good by the looks of it, but he couldn't make heads or tails of it. Grandmother sighed and shook her head. Pavilion Lord Long, abode Lord Zai, the 3 of us are in an alliance, so I'll be frank. You 2 are at the very top of Huangpu Tianyuan's blacklist. What? Startled, the 2 had guessed as much, but there was another thing to hear it from grandmother, a renowned figure among even the 7 houses. Chu Bijun took a deep breath and resumed, I have dealt with the houses for all my life and can attest that I know every house's style like the back of my hand. Let's turn back to when we just entered the hall. You believed, since Lang Wucheng spoke of the lords and subject, that he was looking for you to follow Regent Estate blindly, right? Isn't that the case? The 2 asked together. Shaking her head, Chu Bijun sighed, her eyes focused. That was a test of obedience. Obedience, precisely. The so-called lord and subject setup was in fact a way to lord over the masses, to sum it up, to judge obedience. The instant we entered the hall, it was made abundantly clear. Chu Bijun squinted, her tone cold. Huangpu Tianyuan is too proud and he only wants those who obey around him. So when you saw the seats he had laid out for you, he expected you to take them without making a peep. Pavilion Lord Long may have been clever, but to him, it was all the same as not obeying him and putting you first on the blacklist. Long Yifi never would have thought Regent Estate was so overbearing to impose his will even on the 7 houses. Zai Xiaofeng frowned as he nodded in agreement. I can see now why grandmother has been going along with his intentions. It was all to make Drifting Flowers' edifice among the last to get rid of. That should be the case, Chu Bijun nodded, now that he believes the Bodhi root is with Zhuo Fan and that I obey him throughout this whole farce. In his eyes, Drifting Flowers' edifice should be behind your houses on the blacklist. Brother Zai, we must stay vigilant. Long Yifi laughed dryly. Zai Xiaofeng nodded. What they thought would be a hidden alliance with Drifting Flowers' edifice to make a joint covert attack now became a full-blown and open assault. Suddenly, becoming the vanguard had placed a heavy weight on their shoulders. As if the vicious eyes of Regent Estate were fixed on them both. But they had to admire the Lady of Steel. Drifting Flowers' edifice had now revived to the one of old along with Lady of Steel's recovery. For her to shift Regent Estate's main priority from them was a difficult feat to pull. Putting these 2 in the first line of fire, Chu Bijun knew what they were thinking and tapped with her dragon head staff. House Lords, do not think for a second you are shouldering Drifting Flowers' edifice disaster alone. With you in front, Drifting Flowers' edifice is indeed safe for now. But we are all in the same boat. If one house falls, the ruin of the other 2 will only be a matter of time. The 2 bowed in profound respect. Grandmother has always had the greater picture in mind. We are ashamed, now that we are allies in the truest sense of the word, we must devise a plan to stop Regent Estate's campaign. Chu Bijun spoke in an imposing tone. His plan to use the demon purging decree was not to deal with demon Zhuo Fan, but take advantage of the chaos and swallow the 6 houses. But I knew his keen interest in Bodhi root and mentioned it, also he would give up on that notion. It won't last, however. Once he kills Zhuo Fan and obtains the Bodhi root, the demon purging decree will be issued all the same. But wouldn't the death of Zhuo Fan take away the sole reason behind the demon purging decree? Fool, grandmother tapped with her staff, her tone dropping lower. Demon purging decree never had anything to do with Zhuo Fan from the start. He is an excuse, and this excuse remains valid even if he kills Zhuo Fan while the facts are hidden. I am convinced that Regent Estate had long since sent a team to deal with the kid. And since unwanted contriver Lang Wucheng is also lending a hand, I can only assume the worst. Long Yifi and Zai Xiaofeng nodded, hearts overwhelmed with shame. This was the Lady of Steel, a woman worthy of her title. In times of great peril, she was not a bit inferior to a man. Before this senior, the two house lords were naught but mere children that listened to her orders. All that Regent Estate is missing is to determine the limit of the imperial family. Only then will they unleash the demon-purging decree without scruples, and this limit is none other than Wingay City. Chu Bijan's eyes focused and shouted, "We do not know the imperial family's stance on Wingay City, so we have to help them. We cannot let Luo clan fall. King or Peony, go and inform Huangpu Tianyuan that I, Pavilion Lord Long, and Abode Lord Zai have urgent matters to attend in our houses and have to leave." At once, the two overseers bowed. Chu Bijan turned to the house lords. "We must make haste and aid Wingay City. The enemy must have forces in place already. I can only hope we make it in time." Grandmother, won't the three houses be moving together? We can't afford any delays." Chu Bijan cut through their hesitation on the spot. "Ling Wucheng is a shrewd man, and we won't be able to hide our cooperation from him for long. It's best we make it public and face them head-on. This will also work to show that we are one and not to be pushed around." Saying her piece, Chu Bijan flew away. Long Yifei and Zai Xiaofeng looked at each other and laughed dryly. Lady of Steel is fierce indeed. The two house lords couldn't gain any word in at all. All they could do was follow her lead. She's a bit too fierce. And at this moment, three figures landed on a mountain outside Wingay City. "Guess who's back?" With a deep breath, Zhuo Fan overlooked Wingay City, especially Blackwind Mountain, with a sigh. For Luo clan's safety, its steward left on a 2-year journey. I wonder how they're doing. Old Pang's wraith art was a success or death. Zhuo Fan's mind was filled with thoughts the nearer he got. He didn't realize when the Luo clan got to be so important to him. "Elder Lei, you're not pulling my leg, are you?" Regent Estate truly cancelled the demon-purging decree. Vicious Pill King was on pins and needles all the way to Wingay City. Li Jingshan forced a smile. This guy had asked him 100 times already, but no matter how he explained it, he'd come back to ask again and again, getting on his nerves. His eyes snapped on Vicious Pill King and roared, "Kid, you're so old yet nagging me like a midwife. This will be the last time I'll tell you. I came voluntarily after you, not because Regent Estate issued the demon-purging decree. At least not before I left. If you ask me one more time, geezer, I'll tear your mouth off." Vicious Pill King jerked from fear. He remained quiet, but worry still plagued him. Zhuo Fan had also got to know what the demon-purging decree entailed this past 2 weeks and could feel Vicious Pill King's distress. Radiant stage experts were the ultimate power of any house, and the only way to use them was through a demon-purging decree. Zhuo Fan was certain Li Jingshan didn't come because of it, and lying to him was impossible. This martial fanatic really came just to steal cultivation methods, or the moment the old man saw them, Zhuo Fan fight instead of letting himself be captured. "Elder Yan, relax. Even if the demon-purging decree is released, it won't be anytime soon. We will still have time to prepare." Zhuo Fan smiled. A sudden ripple spread from Wingay City. Vicious Pill King was still out of it, but the other two felt it. Radiant stage. Their faces took a darker tone. Especially Zhuo Fan. Is demon-purging decree really in effect? It was all too sudden. He and the elders had ways to safeguard themselves, but the Luo clan was powerless. Zhuo Fan nodded at Li Jingshan, who searched with his soul. Under the cover of Li Jingshan's soul sense, Zhuo Fan released his own. This would make the other side only notice Long's discerning field, while Zhuo Fan's was still hidden. This would give him a good opportunity to lay some traps if the other was an enemy. At any given time and place, Zhuo Fan hid his cards to make a deadly strike on any who came after him. Li Jingshan had to admire Zhuo Fan for his behavior. It was the first time he saw the kid this vigilant. While Li Jingshan was a martial fanatic, Zhuo Fan would be a high-functioning sociopath, with killing always on his mind. But that stemmed from Zhuo Fan always meeting difficult opponents. At the end of it all, Zhuo Fan was still standing while all the others around him lay dead. And since the first thing that came to Zhuo Fan's mind was killing, those people had to exhibit just a brief lack in judgment, and their lives were forfeited. Li Jingshan secretly signed, holding Zhuo Fan in even higher regard. 3 radiant stage experts. Li Jingshan frowned. Zhuo Fan nodded, 2 in the 3rd layer and 1 in the 4th. Not to mention there are many profound heaven experts around as well. Wait, there's also those 2. Zhuo Fan snickered all of a sudden. I knew they were garbage, but had no good excuse so far. But this time, Zhuo Fan observed Blackwind Mountain in the distance. A glance was enough to reveal that the arrays he set up were activated, easing his worries. Blackwind Mountain still holds. Well, I'll be, Luo clan is no pushover. Just from not being able to see through the arrays, I can tell it's no less than at a Regent Estates level. Even a Radiant stage will have his work cut out for him. Li Jingshan scanned the Blackwind Mountain as well. The minute Vicious Pill King heard something about Radiant Stage experts being involved, he jumped the gun, 3 Radiant Stage experts in one go. This must be the Demon Purging Decree. Elder Yan, stop whining. Demon Purging Decree has nothing to do with this. Zhuo Fan saw Vicious Pill King hysterical and shook his head. They would have attacked before the arrays were activated if the Demon Purging Decree was declared. But look at them, they're still waiting for orders. But why else are Radiant Stage experts included if not because of Demon Purging Decree? Because of me, Zhuo Fan shot him a look. To make sure I stay dead, they laid a trap. Everything is taken into account, including the intervention of Veiled Dragon Pavilion. I can say for sure that once I set foot in Wingay City, those 3 Radiant Stage experts will take my life. However, a creepy grin found itself on his lips as Zhuo Fan turned to Li Jingshan. They'll never guess I still have a Radiant Stage expert on my side and a 6th-layer body cultivator to boot. Ha ha ha, with me here, these pups won't take one hair from you. Li Jingshan laughed and jutted his chin. With a raised eyebrow, Zhuo Fan said evilly, "Why stop there? Elder Li, that would be a walk in the park for you." Li Jingshan pondered carefully and his eyes took a savage tone. "Then I'll just kill my way in and put them in their place." "No," Zhuo Fan smiled. Li Jingshan was confused. "Steward Zhuo doesn't trust my strength? Humph, forget about these weak bastards. When not even a Radiant Stage expert at my lair can take 3 hits from me." Li Jingshan's tone was mighty enough, but unclear if from confidence or overconfidence. Zhuo Fan, however, still had the same smile. "And what if I want Elder Li to kill them as well?" "That," Li Jingshan frowned as he smoothed his beard in predicament. Killing those weaker than him was easy, but doing the same for those in the same stage was a whole nother matter. Taking Wingay City's battle as an example, Veiled Dragon Pavilion's 3rd and 5th elders were far stronger than Hell Valley's elders. But unable to kill him no matter how they tried. It was all thanks to Zhuo Fan's schemes, taking advantage of the enemy's carelessness, that he killed 2 elders. This was also why Veiled Dragon Pavilion was in so much uproar then. When someone stronger couldn't kill them, Zhuo Fan up and pulled off such an impossible feat while 2 stages below, not once but twice. And now Li Jingshan was finding it hard to answer Zhuo Fan's request. Grinning diabolically, Zhuo Fan's eyes were on him. "Elder Li, I seem to recall you are still Regent Estate's guest venerable." Steward Zhuo, my intentions are real." Li Jingshan was just about to explain his loyalty when he caught on to Zhuo Fan's sneaky meaning. "Precisely, no one yet knows of you standing with the Luo clan, so..." Zhuo Fan got closer to Li Jingshan's ear, who nodded now and then. Once done explaining, Zhuo Fan stressed, "Remember, don't go rambling about once inside. Slap them a couple of times and tell them to lay siege on the mountain." "Got it, it's been so long since I played this role, ha ha ha." Li Jingshan flew straight for Wingay City. Zhuo Fan grinned, disregarding Vicious Pill King's facial expression. "Hee. When one looks for a fink, quality is always preferred, and the ones you have found are some I can't wait to get rid of." Vicious Pill King had no clue what he was raving about as Zhuo Fan pulled him towards Blackwind Mountain. "Elder Yan, I'll take you to see the clan." Vicious Pill King's eyes sparkled and nodded. It is finally time to see the legendary clan. Meanwhile, in Wingay City's Sun Clan's manor. Those poor quality finks Zhuo Fan mentioned, Kai Rong and Kai Xiaoding, were sitting in a small room with evil looks. "Humph, to hell with the Sun Clan and to hell with Hell Valley. We've been running around Blackwind Mountain for so long and even drew them a map. It's not our fault they couldn't see the guarding arrays, yet now they give us the silent treatment," Kai Xiaoding nagged. Kai Rong sighed. "Zhuo Fan is incredible to set guarding arrays before leaving, but that damn Luo Yuncheng is too paranoid, not having extended contact with outsiders. We had to turn traitors if we wanted to attack it. Haha, our map is useless now that the guarding arrays are up. No wonder everyone gives us the cold shoulder. Humph, Zhuo Fan must have taught her before leaving. That bitch gobbles up everything Zhuo Fan says. She's so loyal that she almost pushed the Luo clan head position on him." Kai Xiaoding raged, his eyes clouded in jealousy. "Tell me, father, am I not, Kai Xiaoding, the grand young master of Kai Manor, better than that nobody? Why is it that Luo Yuncheng never looked at me ever since Zhuo Fan showed up? He's been gone for 2 years now, yet she pins for him every day by looking in the direction he left. There was not even a word of mention to me regarding the guarding arrays." Kai Rong regretted the more he saw his son complaining. Zhuo Fan was a true genius, admired even by the 7 houses. He would have long given his daughter to Zhuo Fan if he had one instead. "My son is in the 9th layer of qi condensation yet, has not a bit of wisdom on him." Kai Rong shook his head when Sun Yufei burst in. "The elders want to see you." "Come with me." Startled, the Kai father and son turned happy, thinking they would meet Hell Valley's higher-ups. Their rise was just around the corner. Translator, star reader, editor. Sylvan Kai clan's father and son followed Sun Yufei into the Sun Manor's parlor. Sun Yufei motioned for them to stop as she made a respectful bow. Elder, the Kai clan father and son are here. Let them in. The cold voice sent shivers down the father and son's spines, shuffling behind Sun Yufei with the courage of a mouse. They were about to meet a man of great power in the seven houses, a grand, profound heaven expert. One word from him would send their heads tumbling. They only just stepped through the door and their knees hit the floor, soon followed by their heads. Salutations, elder. I am Kai Rong, head of the Kai clan, and he is my son. Sun Yufei couldn't help but frown. She used to think Kai Xiaoding was a distinguished man of valor and pride, only to find he had not one single bone in his back. She was the one leading them, yet instead of letting her make her own gesture of respect first, they cut in front of her. Then again, hardly anyone in Tianyu didn't go on his knees when meeting an elder from the seven houses. But this cowardice brought them to a whole new level of shameless she never saw before, earning her contempt. I must have been blind to have fancied you. The feelings were mutual for the middle-aged men sitting in the chairs across, holding them in even worse regard. Ha ha ha, this pair knows how to choose sides. The voice on their left made the Kai clan father and son look. It isn't just one Hell Valley elder that came this time. What they saw was an old man with blue hair nodding at them. He was mocking, being satisfied, and flashing in his eyes gave the father-son duo a weird feeling. Yan Jinglin, if you find them so capable, why not take them under Pill King Hall's wing? The man in the center teased. Yan Jinglin shook his hand and laughed. You Liu, isn't it a bit rude to push these men who came to Hell Valley? Even to an inferior clan such as theirs, credit must be given where it's due and take them in your care. When a dog wags its tail, a master ought to throw it a pound of flesh, no? What are you guys doing wasting time on these fools? Ask what we came here for and let's get on with it. House Lord's messages could arrive any day now. The rude voice came from the two's right this time. They turned cautiously and saw a stout man with a beard in a blue robe and of imposing presence. Another profound heaven expert. Ha ha ha, what crawled up your ass and died? Eulailiu dismissed him with a smile. Lin Yulan, among us three houses, Mary Wood's grudge with Zhuo Fan is the smallest, so just sit tight. Maybe Zhuo Fan has already been dealt with and we won't be doing any attacking. We're not allowed to be here anyway. The other two caught his meaning and shivered a nod. The two from the Kai clan had long been sweating buckets. What the hell is wrong with this world? Why are three of the seven noble houses here? I only recall swearing fealty to Hell Valley, not to three of them. Are we such a hot commodity that they're fighting over us? Ha ha ha, as if. Zhuo Fan, they must have come here for revenge. Kai Rong gnashed his teeth, the hatred for Zhuo Fan burning even hotter. In this backwater place, Lei Yuding handled the intelligence of the Luo clan, while the father and son remained in the dark regarding Zhuo Fan's exploits in the outside world. He was smart enough to guess Zhuo Fan poked his nose where he shouldn't end up with two more houses on his tail. Wasn't that clear enough? He wanted to make it hard for these two. Couldn't you have offended anyone else instead of the seven houses? The original plan was to work from the darkness with the Sun clan for the Hell Valley and wipe out the Luo clan, presenting Wingay's city as a welcome gift. But the plan went up in smoke as Hell Valley suffered a crushing defeat instead. The imperial family's secret pearl order can go to hell for all I care. The 8th house is going to be the Luo clan, not my Kai clan. Why the hell should I give my life for them? But the arrival of Pill King Hall and Mary Woods told him their hatred for the Luo clan was no less than Hell Valley's. Why else would two great houses travel thousands of miles to Wingay's city, even when the imperial family had put a ban on this area? In short, one house's ire became three houses' wrath. Selling the Luo clan out might have been able to appease one house's anger, but when there were three, even if the Luo clan was burned to the ground, the remaining rage of the other two houses would be shifted onto the father and son. After all, they were once part of the Luo clan, no? Kai Rong was on the verge of crying. Zhuo Fan is a genius to stir three hornet nests. What the hell did you do to offend three houses in just 2 years? The three elders didn't know the anguish and sorrow plaguing the poor father and son, not that they cared. Yan Leiliu sipped his tea and shouted, Kai Rong, begin by telling me of the experts hiding in the Luo clan. Kai Rong was out of it for a second, then bobbed his head, on the verge of hugging their legs and begging for mercy. As for getting rewarded for his merit, that was long forgotten. Elders, the Luo clan is a second-rate clan at best. Only Grand Elder Lei Yunshin is a profound heaven expert, one that advanced 2 years ago. As for his goddaughter, Lei Yuding and Captain Peng, they are all in the bone-tempering stage, while the Luo clan orphans, Luo Yunhai and Luo Yuncheng, are even weaker. The rest are inconsequential beneath elders' attention. Kai Rong blurted out as fast as he could, sometimes pausing, letting Kai Xiaoding join the explanation. They spilled the beans on anything and everything that happened in the Luo clan over the past 2 years. The three elders looked at the two somewhat awkwardly. They all have seen their fair share of snitches, but never ever someone as useless as these two. How did they even keep their vassal clan status? That's all. We have no need to know what flowers you planted on the mountain. Scratching his nose, Eulaliu said, what of the four arrays? Do you know how to shut them down or how to avoid them? Zhuo Fan has set them up before his departure. We know nothing about them. Only after betraying the Luo clan did we find out of the array's existence. You have to believe me, elders. Fine, we believe you. To Kai Rong's panic, Eulaliu gestured for him to stop. How could the three elders not believe such dedicated traitors? The elders nodded. They had a rudimentary knowledge of the Luo clan, so there was no point in asking further. Knowing how the two planted flowers behind the mountain, or staking out the latrines for days on end, would probably, most definitely, not reveal some groundbreaking secret, they thought. Just as they were about to ask the two to leave, three men suddenly broke in and the elders got shocked and rushed to bow. Greetings to the three venerables. What, venerables? Isn't that a radiant stage expert? Gasping, Kai Rong brought his head even lower. He was so shocked he almost had a heart attack. Never had he entertained the notion there would be one here, much less see one in person. The only one they ever saw was the jade flute divine sword, Fang Qiubai. That man was following the third prince, and it was clear that he had no ill intentions towards them. While these three venerables wouldn't be as tolerant, killing them at a whim if they wanted to. The two didn't shiver in fear before the elders, but were now rooted on the spot. The venerables couldn't care less about ants, fixing their eyes on the elders. We detected three men outside Wingay's city, a bone-tempering stage, a profound heaven stage, and a sixth layer of radiant stage experts, one venerable spoke. The elders were shocked. Why would such an expert come here for? Was he a friend or foe? Damn, the radiant stage expert is heading for us, a venerable shouted. Everyone was on edge right now, as even the elders broke out in sweat. A profound heaven expert was no different than an ant before a sixth-layer radiant stage. The three venerables fixed their gazes outside this courtyard. The atmosphere was so heavy, no breath was heard, and the air grew thick. Kai Rong and his son were crawling on the ground, shaking like a leaf. If all the experts here fought with the newcomer, they would have no chance of survival. Boom! Shockingly, Mad Dipper Li Jingshan slammed into the Sun Clan's yard, kicking up dust. Once it settled, his raging face was terrifying. Aren't you? A venerable recognized him and pointed a trembling finger. He didn't get the chance to continue as Li Jingshan slapped him silly. The venerable was bent over as Li Jingshan shouted, "Fools, why haven't you attacked yet?" The others were dumbstruck, not caused by Li Jingshan's booming voice but the suddenness of his slap. Who was this man to slap a high and mighty radiant stage expert, a venerable? Kai Rong and his son were paralyzed. Today had been an eventful day for them, to say the least. In the span of only 15 minutes, one stronger than the next kept popping up. It all culminated with the arrival of a radiant stage expert slapping a seven houses venerable silly. All stood still as statues, not breathing and mouth agape. The slapped venerable wobbled, then held his swelling face. Despite the rage coursing in his veins, he chose only to give a hateful stare. Why you're that guest venerable from Regent Estate, Mad Dipper Li Jingshan? Why are you here? Didn't Regent Estate choose to stay out of this? More importantly, what's the meaning of this? The others gasped, with Kai Rong and his son appalled. No wonder he dared throw his weight around. He's from Regent Estate, the head of the seven houses. But why would the Regent Estate take an interest in this backwater city? Don't tell me. That blasted Zhuo Fan went and stepped on Regent Estate's toes. Kai Rong felt woozy. That filthy mongrel is nothing but trouble. This goes beyond only me dying. My entire clan will be uprooted. It suddenly hit him that even if he hadn't sold out the Luo clan, Zhuo Fan would sooner or later have them disposed of. 2 years of hard work and schemes had just gone down the drain. Of course, Li Jingshan snapped back in a higher tone. You have the gall to question me. If you weren't standing around with your hands down your pants, Zhuo Fan wouldn't have sneaked through that array that even my soul sense can't penetrate. What? Zhuo Fan escaped from 6 profound heaven experts and yourself. You're saying he's back? Why haven't we noticed then? Another venerable cried out. Li Jingshan stared him down before giving him a resounding slap as well. Be quiet, or people might think you're an idiot. They were all too shocked to even speak. Elder Li was just as the rumor painted him to be, a mad dipper, and had an even worse temper. Especially now that a bone-tempering cultivator like Zhuo Fan actually slipped through his fingers. Opening one's mouth now would only make one a target, and you went ahead and pointed out his failure. No wonder you got slapped. What they didn't stop to think about, however, was that all of this was part of Zhuo Fan's cunning plan. Looking at it from a different angle, Li Jingshan's sudden arrival in Wingay's city was full of warning signs. putting aside the fact that Zhuo Fan slipped past a sixth-layer Radiant Stage expert like Li Jingxin and returned to Blackwind Mountain, and not even the 3 Radiant Stage experts felt him. There was clearly something off about this. In spite of all the glaring faults, Li Jingxin's venting scared all these suspicions away from their minds. It devolved into taking Li Jingxin's words as solid gold. This way, Zhuo Fan had them all follow Li Jingxin into his trap. Every abled body is to follow my lead and attack that mountain, Li Jingxin barked as his cold eyes swept them. The 3 venerables hesitated with a frown. Elder Lei, we have yet to get word from the House Lords. We can't. Cut the crap. Why have the 3 of them sent you here if not to get that damn Luo clan? And Li Jingxin emphasized with another resounding slap. I am here, so why are you still frickin' hesitating? I told you to attack that mountain. Do it and you'll gain merit for it. Don't. Li Jingxin snorted twice for good measure and flew at Blackwind Mountain. The 3 slapped venerables looked at each other in consternation. They finally gnashed their teeth and followed. Their reticence was about Regent Estate using the 3 houses to test the imperial family's limit. So the Regent Estate had sent 2 of their elders to kill Zhuo Fan and not a single one of their men to win Gay's city. It was the same as saying they had no hand in this if it went belly up. So the 3 venerables were awaiting their House Lord's orders. But now Li Jingxin came, who represented Regent Estate. Since he dared to attack, they had to follow. At worst, the Regent Estate would be leading the charge. This sounded like a solid plan to the 3. As they only had their house's benefits in mind, they chose to put all the discrepancies aside. For example, they clearly sensed 2 more people with Li Jingxin before. They had questions like, who were they? And if he chased Zhuo Fan all the way here, why was one of them in the bone-tempering stage? However, they chose to ignore all these important and obvious issues. Or more aptly put, they'd never speak up even if they did come to mind. After all, were Li Jingxin's slaps so refreshing that they wanted more? This way, the 3 cowardly venerable came aboard Li Jingxin's rocky ship. On the 3 elders' side, they could only laugh bitterly and follow as well. Now that their venerables joined the front, they had no excuse not to. The only ones left were 3 people, Kai Clan's father and son, as well as son Yufei. Kai Rong sighed as he followed the experts fly away. Today opened my eyes. I've never seen so many Radiant Stage experts in one place before, and even a venerable from the great Regent Estate is here. One stronger than the last. Even those 3 profound heaven elders were not but ants before the 4 experts. Humph, look who's talking. Who was it that was shaking in fear earlier? Son Yufei made her contempt known. Kai Zioting was annoyed. Sister Yufei, Kai clan has always been on friendly terms with the Sun clan. Why are you suddenly so antagonistic towards my father? Humph, you're no different either, a deadbeat. You. Kai Zioting's face was aflame from rage, his knuckles white. It was obvious he couldn't put a lid on his anger and wanted to take this former goddess of his down a peg, but a sudden sound made Sun Clan head's arrival known. He turned his attention from the big hole made from Li Jingxin's landing to the empty yard. What happened? Where are the elders? Sun Yufei chose to ignore Kai Zioting and explain to Sun Clan head what happened. Sun Clan head grabbed Sun Yufei and livened his step. Yufei, we're going to Blackwind Mountain. Whatever for? Sun Yufei was stunned. Foolish girl, it's to cheer on the elders and venerables, of course. Sun Clan head laughed. Remember, if you want any of them to notice you, you have to put on a decent show. Kai Rong raised an eyebrow and dragged his son along as well. Dad, are we? As if. The Sun Clan lorded over us all because they had a relative in Hell Valley. With 3 elders and 4 houses venerables here fighting, it is our best chance at making ties with one of them. The Sun Clan had Hell Valley's backing, and who knows, we might get Regent Estate as a sponsor. We'll see then how tough they'll act around us. Kai Zioting nodded fiercely. Dad, you're right. Will that son bitch dare look down on me then? Kai Zioting felt himself filled with the desire to fight, putting more power in his legs and going faster than even his dad. Kai Rong relaxed seeing him. My child is all grown up. This way the 2 clans outdid themselves in kissing the asses of the 4 houses. They were afraid these backers of theirs might get snatched by someone else. Inside Blackwind Mountain's hall, a pale Luo Yuncheng sat cross-legged. She had worked hard in her cultivation these last 2 years, but she was still only a peak qi condensation cultivator. For one person to sustain 4 large arrays day in day out was a heavy burden. Next to her was Lei Yunxin, as well as Captain Pang and some others. Seeing their usually healthy and energetic young miss now looking haggard, pain laced their hearts. Young miss, please take a rest. They arrived in Wingay's city for a month now and still have not attacked. There shouldn't be a problem if you take a breather. Captain Pang's face was filled with black energy as his aura leaked without realizing it. Yet even so, tears welled in his fierce eyes. Smiling slightly, Luo Yuncheng's lips seemed pale, yet her smile ever bright. Sister Lei is still hard at work with scouting right. The enemy has at least 3 profound heaven experts, along with even stronger people among them. All our attempts to find out more about their side have proved fruitless. I'm afraid if they chose to attack, we might not even have the time to activate the array. Girl, you can't keep this up for much longer, Lei Yunshin sighed. It's all my fault for being powerless and letting you suffer like this. For a girl to shoulder the defense of a clan when disaster strikes makes me realize how useless this Grand Elder is. Uncle Lei, don't beat yourself up. You and Captain Peng, along with Sister Lei, have worked tirelessly for the Luo clan to thrive. I couldn't do anything to help you up till now, so allow me to at least do this for our clan. Luo clan is my home and you are part of it. I saw it laid to ruin once and I'm not going to stand by and see it happen again. Luo Yuncheng's sad tone had them all sighing. Luo Yunhai looked at his sister. If only Bro Zhu was here, it would have all been fine. He always had a way out of any crisis. The eyes of the others trembled and softened. Lei Yuding bit her lip in. This damn brat kicked up a storm for us and still hasn't come back. He must be living it up out there. Sister Lei, don't say that. Zhuo Fan must be rushing over as we speak. Luo Yuncheng frowned slightly. We must defend our clan and await his return. Yuncheng, he is actually. Captain Peng's scowl and the shaking of the head had Lei Yuding swallow her words. She had been in charge of intelligence for the Luo clan and knew fully well of Zhuo Fan's love life, but refrained from sharing it with Luo Yuncheng. Luo Yuncheng looked puzzled. Ah, she cried out. What's wrong? The others were frantic. Luo Yuncheng's brows quivered as her eyes revealed shock. I lost control over the poisoned dragon array in the east. What? Everyone's hearts were in their throats. Venerables, they watched 4 pillars of different light shoot into the sky. The 4 mists wrapped the mountains so closely the 4 could only sigh when their attempt at scanning it was futile. I am amazed to see such intricate arrays in such a place. It may very well be better than the guarding arrays of our houses. It's hard to imagine how a third-rate clan would know such skill, one venerable sighed. The others did the same, including Li Jingshan, but he did it out of excitement. Why wouldn't he when this was his new patron? With another sound, Yan Leiliu, Yan Jinglan, and Lin Rufeng arrived as well. Seeing as all joined the war effort, Li Jingshan pointed at the poisoned dragon array. You 3 elders, go deal with that array. The venerables are with me. Li Jingshan flew into the black flame array in the south. The venerables only shrugged before going after him. As for the elders, they had even less right to complain, especially when the venerables complied, and since he was a Regent Estate's venerable, the aftermath would fall on him anyway. They entered the array but had complete disregard for safety. Humph, a 5th-grade array can't stop a profound heaven expert, least of all 4 venerables. Euleiliu mocked as they entered the poisoned dragon array. Damn, on Blackwind Mountain's hall, Luo Yuncheng jumped to her feet and made the others grow nervous. What happened? Luo Yuncheng took a deep breath to calm down. 4 experts entered the black flame array in the south. They only just entered it and the array is on the verge of collapse. What? The others gnashed their teeth with sinking hearts, and before Luo Yuncheng even realized, the poisoned dragon array got out of her control as well. It was most likely broken through, and now that there were 4 even stronger enemies going into Black Flame Array, Blackwind Mountain would soon be flattened. Let me go meet them. Lei Yunshin couldn't just sit around doing nothing and rushed outside. Luo Yuncheng cried behind him, Uncle Lei, I can't see how strong the 4 are even as they are in the array. They may be beyond the profound heaven stage. You are not their match. Lei Yunshin faltered for a second, then he stepped firmly. He vanished soon after, but not before saying, Luo clan almost perished because of me. Now it is time I pay that debt with my life. Run, I will hold them off. The others looked down, their hearts forlorn. They knew of the guilt plaguing Lei Yunshin. He gave his all these past 2 years and was now going to his doom, just so he could protect the Luo siblings. Ha ha ha, Elder Lei, since when can one man hold back so many? Allow me to join you, Captain Peng laughed, following after him. Captain Peng, tears welled in Luo Yuncheng's eyes. Grinning, Captain Peng laughed emboldened. Elder Lei can sacrifice himself for the Luo clan after being here for only 2 years. But I, who had been living in the Luo clan's grace for my entire life, can't. If only I could see my brother one last time. Lei Yuding patted Luo Yuncheng's shoulder. The latter looked at her with a grim look and a bad feeling. Sister Lei, you don't mean. Nodding, Lei Yuding smiled faintly. I am immensely grateful for Godfather's kindness. I can't let him die alone, just. Ha ha ha, Yuncheng, do me a favor and give that brat 2 slaps for me. That's what he deserves for not returning to send me off to my death. And Lei Yuding left for Black Flame Array. Despite how desolate she looked and unreconciled, perhaps not seeing that man one last time weighed heavier than she realized. Seeing everyone vanish into the mist, Luo Yuncheng's eyes grew hazy from tears. Her brother spoke, Sister, are they giving their lives for us? Nodding, 2 trails of tears slowly formed down her cheeks. Luo Yuncheng hugged Luo Yunhai as she whispered, Yunhai, we may not have a dad, but we still have a home. They are our family. Look for Brother Zhuo when you're out. He will definitely protect you. Sister, what about you? Luo Yunhai blinked, puzzled. With a poignant smile, Luo Yuncheng added, Yunhai, do you remember the teachings of our ancestors? Of course, steadfast and righteous. We cannot let their sacrifice be in vain. But I will have to stay and control the arrays to help them. With unyielding resolve, Luo Yuncheng pushed Luo Yunhai away as she rushed to her duty. Sister, Luo Yunhai wailed. Luo Yuncheng didn't look back, only spoke, go find Zhuo Fan. Inside the black flame array, Li Jingshan's group saw the infernal black flames capable of gnawing bones sped towards them. Since they were radiant stage experts, a flick of the wrist repelled such a meager attack. Flooded by endless flames, they could only sigh. Such a rare 5th-grade array with incredible power as well. A pity the user's control is weak, unable to bring out even 1% of its potential. Or even the 4 might have had a hard time getting through. A venerable sighed a node. He was glad the enemy lacked a true expert. If these 4 5th-grade arrays each had a radiant stage expert controlling them, Blackwind Mountain would have been a steel fortress. Not even Regent Estates experts could push through that. A sudden ripple passed and they looked at the source to see Lei Yunchen coming closer. Who's there? A venerable shouted. Snorting, Lei Yunchen barked. Luo clan's Grand Elder Lei Yunchen. He's a Grand Elder. Raising an eyebrow, they looked at each other and burst out laughing. A Grand Elder was usually the clan's strongest elder, but it was obvious from a mile away that Lei Yunchen just entered Profound Heaven stage. What Grand Elder? Luo clan is nothing but a 3rd-rate clan or a 2nd-rate at best. There's no one strong in it at all. It was so weak that it wasn't worthy of the 4 venerables' intervention. They were only sent here because of the 4 arrays. Li Jingshan blinked. To him, the Luo clan ought to be an obscure clan that was stronger than even the 7 houses. Why does the clan have a freak like Zhuo Fan, but its elder is so? Then it hit him and secretly laughed. A 5th layer of bone-tempering cultivator like Zhuo Fan managed to kill 6 Profound Heaven experts and escape unscathed. This elder is only in the 1st layer of Profound Heaven stage, but he can kill a Radiant stage expert. No. With the Steward a monster, the elder has to be at least a freak. Snickering, he patted a venerable's shoulder and pointed at Lei Yunchen. Go and shut this geezer's trap. He, Elder Lei, it will be my pleasure, bowed and swung a fist straight for Lei Yunchen. Li Jingshan snorted, you moron, don't let Luo clan's cultivation fool you, or you won't even know what killed you. Since Zhuo Fan was a freak, then the entire Luo clan had to be a den of freaks. And yet reality was such a letdown. Boom. Lei Yunchen raised his hand in defense, but the light blow had him sprawled on the ground and coughing blood. Wide-eyed, Li Jingshan's smile froze on his face. What kind of Grand Elder are you if you're not a freak level at the minimum? Zhuo Fan had stressed time and time again to look after the Luo clan's members. But this martial fanatic heard this old guy was a Grand Elder and it got to his head, thinking the old guy's power was through the roof. When in fact, the old man was just as his cultivation stated, a common Profound Heaven expert, unlike the excessive Zhuo Fan. Li Jingshan's face darkened. How was he going to explain this to Zhuo Fan? Was his promise worth nothing? I didn't even warm up yet and you're already dying? So weak. If not for this array limiting my senses, I wouldn't have wasted time with you and dirty my hand. The venerable wiped his hand. He had the power to kill Lei Yunchen in one hit, but it was obvious he liked to play with his prey. Such humiliation had Lei Yunchen spit more blood. Whoosh! A sudden black figure flashed before Lei Yunchen. Lei Yunchen cried, Captain Pang. Grinning, Captain Pang shouted, when enemies storm the gates, when home is in peril, it is the captain of the guard's duty to defend it. How can I let Elder Lei do it alone? Me as well, Lei Yuding flitted next to him. Lei Yunchen was moved, while the venerable snickered, you're not even in the Profound Heaven stage. You just came here to die. We'll make sure you taste hell before we do. The sudden shout had the Blackfire form 8 dragons and charge at the venerable. He had no time to react as he was engulfed in flames. It was also then that Luo Yuncheng appeared. Young miss, what are you doing here? They looked shocked as she appeared and started going through gestures. Luo Yuncheng smiled. We are a family. We live together. We die together. They all trembled and felt immense gratitude. It was worth dying for a clan that valued them so. But what of Yunhai? Lei Yunchen staggered to his feet with a pale face. Bitterness flooded Luo Yuncheng's face, but soon replaced it with a smile. It's fine. He's grown up now, almost entering the qi condensation stage. I had him go look for Zhuo Fan. He will be safe with him. Luo Yuncheng may have said so, but anyone could see it worried her still. Sighing, the others began worrying as well. Luo Yunhai was but a child. Searching the empire for Zhuo Fan was fine as long as he did find him. But in this world, danger lurked at every turn. Ha, are you guys talking about that brat? A cackling came from the Blackfire pyre. With a boom, the flames were repelled and the Venerable walked forward. Humph, your steward dared to kill seventh elder and has been sentenced to death. No matter where he runs, we'll be close behind him. As for you, Luo clan, you have committed a heinous crime for bringing such evil into this world. Not one shall be spared. I will find even that kid of yours and grind his bones to dust. You won't even spare a child? Luo Yuncheng gnashed her teeth. The Venerable snickered, not even if he is a baby. I will kill him where he stands without the slightest hesitation. Luo Yuncheng was enraged as she clenched her hands. Then a sudden childish voice came, you don't need to look. I'm right here. The others looked in shock at the speaker. Yunhai, what are you doing here? Beaming a wide smile, Luo Yunhai spoke with unbending courage. Sister, our Luo clan's ancestors taught us to be steadfast and righteous. I cannot let you throw your lives away just so that I alone may live. Heart stirring, his clansmen looked at Luo Yunhai with an indescribable look. Even Li Jingshan had to sigh in the end. Luo clan was admirable, maybe not the strongest by far, but they had loyalty first and foremost. I was wrong. Was this what Steward Zhu meant when he said this clan was the best in the world? Li Jingshan sighed. But even now, he misunderstood what Zhuo Fan meant. There was no way a demonic emperor like Zhuo Fan would value affection. The meaning of his words were, wherever I am, that place is the strongest, but that was all unimportant. Here and now, Li Jingshan didn't join Zhuo Fan's gang because he was forced, but from seeing the Luo clan's spirit. He felt that the Luo clan of now was far better than the 7 houses. Ha ha ha, since all of Luo clan is here, then allow me to send you off permanently. With a mad cackle, the Venerable's eyes flashed with bloodthirst, while the other 2 behind snickered. Luo Yuncheng's heart was ready for battle. If you want my brother, you'll have to go through me. Luo Yuncheng's hands moved. The Blackfire started swirling like a tornado, with that Venerable at its center. She clearly wanted to swallow him in a sea of flames. Blackfire storm. And yet the Venerable was standing there with an unfazed look as he waited for the Blackfire to storm him from all directions. Then a soul ripple echoed out, extinguishing the Blackfire into nothing. Luo Yuncheng was forced to spit blood under the anxiousness of her clansmen. Snorting, the Venerable mocked, this 5th grade array of yours is pretty good. Too bad your cultivation is too low. You're not even a bone-tempering cultivator and your control is sorely lacking. But now you no longer have time for regrets, for I am here to send you on your last journey. The Venerable stretched his hand, making Captain Pang and the rest tense to take the brunt of the attack. He knew very well how fruitless it all was, yet he still wanted to uphold his duty until the very last moment. Suddenly there were 2 groans and the Venerable's movement slacked. He turned his head in inconceivable shock. Luo Yuncheng was also wide-eyed. Their eyes reflected 2 blood-red fists coming out of 2 people's chests. The 2 Venerables in the back were still laid back and enjoying the drama. They were just about to witness the end of the Luo clan when they suddenly felt their life ebbing from their chests. Jerkingly turning their heads back, their eyes reflected the cold and unfeeling face of Li Jingshan. Elder Li WH, the dead don't need to know. Snorting, Li Jingshan flicked his hands and the 2 Venerable fell in pieces. The Blackfire soon engulfed them and ground them to ashes. Gasping from shock, the last Venerable was filled with suspicion. Why is this Regent Estate's Venerable killing us? I don't remember any of our houses having offended Regent Estate, but the truth was laid out right in front of him. Not only did Li Jingshan murder them, he had planned to do so for the very beginning. After all, no matter how strong he was, it was impossible for him to kill 2 masters of that cultivation level in an instant. Such a task can only be accomplished by a sneak attack. Elder Li, what is the meaning of this? The last Venerable ignored the Luo clan and cautiously sizing up Li Jingshan. The cold and meticulousness of his sudden strike had him filled with dread. It came without warning. Snapping his eyes on the Venerable, Li Jingshan snorted, Fool, are you that thick in the head? You've been had, duped, strung along. Need I say more? What? The Venerable was overwhelmed but had no time to make sense of anything. Li Jingshan was out to get him, and if he didn't run now, his end was certain. He, a 3rd layer of Radiant Stage cultivator, could flaunt his strength before the Luo clan, but that fell through the instant he faced Li Jingshan, a 6th layer of Radiant Stage body cultivator. It wouldn't take even 5 exchanges before he'd splatter the ground with his blood. Thankfully, their cultivations weren't that far apart and Li Jingshan could do nothing to stop him from running. No sooner thought than done, he bolted to escape the array while Li Jingshan was calmly making hand signs. Suddenly, Luo Yuncheng cried as she felt her control over the Black Flame array wrested from her grip. The Black Flame array roared to life like an erupting volcano, forming firewalls to box everyone in. The Venerable didn't fly far as the firewalls forced him to retreat. When he looked intently, he was scared out of his mind. The Black Flame array was suddenly used to its full power. If before there were only some tongues of black fire around, now there was a sea of lava in every direction. Not even a radiant stage expert had hope of getting out now. If just a spark touched him, he'd be soon nothing more than a charred corpse. Shivering from fear, he turned his head to see Li Jingxin making signs. The venerable stammered, Elder Lei, why do you know how to use the array? The same question was on Luo Yuncheng's mind as well. Snickering, Li Jingxin's eyes flashed with bloodthirst. Moron, I told you already, you've been had. I thought of drawing you into the array, then trap you here. Didn't you find it odd how the array was so weak? But with me in control, don't you find it strong? Let me clue you in, I'm with the Luo clan. Steward Zhuo Fan himself invited me into the Luo clan as its elder. What? This was shocking news to any who heard it, but the venerable went pale from fright. Luo Yuncheng's group was floored, finding it impossible to believe such a miracle had graced them. Zhuo Fan went to recruit experts. He said so just before leaving 2 years ago. But who'd ever expect it would be one of such caliber? Heavens, this radiant stage expert shot the Luo clan from a mere clan, all the way into the rank of a house. Their shock was completely and utterly understandable. In another location, the 3 elders entered the poison dragon array and already felt the miasma growing thick. Yan Jinglin pulled out some pills. This is a poison-repelling pill for each of you. They all took one and kept an ever-watchful eye on the surroundings. Then 2 figures entered their sights. One was around 40, with black hair and a black beard. None of the 3 recognized him. Only Yan Jinglin had a nagging feeling of déjà vu. The other person was but a bone-tempering stage youth. They were startled instantly as they took out the Hell Kill order. It's him, Demon Archon Zhuo Fan. Zhuo Fan seemed as if only now discovered the trio and clapped in laughter. Ha ha ha, everyone's finally here. I've been waiting, faces dark, the elders felt bitter. They knew of the havoc he stirred in Drifting Flowers City, killing 3 experts and ruining another's hand. They had no hope of winning, not to mention they were in his array. Blast it. The venerables should be meeting this punk, not us. Why did it have to be us? I knew I should have picked another array. They felt close to tears as they pinned their final hopes on having the 4 radiant stage experts hurrying with breaking through the array and coming over to help. Like that'll ever happen. Out of their knowledge, the 4 had long fallen in Zhuo Fan's trap, with 2 already dead and the last one making one last-ditch effort before succumbing as well. They were having a hard time saving themselves, yet they were putting their meager hope on someone in an even worse state than them. Zhuo Fan easily picked on the 3's thoughts and jeered, You should all lighten up and be thankful that all of you are unworthy of me ending you personally, not with your meager strength. The one all of you shall have the honor of facing is our Pill House elder. Zhuo Fan patted the elder's shoulder. Elder Yan, they're all yours. Ha ha ha, don't worry, Steward Zhu, these old goats are nobodies. I'm more than enough for them, Yan Song laughed, bringing out the old vicious Pill King's haughty demeanor back out. Zhuo Fan nodded and chuckled before leaving. The 3 elders' faces were pitch black, as the saying went, death before dishonor. Even though they were all far beneath Zhuo Fan's match, his utter disregard of them had their minds filled with nothing but rage. By the way, who was this cocky Uncle Zhuo Fan left them with? We don't know what hole you crawl out of, nor do we care, but who do you think you are to talk to us like that? Zhuo Fan, the 3 stared daggers at Yan Song. The latter was quite relaxed and confident. Old coot, state your name. I do not kill without knowing my opponent's name, Eulaliu coldly stated. The other 2 watched Yan Song with the same desire to rip him apart. Grinning, Yan Song's eyes glinted evilly. Humph, I'm afraid of making you wet your pants if I do. Oh, do enlighten us please as to what other circus clown the 3rd-rate Luo clan has besides your freak Zhuo Fan, ha ha ha. The 3's laughter dripped sarcasm. Squinting, Yan Song's mouth curled in pride, then unclog your ears and prepare to be amazed. I am Yan Song. What? The 3 were dumbstruck, with bulging eyes and everything. Especially Pill King Hall's Yan Jinglin. His eyes were as big as saucers. They all knew Yan Song fell at the hands of Zhuo Fan in the chaos of Drifting Flowers City. How the hell did he end up here, and as Luo clan's Pill House elder no less? When Yan Jinglin and Lin Rufeng came from their stupor, they looked at Yan Jinglin. He was the only one here who was most familiar with Yan Song, being from the same house and all. He should spot immediately if that man was the real vicious Pill King. After a long and hard scrutiny, Yan Jinglin gasped, Vicious Pill King, Elder Yan Song, it's really you. Eulaliu's heart trembled and his face grew solemn. No wonder this geezer mocked us. While he was known as the Vicious Pill King, they were truly and utterly titleless. Why, Yan Song, why did you betray Pill King Hall? Yan Jinglin shouted. Yan Song had only mockery for him. Vicious Pill King had followed the natural course and died in Drifting Flowers City from Zhuo Fan. And from his death, Yan Song was reborn. Tell me, where's the betrayal? Besides, with me out of the picture, isn't the Vicious Pill King title up for grabs? Humph, I'm not naive. Don't tell me the Pill King Hall didn't break out in celebration once they heard of my death, Yan Jinglin stammered in silence. From his reaction, the others knew Yan Song told the truth. No wonder he betrayed Pill King Hall. He had nothing holding him there, no relation to speak of. Scratching their nose, the elders' eyes exposed a fierce light. With everything clear, any argument from them would do nothing in bringing Yan Song back. In that case, they had to go through Yan Song if they wanted to clear the array. But Yan Song's old title still gripped their hearts in fear. Old Yan is an expert in poisons. It is my domain as well. I will hold him while you two flank him from the sides. We have to end this swiftly. It will be hard to get to him once he hides behind his rainbow cloud palm. Yan Jinglin signaled the two as he whispered. The two nodded. Yan Jinglin then shot like an arrow for Yan Song with an outstretched palm. A python made of purple miasma came out and threatened to bite Yan Song. High spirit ranked martial art, shifting cloud palm. His mouth tracing a cold smile, Yan Jinglin mocked. Humph, Yan Jinglin, an inept like you who can't use the rainbow cloud palm dares to play with poison around me. 7 colored veils of mist flew from Yan Song's palms like dragons, forming a rainbow storm, crushing the purple python and rushing for Yan Jinglin. Humph, now this is Pill King Hall's real skill. Profound ranked martial art, rainbow cloud palm. Yan Jinglin focus sharpened and forehead started to ooze cold sweat. However, he was in no rush because he knew that he was going to be sacrificing himself. Suddenly, Yu Leilu and Lin Rufeng appeared left and right of Yan Song. Yan Jinglin laughed. Yan Song, you're done for. You're exposed before you hide in the rainbow cloud palm's poisonous mist. I may not train in your martial art, but I know it like the back of my hand, and you will suffer dearly for it. Yu Leilu and Lin Rufeng had vicious grins, thinking this win was in the bag. When the grand vicious Pill King fall under their attacks, who would anyone dare call them without a title in the future? Although Yan Song's face didn't seem particularly worried. As the two's palms inched closer, he made a hand sign and 2 dragon roars echoed out. Suddenly, 2 groans came as 2 dragon tails jumped from the earth and sent the 2 men barreling. Yu Leilu and Lin Rufeng were still trying to make sense of everything. They were just inches from striking down Yan Song when out of the blue, their bodies were flung about like garbage. Just as they smacked the ground 200 meters out, the rainbow storm engulfed Yan Jinglin. Boom! Yan Jinglin flew a full 100 meters as he spat black blood. His body was now filled with the deadly poisons of the rainbow cloud palm. Yu Leilu and Lin Rufeng crawled back to their feet. They felt weary for some odd reason and looked down in shock. The green vestige on their body was evidence of poisoning. How? The 3 roared at the same time. Yan Song snickered with an evil glint in his eye. Yan Jinglin, you aren't useful even as bait. You take me for a sitting duck if I'm not hiding in the rainbow cloud palm mist. He, did you forget where we are? This here is a 5th grade array, the poison dragon array that I am able to control. Here I can create all the poison mist I want. Your plan failed the moment you thought it out. Yan Song made another sign. Roar. 7 dragon roars were heard as 700-meter-long dragons of different colors came from beneath his feet. Their maws were open and the poisonous stench was easily felt coming from their fangs. If not crushed to death in their grip first, the poison would rip them apart from the inside out. The 3 cried in alarm. Yan Song alone was bad enough with his nefarious poison, but now, with this 5th grade array, he was invincible. Not even a radiant stage expert could escape him, least of all them. The 3's hearts sank as despair set in. Yan Song cackled like mad, just as he did back in the Drifting Flowers City. That rampant, vicious Pill King was back. Yan Song's ego even grew, if that was possible. Because he had the 5th grade array, he was God. Not even a radiant stage expert can take me on, ha ha ha. In another place, Sun Clan's father and daughter along with Kai Clan's father and son finally came to Blackwind Mountain. Since flying was not an option, they had to rely on their tiny legs to run themselves into exhaustion. But as they gazed upon the 4 light pillars, hope glimmered in their eyes. Cough, cough, congratulations, 6th elder for your complete success. Sun Clan head panted, then cupped his hands and bent his wise 90 degrees down angle. Sun Yufei felt awkward. Father, there's no one here. What are you doing? Ha ha ha, foolish girl. The elders are cleaning up the Luo clan and would surely gain many contributions for this. As those experts move fast, I fear that my nerves may get to me when the time comes to congratulate them, and my manners would slip. It's best I practice my performance for when it counts. Sun Clan head smiled. Yufei, let's do it together for a brighter future. Sun Yufei's mouth twisted in revulsion. Congratulations, Elder Li, in returning victorious. Suddenly, Kai Rong bowed as well as he mocked Sun Clan head. If you want a sponsor, you have to think big. Elder Li is a regent estate venerable. Everything will be ours once we earn his favor. He, Xiaoding, practice along. Kai Rong patted Kai Xiaoding's shoulder. a chip of the all block. Kai Xiaoding's gesture was spot on like his father's. Sun Yufei felt more disgusted than ever. Sun Clan Head sneered, Kai Clan Head, you sure are ignorant, but what can you expect when you haven't been in touch with the 7 houses and know nothing about them? A venerable may be strong, but they ignore house affairs. Only elders hold the true power in a house. Your ass-kissing has more worth directed at an elder. They are the ones who can make you a vassal clan. Sun Clan Head spoke with immense pride. Kai Rong scowled and smoothed his beard as he sank in his thoughts. Then a lazy voice reached them. Ass-kissing must be done in style. One wrong kiss and you'll get the gallows. I mean, won't you offend the venerables if you only do it to elders? And if you flatter the venerables, won't the elders feel irritated? What a dilemma. Why not both? You may get nothing, but at least you'll keep your heads. Good point. Clan Head and Sun Clan Head looked at each other, then bobbed their heads. Only then they reacted, who said that? And turned to look. It was better not knowing. They cried out with such fear, one may think they saw a ghost. Zhuo Fan, why are you here? Who knew when Zhuo Fan got there? Surely not them. But his seamless interjection in their discussion unnerved them all. Ha ha ha, lighten up. I'm the same as you. I came here to welcome guests. Zhuo Fan waved the awkwardness away with a smile. Though his smile looked dreadfully cold to the rest. It was practically common knowledge 4 houses, Regent Estate included, came here explicitly for Zhuo Fan's head. Yet the 4 venerables and the 3 elders were inside trying to break the arrays, all while he was standing just outside for the heck of it. The Sun and Kai people looked at him, feeling his toying with the 7 houses was worthy of applause. Swallowing dryly, Kai Rong ventured a nervous reply, Zhuo Fan, I have always had the Luo clan's benefit in mind in all my actions. Hear me out please and leave quickly. If the venerables come out, you won't stand a chance. Oh, I never knew Elder Kai would, after betraying the Luo clan, care so much for me. Ha ha ha, I'm touched. Zhuo Fan raised a mocking eyebrow. Kai Rong reddened, feeling the condescending tone, but he didn't snap back. His reply was one of genuine concern. Zhuo Fan, Luo clan's misfortune has come because of you. Why did you come back? I am concerned for your well-being. Don't let your talent go to waste. Quickly escape. Kai Rong was very concerned but still urged Zhuo Fan to leave. Even when facing the demon Archon, who was such a thorn in the 7 houses' side, this third-rate clan's head was filled with uncertainty. Or he'd long since captured Zhuo Fan and handed him over. The Sun Clan head was thinking along the same lines. But since youths were rash as usual, their kids couldn't see this logic. Kai Xiaoding stood with his chest out as he shouted, Dad, he's only a 5th layer of bone-tempering cultivator. Why waste time and just go deal with him alongside Uncle Sun? Get his head and the 7 houses will hail us as heroes, ha ha ha. Quiet fool, you know nothing, Kai Rong glared at his son. Sun Clan head sneered as well. He didn't know what Zhuo Fan did to get on the 7 houses' bad side, but the old fox in him knew something was up. It was best to stand down until all was made clear, lest he wanted an untimely death. Zhuo Fan raised an eyebrow. Oh, taking my head you say, that's a good plan. No, that was never our intention. Gesticulating like mad, Kai Rong was on pins and needles. Xiaoding is a foolish child. I promise you we aren't your enemies. Please leave quickly. Leave before the venerables are back. Ha ha ha, them coming back. Zhuo Fan's tone was unbridled. I set those arrays and know them like the back of my hand. If even one man escapes my head, bam, with a loud noise, a figure flew from Poison Dragon Array, so poisoned that his body had 7 colors on him. His mouth was tight, yet black blood kept flowing from his lips, ears, and nose. It was hard to figure out who he was, but Kai Rong knew as he cried, Pill King Hall's Elder Yan. Zhuo Fan's cheek twitched. He just got into his role of showing off, and then this guy had to come out just to spite him. Fuming mad, he stepped right before Yan Jinglan. The fearful Elder Yan was only thinking of escaping when he found someone just ahead. But then dread set in when he saw his face. Zhuo Fan, how did you get here? Zhuo Fan's mouth trembled, but anyone could feel the coldness in his voice, the rage boiling deep within. Yan Jinglan shivered. I took advantage of Yan's song not paying attention. It would have been so much better if you died inside. Now your corpse is going to be in pieces. Sighing, Zhuo Fan's lightning wings crackled and shifted into sickles. Yan Jinglan's shock was still prevalent on his face as he fell in 6 pieces, soaking the ground in blood. SSS gasping, the others were shocked out of their minds. Now they knew why the 7 houses wanted to end Zhuo Fan so desperately. A profound heaven expert fell apart instantly thanks to Zhuo Fan's skill. Even wounded, how could a bone-tempering cultivator kill a profound heaven expert? Kai Xiaoding felt weak in the knees, tumbling down. He hated himself for those brash words he spoke just now. Telling his dad to deal with this freak was the same as sending him to an early grave. Kai Rong and Sun Clan head were soaked in sweat. At least these old foxes had their wits about them from the start and weren't rash. If they had been anything else, their meat pile would soon be joining the elders on the ground. Whoosh. Flashing before them, Zhuo Fan looked quite awkward. Just forget the last part. All right, yep, you bet. Don't know what you're talking about, Steward Zhuo. Ha ha ha. Yeah, my ears must be playing tricks on me. The four of them shook their heads till they were dizzy. Zhuo Fan smiled. With a second sound, another figure popped out of Poison Dragon Array, but this time it was Vicious Pill King. He took in the pieces of Yan Jinglin and the cold-faced Zhuo Fan, catching the gist of it all. Scratching his head, Yan Song giggled, "Thanks, Steward Zhuo, for helping me get rid of that one. It would have been much harder for me alone. Elder Yan, you let one escape with your skill?" Zhuo Fan smiled coldly. Yan Song's scalp felt numb. "Steward Zhuo, I was careless. He was also an alchemist, so... Elder Yan, do you have any idea what I was just about to promise these guys? A head, ha ha ha. So tell me, whose head is it going to be?" Ignoring his words, Zhuo Fan's cold glare stared him down. Shivering, Yan Song knew this time it was serious. Steward Zhuo was flaunting before these guys, but then his show deflated like a balloon, and so did his prestige. Of course he'd be pissed. Swallowing dryly, Yan Song had a cruel smile for them. "Steward Zhuo, that's easy. Isn't it just some heads? Aren't there 4 heads lining up for the taking?" "Good point. With them dead, no one will know about your blunder." Yep, Yan Song smiled and nodded. Kai Rong's group was scared out of their wits. They kneeled and begged forgiveness, while also cursing them inside. What kind of damn unreasonable freaks are these people? What they didn't know was this vicious demon wouldn't have made a name for himself if he was reasonable. Shaking his head, Zhuo Fan waved, "Forget it, don't scare these shrimps. Elder Yan, what of the other 2? Dead." Yan Song was solemn. Nodding, Zhuo Fan turned to the 4. "All right, take these 4 in. I want to leave them for that snot-nosed brat to handle, and teach him how to be a clan head." "Understood." Vicious Pill King pointed and finger at them, and the 4 were chained, soon flying behind him as he entered Poison Dragon Array. A ripple spread, and the Black Flame Array in the south opened to reveal Luo Yuncheng and the rest. Li Jingshan was leisurely walking behind them. Zhuo Fan eased a breath, seeing everyone safe. The battle was now over. "Big bro Zhuo," Luo Yunhai cried and skipped over for a fierce hug, his tears soaking Zhuo Fan's clothes. Zhuo Fan noted with a smile, feeling warm and fuzzy inside. Looking up, he found Lei Yunshan and Captain Pang looking at him with fervent gazes. The 2 nodded, and Zhuo Fan laughed. "Old Pang, I'm relieved to see you still kicking." Captain Pang knew what he meant and laughed as well. "Steward Zhuo, if I am to die, I will do it fighting for the Luo clan. Never will I waste away in training." Then Zhuo Fan turned to Lei Yuding with a smile. "Miss Lei, how are the people I asked you to train?" Lei Yuding huffed and gave him a sound slap in return. Zhuo Fan was stunned. "What did I say?" But then he saw her teary eyes. "Damn you bastard, you finally came back, and instead of asking if I was fine, you went straight to business," Lei Yuding wailed. Zhuo Fan blinked. "That does make a lot of sense." So he smiled. "Ha ha ha, Miss Lei, how have you been?" Bam, then another slap graced his face. Zhuo Fan was now floored. "What the hell? I asked how you are, so what's the problem? You want me to pay respects to your whole family?" Lei Yuding glared instead. Too little, too late. Reeling from the blow, Zhuo Fan was almost coughing blood at this point. "This girl's too fickle, I can't make sense of her heart." The others smiled at his misfortune. Li Jingshan joined them, never having seen the cunning Steward Zhuo so soft-hearted. Shaking his head with a sigh, Zhuo Fan really couldn't get her. "It's best I don't talk at all." When they separated, Zhuo Fan looked to see Luo Yuncheng fumbling towards him with a pale face. Zhuo Fan frowned. "Young miss, are you hurt?" Luo Yuncheng only locked eyes with him, as if to see straight through his heart. Ice-cold hands touched his face as her eyes stared at him with emotion. "Zhuo Fan, welcome home." Luo Yuncheng's eyes closed and collapsed in his arms. "Young miss," the others were worried. Zhuo Fan stood there in a daze. The Luo clan was considered his clan since rebirth, but he never once saw it as his home. When Luo Yuncheng said those words, they struck a chord in his thawing heart. Translator, Star Reader, Editor. Sylvan, the warm glow of the morning sun spilled through the window and into the pink room. Luo Yuncheng's eyes trembled open, but the glaring sun's rays made her squint. "Young Miss Luo, are you awake?" Luo Yuncheng turned to see Lei Yuding's servant, Zio Kui. She was happily bringing in piping hot stew. Luo Yuncheng weakly got up as Zio Kui placed the bowl on a nearby table. Luo Yuncheng nodded gratefully for her help. "Zio Kui, where's Sister Lei?" "Miss and Steward Zhu are in a meeting. She told me to watch over you. She also had me make this stew for you." Zhuo Fan. She didn't seem to have heard her as Luo Yuncheng shivered, having recalled something. She then broke out in a wide smile. "Yeah, he's back. I'm going to see him." "Slow down, young Miss Luo. You're still very much weakened. Please have this stew first. Steward Zhu isn't running anywhere. I don't care." "I want to see him." Luo Yuncheng was so excited all the fatigue left her as she jumped out of bed. Zio Kui sighed, left with following after her out of worry. The 2 soon arrived before Blackwind Mountains Hall, hearing Zhuo Fan's familiar voice from within. "Elder Lei, how is your cultivation?" Zhuo Fan asked as he browsed the books. Lei Yunchen replied in disappointment, I am muddled and have not advanced 1 layer in 2 years, but I feel I will break through soon. Muddled indeed, Zhuo Fan's cold tone cut his frail tone short. But his eyes were still checking the reports. Thought it's not your fault. It is hard for someone as old as you to advance. Lei Yunchen forced an embarrassed smile. Steward Zhu is so blunt, not sparing any feelings. Lei Yuding saw her godfather put on the spot and slapped the table in anger. Zhuo Fan, where are you going with this? While you were gone for the last 2 years, we had to look after the Luo clan. And now that you're back, the first thing you do is point fingers. And you, Zhuo Fan threw a book before her as he spoke coldly. When I came back yesterday, you said I cut straight to business instead of greeting you. That I was cold, so I spent all day catching up with what you have been doing over the years. But today, I need to resume my role as the steward. Snapping his eyes on her, Zhuo Fan pointed at the book. I told you to form a shadow corp before leaving to become our hidden ace as well as our eyes and ears in Tianyu. Why is it that all you managed to contact are some small towns and some villages? You didn't place anyone in the capital, not to mention the 7 houses cities. Humph, you think it's that easy, huffed Lei Yuding. 10 times I've sent people into Hell Valley City, but they were seized every time. Thankfully, they were loyal to us and died rather than say anything. Or Hell Valley would have been upon us a year ago. Oh, did you not see how it's done when I got into Drifting Flower City? Zhuo Fan raised a taunting eyebrow. Lei Yuding spat through gnashed teeth. Don't you even start, just when I was close to forgetting. Steward Zhu had gone out for the glory of the clan, but never forgot to spare certain someone his feelings, quite carefree I might add. If my men had even half your skills, they would have infiltrated the whole empire by now, even the palace. Whatever you may think, I did it all for the clan. Zhuo Fan scratched his nose. Captain Peng grinned, adding his 2 cents to smooth things over. Ha ha ha, young Miss Lei misunderstands. Brother Zhuo's thinking is unfathomable. I'm sure Brother Zhuo had a good reason for letting those rumors appear. Look, didn't he bring back 2 experts like he promised? And you, old Peng, Zhuo Fan butted in before Lei Yuding could nag some more. Captain Peng was startled and swallowed dryly, feeling cold sweat down his spine. Now it was his turn, it seemed. None of them knew the refined Zhuo Fan, who planned to put the Luo clan back on its feet, would be so mean. Because Captain Peng cultivated the wraith art, the vibe coming from him was that of a fiend. But before Zhuo Fan, he was nothing more than a mouse in front of a cat. Although the two were like brothers, Captain Peng still shivered whenever he saw Zhuo Fan acting high and mighty. Who knows what fault this kid will find now? Brother, I done awesome. Out of all expectations, Zhuo Fan beamed. He was happy as well, while the rest sullen. What did Captain Peng do that is so awesome? Our efforts aren't lower than his. Zhuo Fan elaborated with a grin. When I gave you the wraith art, I didn't even think you'd survive. You not only survived, but even exceeded my expectations. Then why the hell did you give it to me then? Captain Peng's face twitched, not knowing if he should be glad or enraged. You gave it to me thinking I'd die. Knowing what he was thinking, Zhuo Fan patted his shoulder. Ha ha ha, don't you worry now. You are reborn as one of Luo clan's pillars. Captain Peng nodded solemnly. Defending the Luo clan had been his aim all along. Having talked with his men, Zhuo Fan looked at the small figure at the side. The bored Luo Yunhai noticed his eyes and shivered. He felt danger in his gaze, as if a viper was out to get him. He, big bro Zhuo, I'm still a child. Cut me some slack. Luo Yunhai opened his big naive eyes like an oversized kitten. Too bad this trick didn't fly with a demon like Zhuo Fan. Grinning, Zhuo Fan looked like a ghost from the underworld. You rotten brat, how's your cultivation? Why ask when you already know? Luo Yunhai felt a shiver down his spine. Big bro Zhuo, I'm in the 9th layer of foundation establishment. On the verge of breaking through, he also gave Captain Peng a sign, who added, Steward Zhuo, young Master Yunhai has only been cultivating for 2 years. To reach such a level is a feat worthy of a genius. Oh, not bad indeed. How many hours a day did you cultivate? Zhuo Fan nodded with a smile ever present. Luo Yunhai's eyes darted around, then raised 6 fingers. 6 hours. Captain Peng was startled, then nodded. That's right, young Master Yunhai cultivated in earnest. Good, then from now on you'll do it for 20 hours a day. Zhuo Fan's smile was wide as ever, causing the others to gasp. Wouldn't the poor kid die of exhaustion training for so long? Luo Yunhai was dumbstruck. He immediately shouted his complaints. Big bro Zhuo, I'll die. Hardly. By feeding you pills each day, death will long be forgotten. Plus, as the days pass, you'll get used to it. Zhuo Fan laughed. He recalled how his master did the same for him. His lower lip trembling, Luo Yunhai was on the verge of tears, but that would leave me with only 4 hours to rest. What about playing? Who told you have 4 hours to rest? Raising an eyebrow, Zhuo Fan added, 2 hours is enough, while the rest is for reading books. How are you going to be a clan head if you're stacked in all the right places except in the head? Luo Yunhai's eyes rolled into his skull and slumped in his chair. The others sighed secretly. Zhuo Fan wasn't mean to just them, but even to children. No wonder he was called Demon Archon in the outside world. Vicious Pill King and Li Jingshan were staying quiet, but hearing Zhuo Fan's verdict, even they shivered. Then they looked at Luo Yunhai with all their sympathy. Is it a blessing or a disaster? No one can tell. The cruel steward set his eyes on the poor child. He was dead set on making him the Luo clan's next in line. Yet his future wasn't as glorious as any true future clan head, but one of a miserable childhood. But with Zhuo Fan's wicked planning and the kid's talent, his future was bound to be limitless. This could be counted as his only blessing. After a few more words, Zhuo Fan told them to withdraw, leaving only Vicious Pill King and Li Jingshan behind. As for Luo Yunhai, he walked out like a zombie, feeling like the whole world abandoned him. Such a young child was showing such despair. Zhuo Fan ignored him as he poured himself some tea. Young miss, since you're already here, you might as well come in. With graceful steps, Luo Yuncheng gestured Zio Kui to stay as she entered alone. Her softened gaze had been on Zhuo Fan all this time. Zhuo Fan smiled as he rose. Young miss, are you better? Luo Yuncheng didn't speak, only nodded slightly. Zhuo Fan took a deep breath out of awkwardness. He gestured to the other two and smiled. Ha ha ha, let me introduce you Elder Yan Song. He will be Luo clan's Pill House Elder. The other is Elder Li Jingshan, the elder in charge of the arrays. As long as he operates the 5th grade arrays, no one can break through them. Blinking, Luo Yuncheng now realized there were 2 more people there and rushed to greet them. The elders returned her greeting as well, and yet Li Jingshan still had pride in his eyes while Vicious Pill King was downcast. Zhuo Fan's face turned solemn. Are you perhaps not satisfied? Vicious Pill King was the one who replied, Steward Zhuo, the Luo clan you describe is not at all as we've seen. We just found out that the Luo clan has no elders and that is only around a second-rate clan. Vicious Pill King sighed. What he thought to be a titan in hiding, stronger than the 7 houses, was more along the lines of a damn frickin' third-rate clan. Li Jingshan sighed as well. He could feel the loyalty of this clan, but the reality failed to rise to his expectation by a huge margin. Zhuo Fan glared at them. I never said anything about the Luo clan's extent when I invited you in. You accepted my invitation of your own free will. But Steward Zhuo, you said the Luo clan is the strongest clan in Tianyu. Are you saying it's my fault? Zhuo Fan cut Vicious Pill King off and scared him with his sudden reply. Luo Yuncheng bowed again. Elder Yan, Elder Li, first of all, I would like to express my deepest gratitude for joining the Luo clan. I know we are a small clan, unfit of your greatness, but please believe me, with Steward Zhuo and you, the Luo clan will become better and stronger. We the Luo clan will not disappoint you. If you still want to leave, I will not stop you. Luo Yuncheng's heartfelt words touched the two. You 2 old coots better goddamn suck it up. Then came Zhuo Fan's cold tone. While Luo Yuncheng's words were that of a fairy, Zhuo Fan's were that of a demon wanting to feast on their flesh. You may dislike how weak the Luo clan is, but I promise you, in 5 years, I will make the Luo clan rise to the level of the 7 houses. And in 10 years, it will exceed them. If you want to leave, hump. Getting into the Luo clan is easy, but getting out will be done through the mud, cold, and very much dead. Shuddering, the elders could feel Zhuo Fan's bloodthirst. Just looking at him, they knew he wasn't kidding. If they tested Demon Archon's anger, today may very well be their funeral. Sweating, Li Jingshan and Vicious Pill King dropped to one knee. Young miss, Steward Zhuo, we were only joking. Don't take it to heart. Luo Yuncheng was shocked. She may be the young miss, but how could she receive such gestures from the elders? Not to mention, one was in the profound heaven stage and the other in the radiant stage. She rushed to get them up. Please rise, elders, this isn't proper. But Luo Yuncheng could do nothing if they refused. Sneaking a glance at Zhuo Fan, they noticed his ever stone-cold face and lowered their heads. He may be quite courteous to them usually, but when it came to such principles, he was dead serious. If they couldn't appease Zhuo Fan's anger, their lives were forfeited today. Luo Yuncheng turned to Zhuo Fan and said, Zhuo Fan, you. Squinting, Zhuo Fan spoke. I will let this matter rest here on account of young miss, but I better not hear of this again. Now leave. Thank you, Steward Zhuo. Thank you, young miss. Sighing, the two bowed again and ran outside. It seemed they had to get much closer with this young miss of theirs. She may be frail, but she could keep that steward in check. Our very lives depend on it. Luo Yuncheng was left stunned at how quickly the two bolted. She had no idea Zhuo Fan could control a profound heaven expert and a radiant stage expert. The 2 experts were like shy kids before Zhuo Fan. What she didn't know was that if she could control the bloodworm as well as he does, she'd receive the same treatment. Forget about whining, they wouldn't even make a peep. Turning to Zhuo Fan, Luo Yuncheng revealed a broad smile. Zhuo Fan, why do I feel you're more amazing than 2 years ago? I almost can't recognize you, but weren't you a bit harsh on them? Sister Lei and the others worked hard all this time. I know, and I am very pleased with their progress. They gave their all and exceeded my expectations. Zhu Fan's smile was no longer cruel. Luo Yunqing was even more puzzled now. Then why did you? Ha ha ha, as leaders, one must mind both gratitude and show of power. I know how grateful you must have been for their hard work, so when I came back I showed them power. How else would they know who is the leader of the Luo clan? Zhu Fan's eyes were deep. Luo Yunqing hesitated, but they are family, going through thick and thin alongside us. Must we be so hard on them? People change with time. If your power does not change, then you must be wary of everyone around you. Today they may be your most loyal men, and tomorrow your worst enemies. Just like how the 7 houses were subjects to the empire at its founding, now they are a danger to it. Zhu Fan grinned with cruelty. Luo Yunqing watched him long and stammered, Zhu Fan, you're truly frightening. Will there also be a day when you'll become our enemy? Perhaps, Zhu Fan chuckled. I would rather die at your hand than see you as one. Luo Yunqing's eyes flickered. Zhu Fan trembled and sighed. Who can tell what the future holds? Silence swept the hall, bringing a morbid atmosphere with it. It was now that Luo Yunhai rushed in tears to Luo Yunqing. Sister, that's not important right now. Big bro Zhu wants to kill me. Resting for only 2 hours is impossible. Startled, Luo Yunqing recalled how her brother was the most hardworking of them all. Steward Zhu, don't you think 20 hours a day is a bit? You don't have to say it, young miss. I am doing it for his own good. A bit of sweat now will save a lot of bloodshed later, or you can just stop him from following the wishes of your father. Yunhai, stop complaining and follow Steward Zhu's schedule. Luo Yunqing snapped at the child. Luo Yunhai's eyes rolled into his skull and passed out. Before Zhu Fan came, his life was still bearable. Now that he was here, he entered hell. Zhu Fan shook his head. Meanwhile, at the foot of Blackwind Mountain, 4 tall and stout figures stood. One was in a blue robe and cowl, with a twin mustache and holding a light sword. Another wore a scholar crest and waved a golden fan. His eyes were so calm as if even the world burning wouldn't affect his tranquility. The third man was brash and big, with fiery hair and eyes holding sparks within. One look was enough to tell anyone he was a powder keg primed to blow. As for the last, he was unlike the first 3. He was twice as broad as a normal man. From his bulging muscles, one would instantly consider him a body cultivator, yet his narrow eyes were quite delicate. Standing there, he looked no different than a firm mountain. The 4 watched the 4 guarding arrays, and their eyes shined in shock. No wonder Godfather sent us thousands of miles here to their rescue. This place already houses an amazing figure. The man in blue turned to his side to ask, what do you think of these arrays? With a snap, the second man opened his fan and spoke calmly. The intricacies of these arrays are hard to grasp. But as long as a profound heaven expert or higher is in control of them, not even the 4 of us can escape. Blast it, then we've traveled all this way for nothing. They clearly have their defenses up, the red-haired man shouted. The man in blue berated, third brother, orders are orders, and they were given by the marshal himself. Whether this place is a volcano or an impenetrable fortress, we still have to go in. Have you forgotten the taste of the marshal's cane when you entered a drunken rave last time? The red-haired man stammered but remained silent. The man in blue nodded, then cupped his hands towards Blackwind Mountain as he shouted, the 4 generals under Marshal Dugu extend their respects to Luo clan head. His lofty voice traveled for miles, straight into Zhu Fan's ear. His ears peaked, Zhu Fan's eyebrow rose. Why has war god Dugu, second of the 4 pillars, sent his men all the way over here? Could it be? Young miss, take the kid to his training. I'll go take a look. Zhu Fan looked to Luo Yunqing. She gave a nod, then dragged Luo Yunhai out by the ear. The marshal of Tianyu may have come, and despite the ever-present shock, Zhu Fan was here to assuage all her worries. Regardless of the magnitude of the coming storm, nothing could last long in the face of Zhu Fan's meticulous planning. This belief had evolved into blind faith in the man, a faith deep-rooted in the hearts of all Luo clansmen. Dragged away and through glistening eyes, Luo Yunhai's last cry at Zhu Fan was, Big bro Zhu, you single-handedly ruined my life. You twerp who hasn't ever grown hair down there, what ruin? Zhu Fan teased. He turned to look down Blackwind Mountain and took slow steps downhill. Hum with a ripple, the poisoned dragon array's miasma parted. Zhu Fan walked before the 4 as he sized each one of them. I am Luo clan's steward, Zhu Fan. And sirs, oh, we are the 4 generals under Marshal Dugu. Hearing of the Luo clan's peril, he ordered us to rescue you. Greetings, I am Dugu Feng. The man in blue cupped his hands. The man with the fan did as well. I am Dugu Lin. Dugu Huo, the redhead stout fellow rumbled a reply. As for the last and the biggest man, Dugu Shan, wind, forest, fire, mountain. The 4 tigers of Tianyu, Zhu Fan cried as he started making calculations in his mind. Staritor, reference to 4 phrases from Sun Tzu's The Art of War. As swift as the wind, as gentle as a forest, as fierce as fire, as unshakable as a mountain. He had heard his fair share of stories regarding the renowned 4 pillars. Second of the four pillars, Dugu Jianshan was married to his military career. He had no children, but four godsons of great bravery and power. Given their talent, they weren't the least bit lacking to the geniuses raised inside the seven houses. Perhaps even surpassing them. The four had repeatedly rendered great military services that earned the people's gratitude in the form of the four tigers of Tianyu title. Dugu Feng, the eldest, was swift as the wind and excelled in surprise attacks nicknamed Storm Tiger. Dugu Lin, the second, was as gentle as a forest, knowing the art of war by heart. For his calmness of mind, he was known as Crouching Forest Tiger. Dugu Hu, the third, burned like fire and was just as blazing in temper as well. For his boldness, he was known as Raging Tiger. Dugu Shan, the fourth, was as steadfast as a mountain, hard as stone. Proficient in defense, he was known as Mountain Tiger. No endeavor the four had worked on ever failed. They were almost matching the god of war in their renown. Many times, the emperor expressed his desire to lift them to the ranks of commanders and joined Dugu Jianshan in becoming Tianyu's 5 marshals, only to refuse each time. They would rather stay as Marshal Dugu's tigers rather than be alone as Tianyu Empire's 4 lion kings. They were always inseparable from Dugu Jianshan. If the 4 of them arrived, then Dugu Jianshan. Checking his surroundings, Zhuo Fan's obvious thoughts were easily noticed by Dugu Lin, who tapped the fan in his palm. Steward Zhuo, there's no need for you to look. We are the only ones here. Our orders carried us thousands of miles to rescue you all. Marshal Dugu and his forces are running a little late, I'm afraid. Oh, so Marshal Dugu is gracing us with his presence? Zhuo Fan nodded and laughed. I understand. Then I shall inform the young miss and young master post haste. You may return, Zhuo Fan waved as he left. The 4 were startled, even shocked. The 4 of them were hailed as the 4 tigers of Tianyu everywhere in the empire, with even the 7 houses bound to showing them some respect. But here, in this backwater Luo clan, not only were they not allowed entry, the door was slammed into their face. To top it all off, he even said he'd inform someone. Wasn't this a little bit too absurd? Rage had stirred in the hearts of the 4. Dugu Huo, who had a notoriously fiery temper, cursed on the spot. What kind of steward are you to act so unreasonably? We came all this way to help you, yet not only you did not show any appreciation, you even slammed the door behind you. That is no way to treat a guest. Guest, you say? Zhuo Fan quirked an eyebrow, turning his head to give them a closer eye. You're telling me you came to save us and I'm supposed to believe that? We just had a hard battle on our hands not a couple of days ago, with blood and bodies everywhere. Letting you in might drown the Luo clan in flames, the 4 gasped. So the steward wasn't slighting them but was overly cautious. That reason was enough to dampen their rage. Dugu Feng cupped his hands again. We are Marshal Dugu's 4 generals. He has always been a frank and open person and we are under strict orders. We are not the enemy here. Are you perhaps doubting Marshal Dugu's integrity? Marshal Dugu is a pillar of our empire, in charge of defense, which my clan admires him greatly. Our young miss and young master burn incense and pray every day for Marshal's health to keep our nation safe. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands at the heavens, shouting with zeal, just like a true Dugu Jianshan fanboy. His action earned the nods of the 4, even approval points. It's good that the Luo clan holds our godfather in such high regards. It makes our trip worthwhile. Then Zhuo Fan flipped his tune out of the blue. His face was cold, his eyes accusingly. And how am I to know you are the real 4 tigers of Tianyu? Have you seen how many copycats have cropped up nowadays? Please look over Marshal Dugu's token. Dugu Feng quickly offered a copper badge. But Zhuo Fan didn't even glance at it, only curled his mouth. Like I said, there are many copycats around these days. If you yourself can't prove who you are, what good would a token do? Hey, stop messing around, punk. Us 4 tigers of Tianyu have roamed the empire for so many years, but not once has there been a case of someone copying us. You only have your ignorance to blame for not knowing who we are. You won't let us in, is that it? Wanna see how I make my way through, breaking those arrays of yours? Dugu Huo barked, having reached his already short limit of his slight patience. Zhuo Fan staggered back, putting on a perfect, fearful face. CC. You now show your true colors and still dare pretend. Marshal Dugu's army runs under strict orders, bearing the love of the people. How can there be such brash people wanting to barge into someone's home in his army? You're no different from bandits, you. Dugu Huo gnashed his teeth. Dugu Feng frowned and shouted, Third brother, stop nagging. Are you going to stain Marshal Dugu's name by charging into one's home? Dugu Huo glared at Zhuo Fan with burning hatred, but his feet remained in place. Dugu Feng bowed, I apologize for my third brother's lack of courtesy. Please do not take it to mind, Steward Zhuo. Can you trust us now? Trust, humph, you almost had me there, but fortunately I caught onto your game. Is that how Marshal Dugu's generals behave, playing the good guy bad guy routine? Flushing red, the 4 were left speechless. Even Dugu Huo found it so embarrassing that he forgot to complain. Zhuo Fan snorted, "Didn't you say Marshal Dugu is on his way? We'll just have to wait for him to prove your identities." With that said, Zhuo Fan vanished into the poisoned dragon array, and the miasma blocked the four's sight. They wanted to shout at him, but he was already gone. The four were left downcast behind. Who'd ever seen it coming? They who were revered even in the 7 houses were now forced to stand on the doorsteps of some backwater Luo clan. And they couldn't complain either. The clan just went through a hellish battle and their nerves were taut. And best of all, the Luo clan was a die-hard fan of the marshal. How could the four burst in and ruin their godfather's image? Sighing, Dugu Huo turned to Dugu Feng. "Big brother, what do we do now?" "What else? Stay in a Wingay City's tavern. But how are we going to give a full report to Marshal when we can't even get in to assess the situation?" "We'll report facts." Dugu Lin shot Dugu Huo a glare. "Luo clan is more than it seems. It's best we wait for Marshal's personal intervention." The others' hearts chilled, recalling the 4 5th-grade arrays, and nodded. Putting aside this place having such astonishing arrays, the fact the order was sent for the 4 tigers to come here was proof enough of the real threat that the Luo clan was under. Yet even after going through such a gory battle, it was clear from their steward's appearance that the clan wasn't suffering so much. This pointed out that the Luo clan was more than met the eye. Being generals themselves, the 4 could tell of this mysterious clan's power. In another part, Zhuo Fan returned to the hall and convened with the rest. Great changes happened throughout the clan as entire rooms were thrown into chaos. He made the 4 tigers back off just so he could make preparations. Since the 4 pillars were here, there was no way they were gonna miss this chance of leaning on a great mountain. Yep, it was all about clinging to power. Although different tactics were needed depending on the target, Zhuo Fan's methods weren't as crude and tasteless as those narrow-minded Kai and Sun clans. He wanted Dugu Jianshan to be eternally tied to the Luo clan. Luo Yuncheng watched the people rush about as they were close to tearing down the whole of Blackwind Mountain. She turned to Zhuo Fan in puzzlement. "What? This?" Zhuo Fan said before she could continue. "Young miss, you're just in time. Tell that kid to switch from cultivation and hit the books for the next few days." "Read what?" Luo Yuncheng was dazed. Zhuo Fan grinned. "Just some matters of circumstances, like war books." Not 100 miles out of Wingay City, a wizened man rode his large horse when a sudden sneeze caught him off guard and a shiver ran through him. "Guard, how long until we reach Wingay City?" Everywhere around him was crawling with thousands upon thousands of soldiers. A general closed by reported, "Marshal, we will arrive in 3 days." The old man nodded, but the frown never left him. "I have come out of countless battlefields with honors, so why is it that this small Wingay City is putting me on edge?" 3 days later, Zhuo Fan was in a small room, checking Luo Yunhai's progress in reading. Suddenly, the earth began to rumble like a huge earthquake. Zhuo Fan raised a brow, focusing his attention outside, only to be shocked at what he saw. "What an aura! He is indeed the god of war." Zhuo Fan rose to his feet and shouted, "Everyone to your stations. The Luo clan's safety for the next few years at stake here." "Understood," the men outside the room replied, having already gotten ready as they scrambled. Zhuo Fan turned to Luo Yunhai with his devious grin. "Kid, you're up now. You better had learned your part." Luo Yunhai's face sank. "Big bro Zhuo, do I have to?" "What do you think?" The room was soon engulfed in Zhuo Fan's evil cackling. Outside Wingay City, the 4 tigers of Tianyu were already waiting for the orderly and impeccable military procession marching towards them. It was like a dark cloud without an end. The shaking of the mountains was due to the huge army. On the battlefield, any man, even a profound heaven expert, would shudder in face of such might. Leading the army was a huge man on a horse, his beard swirling in the wind. Despite reigning in his power, his mighty air and unbending nature were hard to conceal. He was the second of Tianyu's 4 pillars, marshal of Tianyu's armies, god of war Dugu Jianshan. He was in the 6th layer of the radiant stage, yet the whole of Tianyu considered him the strongest. His 4 godsons were also peak profound heaven experts. Just based on the loyalty of his 1,000,000 men, not even the regent estate would dare slight such a man. Despite regent estate having experts with higher cultivation than him, once Dugu Jianshan sent an order, his 1,000,000 soldiers were like an unstoppable flood of steel. Even regent estate's venerables would have a hard time dealing with such a barrage. To unite all these weak soldiers, to make them act as one, that was what it meant to be a true god of war. For this reason, the 7 houses were afraid of the marshal, the head of the 4 pillars, Zhuge Chengfeng, who told them to allow him to amass such power. In this case, drowning one with numbers couldn't be a more apt description. "Generals welcome Marshal," the 4 gave a deep bow. Dugu Jianshan nodded. "What's the situation? Is the Luo clan safe?" "The Luo clan is at peace." Dugu Feng spoke heavily. Dugu Jianshan nodded a sigh. "It's good we arrived in time. We did not fail His Majesty. Was there anyone making it hard on them?" Before we arrived, it would seem that the Luo clan had suffered a sneak attack, Dugu Feng mumbled. Dugu Jianshan raised an eyebrow, his eyes staring back at him. What? Then how are they? What are their losses? What about the attackers? Any prisoners? What of Luo clan head? Dugu Jianshan shot questions nonstop at the bidder looking for. How could they know when the Luo clan had slammed the door in their faces? Dugu Feng braced for reprisal as he reported, Marshal, we are in the dark. What? Dugu Jianshan blew his top. Then what have you been doing over the past few days, idling? Fenger, that's unlike you at all. They've been stationed at the borders for decades to prevent the Quanrong armies from invading. Yet the emperor decreed him to go to Wingei's city's rescue. He knew this matter was of utmost importance. So on his march here, he sent his 4 most trusted generals ahead to provide timely assistance, only to find them idling about these past 3 days and knowing absolutely nothing. And these were Dugu Jianshan's 4 tigers no less. Humph, you must have let the wine get to your heads and caused a scene. I'll settle your punishment later, Dugu Jianshan flared, almost wanting to do it now if not for delaying his rescue operation. Dugulin bowed flustered, Marshal, please hear us out. Having been told the ins and outs of the matter, Dugu Jianshan was staring dumbstruck. There are 4 5th-grade arrays in this backwater area. Dugu Jianshan blinked and started scouting ahead with his soul sense. And sure enough, he found 4 arrays surrounding Blackwind Mountain blocking his search. Dugu Jianshan was shocked. No wonder the emperor told me to come in person. There must be a mighty figure among them. Sighing, Dugu Jianshan turned to the 4. Now that you couldn't enter, I no longer blame you. Marshal, who said we can't. If not for Big Brother stopping me, I would have torn down those damn arrays long ago. Dugu Hu roared. Dugu Jianshan berated, you're a disgrace. How dare you charge into people's homes without an explicit order? If you had dared charged inside, I would have had your damn head for defying orders. Marshal, I was only venting. Don't take it seriously. Dugu Hu ducked his head in shame. The other 3 secretly snickered. Dugu Jianshan cut in, Marshal, the Luo clan's steward said he will let us in after you arrived. He must mean for you to personally go inside. Dugu Jianshan burst out laughing. I have come at the order of the emperor to take a look at this Luo clan as well. But since there's a mighty figure inside, I would also like to meet him. He dismounted and strode towards Blackwind Mountain. Pass my order. The army is not to disturb the people and are to set camp 10 miles southeast of here. Understood, the entire army roared while the 4 rushed to follow him. Dugu Jianshan went next to Dugu Jianshan. Marshal, that steward is extremely cautious. He will ask a ton of questions and will not hold a polite tone. Please do not get angry when you deal with him. Humph, you think my temper is short like you rascals. Dugu Jianshan laughed and Dugu Hu grumbled inside, your rage is more explosive than mine. Dugu Lin slapped his fan, 3rd brother, that steward didn't do it out of caution. He wants to see the marshal in person. As to why, we shall soon find out soon. Ha ha ha, Linner is the most cool-headed among you and can see things differently. He is right, the Luo clan must have wanted to see me. Then I will just have to see for myself what's so great about this clan, ha ha ha. Dugu Jianshan walked with his domineering air, soon arriving at Blackwind Mountain. Tianyu's marshal, Dugu Jianshan greets Luo clan head, Dugu Jianshan bellowed. The poisoned dragon arrays miasma dissipated and Zhuo Fan came out, but this time he had a look of complete respect. He bowed, I am Luo clan's steward Zhuo Fan. Welcome Marshal Dugu and the 4 generals. Oh, so you're that steward? I heard you're quite cautious, not trusting even my token in the hands of my generals. Why then do you believe who I am at the mere sight of me? Dugu Jianshan grinned, clearly mocking Zhuo Fan's earlier attitude. But Zhuo Fan acted the fool. Marshal Dugu is the god of war, who dare impersonate you. Even if someone did, none could copy your aura honed after numerous victories, nor the thick killing intent on you for slaughtering countless men. Is there any other true man, a man old but holding strong still in Tianyu? I could feel and hear from afar the might you possess. Only Marshal Dugu is capable of making my energy surge in my veins. My respect to you is like a flood, an unstoppable river, like a never-ending sea, a mighty. Fine, I get it. Dugu Jianshan cut his rambling short. He wanted to test the kid and see his true intentions, but then he saw him engage in this foolery, going as far as worshipping the ground he stepped on. It was so enrapturing that even he felt a chill and had to stop it. If this went on for any longer, he'd be hurling for days and nights. The 4 were dumbstruck, none saw it coming. Zhuo Fan this time was a thorough ass-kisser, blowing their wish of questioning out of their minds. Dugu Jianshan had seen his fair share of fawners like Zhuo Fan, but never wasted time with any. Whenever they spoke, it was always followed by a long, endless string of adulation. Dugu Jianshan took a long look at him. This backwater town has many experts it seems, even this young steward. I am in awe. Then little brother, is it possible to see Luo clan head? He's eagerly awaiting. Grinning, Zhuo Fan bowed and Dugu Jianshan strode forward. The marshal could see this was all arranged by that mighty figure. He could feel getting closer and closer to him. What he didn't know was that mighty figure was that young steward. The four generals followed closely, with Dugu jutting his chin and muttering next to Zhuo Fan, "Humph, now do you believe us?" "Of course I was too blind to see your greatness. I beg your pardon," Zhuo Fan smiled. Dugu Lin looked at him deeply but shook his head in the end. He was Dugu Army's strategist and knew something was off about Zhuo Fan. But he just couldn't dare believe all of this was orchestrated by such a young pup, or he would be the second coming of Zhu Changfeng. "Please, after you, Marshal." With Zhuo Fan as guide, they passed through the Poison Dragon Array, reaching the peak of Blackwind Mountain. Instead of a lavish clan dwelling, they were greeted by simple gates of a barracks. They could even hear faint cries of kill from beyond. Frowning, the five were quite puzzled. What is the Luo clan up to now? With a smile, Zhuo Fan gestured, "Ha ha ha, please don't take offense, Marshal. We have just recently gone through a bloody attack and are still tense. Our guards especially, training day and night. Will God of War be willing to say a few words to our young blood? The whole clan would be most grateful." Zhuo Fan bowed again. Dugu Zhanshan nodded slowly. He first wanted to know what the Luo clan was cooking up, and second, to know how deep they hid their assets. For the emperor to view them so highly and pull him from the borders in rescuing a nameless clan, he had to see for himself what they really were. Following Zhuo Fan through the gates, the five arrived before Luo clan's manor. What had them all in shock was that there were no buildings around, only tents. They looked akin to an army ready for war. That was Zhuo Fan's ingenious plan was all about. He tore down all buildings for tents to stir Marshal Dugu's sympathy and make him feel at home. With how Dugu Zhanshan spent years on end on the battlefields, he'd be more at home in a tent than between four walls. This was also a form of flattery to conform to one's tastes, covert as it was. Sure enough, Dugu Zhanshan trembled as he nodded. Zhuo Fan no longer spoke, having a sly grin on his face instead. They soon arrived at Luo clan's training area, where Captain Pang was in the middle of practice with his guards. Most of them were still children, but their every strike was filled with zeal and their eyes burning with power. They looked strikingly similar to veterans after decades of war. Not even Dugu Zhanshan could remain unfeeling seeing such a scene. Just what could those 10-year-olds have possibly seen to harden their gaze? As an experienced commander, with decades of war behind him, he knew how to turn a batch of fresh recruits into dauntless warriors. But never in his wildest dream did he expect to see this in a backwater clan. The world was filled with marvels. He was now burning to know who was this great figure behind the Luo clan. Unbeknownst to him, this burning zeal in the eyes of the youths was thanks to the wraith art they trained in. As for those kids whose spirits were crushed, they lay dead with bones crushed and bodies mauled. What he was seeing were those that came back from the brink of death, standing at the peak. How could they not be dauntless? "Marshal, our third-rate clan just went through a disaster and only the surviving few are training now. You must be thinking it's a sorry sight." Zhuo Fan sighed in faint modesty. Dugu Zhanshan shook his hand. No, hardly. The kids may not have cultivated, but their eyes are those of elites. If these are just your survivors, then your main guard unit that fell must have been a monster. How could such a mighty guard ever need rescuing? Zhuo Fan blinked and smiled. "This marshal is pragmatic. I see now why he is acclaimed as a god of war. He is an upright and just man." Zhuo Fan nodded secretly, having understood more about the marshal's nature. "Then Marshal, please feel free to point out some tips." "No need, I would not dare show my meager skill before you." Dugu Zhanshan laughed. "Steward Zhuo, I only wish to meet with your clan head. Such a man has set 4 5th-grade arrays and still trained such young warriors. I'm truly eager to see him." The four behind him were shocked. Marshal was the god of war, with countless figures wanting to meet him. But now it was the other way around. It was he who wanted to see someone else, just who was guiding the Luo clan. How could the mere training of some guards move the Grand Tianyu's god of war? The four sighed as they turned to look at the guards again. These small few children were indeed far stronger than their own elites. It's no wonder. Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed and grinned. "Since Marshal is so eager, please come with me. Our clan head is also waiting." Zhuo Fan entered the biggest tent as the others rushed to catch up to him. How could they have known all of this? Was Zhuo Fan leading them by the nose? The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. Hence, it is a subject of inquiry which can on no account be neglected. The art of war, then, is governed by 5 constant factors to be taken into account in one's deliberations when seeking to determine the conditions obtaining in the field. These are the moral law, heaven, earth, Steward. Excerpt from Sun Tzu's Art of War. A bright voice read. Dugu Zhanshan's faltered his steps. "That's the art of war. Who is reading?" "Oh, I almost forgot. Young master had been training for 20 hours. He needs some rest. Zhuo Fan slapped his forehead and rushed in another direction. He was unconcerned about the others following him, though. Dugu Jianshan's group followed either way. They arrived at a small yard where a youth held a bowl on his head and in horse stance. His knees and hands also held a bowl, but the surface of the water was unperturbed. What laid under his butt was a shining dagger. If his legs slacked for even a second, he'd tear himself a new one. Despite the danger, he was still reciting the art of war. Dugu Jianshan was puzzled. Steward Zhuo he. Ha ha ha, Luo clan's young master, Luo Yunhai. Zhuo Fan chuckled. From young to old, all of Luo clan admires Marshal Dugu. All of us adhere to military doctrine, especially the young master, who is training while studying, hoping to one day to serve under the marshal. Dugu Jianshan blinked. Why is the clan head of this Luo clan with his impressive soldiers wish to be under me? Everything about this clan is mysterious. Just what are they after? Zhuo Fan probed with a smile. Marshal, will you accept our young master? Of course, if the youth wishes to serve his nation to enter the battlefield. Perfect. Zhuo Fan's yell cut him off. He then pulled Luo Yunhai up. Yunhai, don't just stand there. Marshal Dugu wants to take you in. Go and pour him tea. Right away. Luo Yunhai ran like the wind, like a bird out of its cage. Finally out of that damn position. I almost couldn't take it. Dugu Jianshan felt dizzy. Wait, you're going to make me accept him here? Steward Zhuo, that was. Marshal Dugu needn't say anything. My clan head would be immensely pleased to know you showed such care for young master. He will be grateful for all his life. You may not know it, but this was our clan head's cherished dream. Zhuo Fan held Dugu Jianshan's large hand with tears in his eyes. Dugu Jianshan wanted to refuse, but now he didn't have the heart to go through with it. Isn't it just a soldier? He isn't half bad either. Perhaps he'll earn some merits in the future. It's just taking one extra recruit anyway. Sighing, he nodded in the end. Then a screech came. Marshal Dugu, it's actually you? Luo Yuncheng appeared who knew when and was shaking from excitement. Zhuo Fan's face was twitching. Tone it down on the boasting. Steward Zhuo, let me introduce you. She is our young Miss Luo Yuncheng. Zhuo Fan brought her before Dugu Jianshan and explained what happened. Luo Yuncheng's eyes lit up, jumping in joy, completely out of her modest and virtuous character. Zhuo Fan's mouth twitched as he whispered, all right now, don't push it. Luo Yuncheng reigned in her excitement, then apologized to Dugu Jianshan, who didn't seem to mind. But the four generals looked particularly close at Luo Yuncheng, especially the third brother, whose eyes were practically burning. Zhuo Fan laughed inside. Yep, she is no less than Diaochan. And Luo Yuncheng is also a rare beauty. Steward, fictional character in Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Diaochan is one of the four beauties of ancient China. She is a maid of Dongzhu who charmed Lu Bu into assassinating him in 192. Zhuo Fan turned to Dugu Jianshan. Marshal Dugu, taking young master in is the greatest joy that ever graced the Luo clan. Why not make it even better by becoming kin? Stunned by those words, the four generals looked at Luo Yuncheng with blushes. Dugu Jianshan rubbed his beard and looked expectantly at her. I don't know if clan head will agree. No worries, Dad would definitely agree. It is his cherished wish, Luo Yuncheng rushed a reply. Dugu Jianshan saw his godsons bashful but hardly refusing. Dugu Huo had it worse, like a volcano ready to blow. Dugu Jianshan recalled how his godsons had fought by his side for decades and thought it was time for them to start a family. So he nodded, since clan head agrees, then I'm more than happy to do it. The four generals clenched their fists, so excited they were trembling. But who was the one to marry this young miss? Zhuo Fan's eyes flashed and showed a sly smile. Luo Yunhai now came with the tea and saw Zhuo Fan nodding. He kneeled as he offered the teacup to Dugu Jianshan. Dugu Jianshan's mind was filled with the joy of a wedding, taking the cup and passing. But at that moment, Luo Yunhai's voice slammed into their ears. Luo Yunhai greets Godfather, PFF. Dugu Jianshan staggered as he spat out the tea he just drank. WW, what did you just call me? Dugu Jianshan's old eyes bulged and pointed a trembling finger at Luo Yunhai with a shocked face. The four generals were dumbstruck as well. Marshal only agreed to take him as a soldier. How did it jump from that to being a godson? Luo Yunhai had a genial face as he cupped his hands in respect. Is it wrong of me to call you Godfather? Yeah, all Marshal, didn't you say it yourself that you wanted to be kin? The Grand Marshal Dugu is going back on his word over such a trivial matter. Zhuo Fan secretly snickered. Dugu Jianshan was bug-eyed. It took a while to get over his shock and turned from Luo Yuncheng to Luo Yunhai. True, Steward Zhuo only spoke of being kin, not caring to elaborate on its type. For Luo Yunhai to call him Godfather was also a type of kin. But since only Luo Yuncheng was there at the time, they believed it could only be through marriage. And the next thing they noticed was that Luo Yunhai was kneeling there and offering the teacup. Wasn't his actions clearly done for a godfather ceremony? Sigh, how could I be so careless? Dugu Jianshan rested his forehead and said to Zhuo Fan bitterly, Steward Zhuo, then what you meant by kin was in fact. yes. Did Marshall perhaps think otherwise? I thought, looking at Luo Yuncheng, then at his four godsons. Dugu Jianshan sighed in resignation, the same. The four generals' faces crumbled with his last words. Zhuo Fan clapped with joy, ha ha ha, outstanding. Then young master, hurry and kowtow 3 times to your godfather. Yes, Luo Yunhai shouted, more than eager in his obeisance. Dugu Jianshan sighed bitterly with a shake of his head. He wanted to give his godsons a sister-in-law, only to end up giving them a younger brother instead. He was left with no alternative since he already accepted. If he were to switch facts now and say he wanted the girl instead, wouldn't it be the same as robbing the common people's women? He was Dugu Jianshan, who had an illustrious military reputation, a man pursuing honesty and bravery, as well as maintaining a strict order in his ranks. Was he just going to throw it all away just like that? Let it be. With his talent and Luo clan's elite army, in 2 years of training under me, he ought to turn up as another tiger. No, Dugu Jianshan looked on the bright side. His face then turned serious as he looked at Luo Yunhai. Yunhai, today you take me as your godfather, so you must follow the rules of the Dugu house. I am a man that separates private and public matters. Now that you are in the Dugu army, and if I am still in armor, you must address me as marshal. Disobey any military rule and I will punish you according to the martial law, no exceptions. Your 4 brothers can attest to that. Yes, godfather, a marshal. Luo Yunhai cupped his hands in glee. Dugu Jianshan nodded, pleased, clever boy. Furthermore, as you are now my godson, you are not to shame my name. Or your head shall fall. Yes, marshal. Luo Yunhai grinned and shouted. Zhuo Fan smiled and cupped his hands. Congratulations, marshal, for getting another bright godson. I am most certain our young master will not let you down. He then turned to the 4 generals, his smile ever present. Congratulations, generals, you have now an outstanding brother. Young master shall be indebted to you looking after him, ha ha ha. Turning from the beaming Luo Yuncheng, a fairy upon this mortal world, to the grinning Zhuo Fan, the 4 looked bitter and depressed. Enough blabber. We have enough brothers as it is, millions in fact, we don't need more, all we wanted was a sister-in-law. Dugu Huo had it worse, feeling such disappointment that his eyes glistened with tears. Goddamn wretched Luo clan. You ignited our desires without us knowing and you give us a little brother instead. I feel like crying. I've been in the field of battle for decades and now I don't want to go back. Knowing exactly what they were grumbling about in their minds, Zhuo Fan gave Luo Yuncheng a thumbs up as he laughed inside. Who knew the young miss knew how to work her charms? She got the 4 of them hooked without so much as an eye batting. Luo Yuncheng stuck out her head in womanly pride and returned Zhuo Fan an enchanting smile. This only worked to fuel the lamentation in the 4 men's hearts. Steward Zhuo, now that I have Yunhai as godson, don't you think it's time I see your clan head? Dugu Jianshan asked. Shuddering, Zhuo Fan sighed a nod. Indeed, I do believe clan head wished he could meet Marshall for a long time. Luo Yunhai and Luo Yuncheng showed sullen faces. Dugu Jianshan's group was startled, following them in silence. Not 15 minutes later, they reached a large tent. Zhuo Fan allowed them to enter first. What they saw left them speechless. On the table in the middle of the large tent stood a lonely spirit tablet. It was actually inscribed with Luo clan head's name. Clan head, your most esteemed and revered Marshal Dugu has come to see you. You must be so happy. Zhuo Fan's knees hit the ground, wailing to high heavens. Luo Yunhai and Luo Yuncheng had tears streaming down their cheeks. Unlike Zhuo Fan, theirs was no act but genuine pain. The loss of their father happened 2 years ago and this spirit tablet was very much real. How could they not feel sorrow when gazing upon the spirit tablet? Dugu Jianshan's group was stunned. They never would have thought the Battle of Wingei's city just now was so disastrous it robbed them of their clan head. They had come too late. Shaking his head, Dugu Jianshan and the generals felt their pain, paying their respects as well by burning incense. Their hearts were bleak thinking the clan head died not a few days ago. Steward Zhuo, if you don't mind me asking, are the 4 5th grade arrays outside due to clan head? Dugu Jianshan asked after showing his respect. Zhuo Fan jumped to his feet and held his head high. It is indeed so. Clan head was but a bone-tempering cultivator, but that didn't stop him from reading the starry sky and the land's layout, grasping arrays and alchemy alike. Those arrays were personally placed by the clan head. Clan head was a truly extraordinary man. I see why His Majesty sent me to your rescue, Dugu Jianshan sighed. Regarding the intricacies of a 5th grade array, not even a radiant stage expert could claim to understand them fully. But as a mere bone-tempering cultivator, the Luo clan head could set 4 5th grade arrays. He had to be the genius of the millennium. A pity that he was only in the bone-tempering stage and was too weak to control the arrays fully and repel the stronger invaders. Dugu Jianshan could even imagine clan head's last moments. He sighed, a true pity. If only he was still alive, I would have asked him to join my army as general. He would have been a great help to my army in fighting back the Quanrong. Zhuo Fan's eyebrow flickered and clicked his tongue inwardly. Thank God I wasn't stupid enough to say I set them up, or they'd be hauling me to the borders. That would be dreadfully scary. And who was the filth that dared attack the Luo clan, making you suffer so much and even kill clan head? Dugu Zhanshan's killing intent spiked. He was only sent here by the emperor to protect the Luo clan. As for the enemy, he had no idea who it was. Zhuo Fan snickered inwardly, perfect, and sobbed. Marshal does not know how cruel and terrifying they were. We had 100,000 people on Blackwind Mountain, now reduced to less than 10,000. The sorrowful siblings jumped in fright, looking at Zhuo Fan with horror. Nothing seemed beneath this guy, no act too foul, no ditch too filthy. The siblings thought to themselves, when were there ever 100,000 men on this mountain? Better yet, we couldn't feed them even if there were. Dugu Zhanshan was boiling mad, such bastards slaughtering common folk live in my country. Now that I've returned to court, I will make sure to uproot this evil from our nation and bring it to peace. Please Godfa Marshal, bring justice to the Luo clan. Luo Yunhai bowed. Luo Yuncheng rushed to do the same. Please Marshal, bring us justice. Be at ease, I do not tolerate such meaningless slaughter. I will have them taste the fist of justice for you. Dugu Zhanshan flicked his sleeve and roared. Dugu Feng grabbed Luo Yunhai and Luo Yuncheng's arms and helped them to their feet. But his eyes never left Luo Yuncheng. Ha ha ha, even if Yunhai wasn't my brother, the 4 tigers will never let such criminals live. The other 3 were gnashing their teeth in frustration. That's eldest brother for you, swift to act. How come we didn't think of it? But there's plenty of chance to pursue her, now that Luo Yunhai is our little brother. They then started crowding around her and extended their clutches, justifying it with sympathy. While their eyes glared at Dugu Feng as if to say, let the girl go, it's my turn. But then Zhuo Fan passed through and took Dugu Feng's wretched hand as well as the 3 clutches with ardent passion. We couldn't thank the 4 generals enough. Ha ha ha, it's only proper. Taking their hands back in annoyance, the 4 still had a smile, but their hearts were vexed. We want to cope a feel of that young miss you got over there, so why the hell a rotten steward butts into our business? Humph, such a killjoy. Watching them with a cold eye, Dugu Zhanshan was pondering. As their godfather, I have the final say in not only the peace on Tianyu, but to what lady fits them as well. Steward Zhu, who are they? Where do they come from? I will immediately send my troops to flatten them all, Dugu Zhanshan bellowed with majestic power. Zhuo Fan cupped his hands. Marshal Dugu is a true god of war in power and manners. I will be straight with you. One of those fiends was Hell Valley. I am certain that Marshal's army can uproot every single one of them, raise their nest to the ground, restore peace. Wait, come again? Dugu Zhanshan stammered, his scalp numb as cold sweat trickled down. Zhuo Fan held his head high and spoke clearly. It was Hell Valley. Why is it perhaps difficult, Marshal? Dugu Zhanshan's face twitched. Difficult, he says. That couldn't even begin to describe it. Since when was it so easy to act against the 7 houses? He was from the 4 pillars, but he couldn't just up and march on the 7 houses. That start a civil war. Dugu Zhanshan held his forehead and sighed. I got too carried away with boasting. Who'd have thought the reason why the emperor would send him over was to repel the 7 houses? It was only natural, since only the 4 pillars could reign in the 7 houses of Tianyu. Why didn't you say anything, Your Majesty? Now I can't go back on my word after boasting about it. Finding the hopeful gazes of Zhuo Fan, Luo Yunhai, and Luo Yuncheng, for the first time ever, Dugu Zhanshan flushed in embarrassment, trying to look elsewhere.